Stand up, New York Giant fans, New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, Thursday night football. I know you guys are here to talk about it. New York Giants fresh off their first win of the season, 2019 over the Washington football team, and now we play the team that I personally cannot stand the most. And I see some people in the chat already saying, well, if we win this game, we're not going to get a top 4, top 5 draft pick. I'm not thinking draft picks. Week 7, going up against the Birds, the Philadelphia Eagles, a team we have not beaten since I bought this sweater. Okay? This is a team we can't beat. And this is a team that we need to start beating. We need to start to turn the corner. Let's see what Joe Judge has got in his debut start against the Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field. I'm jacked up. I hope you guys are too. What's going on, GR, man? Thank you so much. He says, bird hunting time. That's right, my man. We're all hunting birds this week. We are all hunting birds this week. And I know it's un-American. I know it's un-American to go after the Eagles, right? It's the bird of our country. I get it. This week, America understands. We're going bird hunting this week. What's going on there, Moose? What's going on there, Waterfly? What's going on, Doggo? What's going on, Giants for life? What's going on, King Trinity? What's going on, Anthony DeSantis? What's going on, Moose? Thank you for being here. Dog Tag in the house. Nolan in the house. What's going on there, Scotty H? Oh, man, LaShawn, man, thank you so much. He says, what's up, boy? Still rocking the hat. I'm still rocking the hat. I'm still rocking the hoodie. This hoodie don't come off. I showered with it. Wherever I go, the hoodie stays on. What's going on there, Mama? What's going on, Afghanistan? JD Davis, Nail in the house. Mets fan in the house. Alex in the house. Michael in the house. John in the house. Thank you for being here. Peter, Victor, great Wuda, my man Wuda. I know, Wuda. We're gonna get some positivity out of Wuda. I promise you. By year's end, we're gonna put a smile on Wuda's face. By year's end, we're gonna put a smile on Wuda's face. What's going on there, Scotty H? What's going on, Bleed? What's going on, Aiden? Thanks for popping in. Deception. Muhammad, thank you for being here. Mike McCarthy is a FR. Thank you for being here. Chris Leone, Dusk. Thank you guys. Lloyd, what's going on, man? Danny, Peter, I know you guys are fired up. It's the first time we feel like we've had really a meaningful game in the season. Because going into the Washington game, we're 0-5. It's a rebuilding season, and we find a way to win a football game. We were playing good before that. We narrowly lost to both the Cowboys and the Rams. We found a way to get our first win. It was sloppy. It was far from perfect. We hope that we grow up that. We're going up against a very banged-up Philadelphia Eagles team, a team that's beaten us, like I said, I think 11 out of the last 12 times or whatever it's been. But we got an opportunity to beat this team. They are banged up. They're missing their 2 best tight ends. They're missing their best playmaker, Miles Sanders, at the running back position. Carson Wentz has been horrible this year. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey's out. Deshaun Jackson's probably going to be limited. Their offensive line is in complete shambles. Malik Jackson's out. Why can't we compete with this football team? We're going to find out tomorrow if Sterling Shepard is playing. I think by 4 p.m., they have to decide to take him off the IR. From what I read, he's going to be off the IR. But he may not play in the game. You may have to wait till the following Monday night to see if he gets in the lineup. And the New York Giants definitely need some help at that wide receiving core. There's no doubt about it. We're incredibly thin there. I'm going to open up the link in about a half hour. I want to take some of your guys' questions before we start having some people on talking about the game tomorrow, talking about the future of the New York Giants. What's going on, NY Giants? Dire Giants fans, Eagles O-line sucks so bad. Dire Giants, they've given up 25 sacks this year. Most sacks in all of football. Giants have given up 17. We're not much better, but they've given up 25 sacks this year. We're going to be able to get after the quarterback. I have no doubt in my mind we're going to be able to get after the quarterback tomorrow. Nitro Freak, my man, what's going on? What is going on, Nitro Freak? Great Eagles fan, great content creator. Go over there, check him out. I was in his stream for about 20 minutes yesterday. He said he's going to be at the game, so have a fun time at the game. I'm sorry you're going to have to leave with a loss, Nitro Freak, but I appreciate you for popping in. He says, tomorrow you will meet a guy named Travis Fulgham. I've heard all about him. You'll find out in the worst way tomorrow, 23-10 Birds. I've heard about him. And tomorrow, Travis Fulgham is going to meet a guy named James Bradbury. And James Bradbury is the same guy that met Amari Cooper. He's the same guy that met Robert Woods. He's the same guy that met the number 1 wide receiver on every team we've played this year. And he's the same guy that shut them all down. And tomorrow night, he's going to shut down Mr. Fulgham out of Old Dominion, the 6th-round pick. He's going to put him back where he belongs, which is in the XFL. He's going to shut him down. What's going on, Sean, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Busting out my Sea jersey for this one. Go Blue. What's going on, Sean, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. Dan in the house, man. He says the red zone offense has been brutal. What do you think fixes that? Clip some wings. Go Giants. I hope everybody has the wings out for this football game. I mean the Clippers out for this football game. In terms of the red zone offense, I think what they need to start doing really, and it's kind of what I said in terms of the running game with the Daniel Jones. I think you need to start using some more RPO around the goal line because I don't know what it is. We can't put the ball in the end zone. We've tried to run it a bit. We tried that twice this week. I think it was 2nd and 11 in the red zone. We ran it. They stuffed it. I think they got to get more aggressive with their play calling in the running game for Daniel Jones. Try to get a little bit more creative. These wide receivers don't create separation. Maybe bring Levine Toilolo in there. 6'7", 6'8", a taller target. They need to change it up. Maybe try to take some shots before you get to the red zone. That seems to have worked. They threw the touchdown for about 30 yards last week because when they get close, the offense seems to shrink. So I don't have the best answer for that. Maybe start to use the RPO more when you get closer to the end zone. Let's see what we got here. Thank you again for all the support you guys always show me, man. I really do appreciate it. My man, who's in here? Ray, man, what's going on, Pastor Ray? If we lose tomorrow, please fire Gettleman. Gettleman will probably be on his way out if we lose tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to fire him tomorrow. But if the Giants lose a certain amount of games, Gettleman's going to be gone. I don't know if they're going to do it in season or at the end of the season. They got to win. They got to win at least 5 more games, I think, for Gettleman to keep his job. So we'll see what happens. Let's enjoy the game tomorrow. Let's not think about Gettleman. Let's enjoy the game. Well, you can do what you want. I don't tell people how to root for the team, but I am going to enjoy the game. I'm going to go into the game hoping that we can find a way to beat the Eagles, a team we haven't beaten forever. I think they're vulnerable. I think we have an opportunity to win this football game. Yuri, man, thank you very much. He says, Carson Wentz is going to run for his life. Giants defensive line is going to get hungry. Let's get a W. Let's get after him, man. 25 sacks. The guy's been beat up. He's seeing ghosts. He's got Sam Darnold treatment going on. Remember Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts? Well, right now that's Carson Wentz. Everywhere Wentz looks, he thinks he's in the sixth sense. He thinks he's seeing ghosts, and tomorrow he's going to be seeing ghosts. Giants are going to be coming after him. They're going to be sending the blitz. We got to get after him. We got to force some turnovers. Yvonne, man, thank you so much. He says, want credit, like I said, if I get a wrench, we win. Yvonne, you did say that, didn't you? Was that this game? Or was that I already gave you a mod. Yvonne. So you get to keep it. They did get a win. My man, Philly 500. What's going on, Philly 500? I love Philly 500. If you haven't done so, please go over there, subscribe to him. Yes, he does cover the Philadelphia Eagles. And yes, Philly, we are going to double moonwalk your ass. We're going to triple moonwalk your ass. I'm looking forward to the game, though. It's going to be a lot of fun. Philly, man, thank you so much for popping in. He says, good luck tomorrow, my man. It will be fun. Ain't no way you're winning. Not on Thursday night. Keep up the Dolphin banging. Philly, man, thank you so much for popping in. I really appreciate it. And best of luck tomorrow. Best of luck. Rudy T, man, thank you very much. He says, how about 19 verse 20 video comparing our stats by week 8? That is a very good video suggestion in terms of the defense and the offense. I like that. After week 8, maybe I will do that mid-season. I like that idea, Rudy. Rudy's always coming up with brilliant ideas. I like that. I think I will do that. Thank you very much. And Pastor Ray says, I'm not a fan of trading picks for John Ross. I'm not a fan either. I basically said, listen, if it's a 7th-round pick, which we don't even have, 2021 7th-round pick, have at it. But I'm not giving up a 5th-round pick for John Ross. I'm not giving up a 5th-round pick for John Ross. That's crazy. He's a guy that's constantly banged up. I know that we need help at the wide receiver position. If you feel like you need some help, go out there, get somebody for free, a free agent for free out there. There's plenty of veterans. That's what I would do. If I'm bringing in a wide receiver via trade, it's got to be a big-time difference maker. I'm not giving up draft capital when we need as much as we could get. So I'm in agreement with you. 7th-round pick, I consider it. But what's a 7th-round pick? I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything else. Once again, thank you to everybody for being here. I really do appreciate it. What's going on? No color rush. I think there's color rush, Albie. There's always a color rush on Thursday Night Football. Giants wear the white jersey on Thursday Night Football. I'm pretty sure that's the way it's been in the past. And Jay, man, thank you very much, man. 2nd-round pick for Julio. You making that deal? When we brought in Plaxico, he was 28, and that worked out well. Listen, man, I love Plaxico Burress. I absolutely love him. Julio, I don't know Julio's contract. I know he got a record-breaking deal when he signed it. I also know he's had injury history. I also don't know how much time is left on that contract. I'd have to think about it. He's obviously a supreme weapon, but 2nd-round picks a lot because we're probably going to be picking at the top of the draft. I really don't want to give away draft assets, but Julio Jones is a phenomenal talent. Plaxico we didn't trade for, though. He was a free agent. So for me, personally, I'm waiting. I'm waiting until the offseason for free agents. There's going to be wide receivers that you could either sign or draft in this year's draft class where you don't have to give away a 2nd-round pick. I could draft a Jamar Chase in the 1st round next year, or I could sign a top-tier free agent wide receiver. I could elect to do either one where I don't have to give up a 2nd-round pick. 2nd-round pick, you're talking about a top 35 to 40 pick more than likely. That's a hefty price tag. I prefer not to have to do that and draft a wide receiver or sign somebody in free agency where I don't got to give away that draft pick. Let's see what we got here. John, man, thank you very much. Stand up, Giants fans, and hit that like button. Come on now. Let's fry some wings tomorrow night. That's right, John. Listen, man, I've been eating bird all week. Turkey, chicken, you name it, I ate it. So I'm as excited as you are, man. I want to get a W tomorrow. We haven't beaten this team in forever. Rakib, man, thank you very much. What's up, Chris? When you bring back the wrenches? Rakib, man, I bring them back slowly. I got rid of all of them because there were way too many and people were infiltrating my page and blocking people from the channel. So I give them back very slowly and surely. Let's see what we got here. Who's starting at tackle? Nothing has come out yet. Ezra, obviously, a lot of people are speculating that the New York Giants may go with Matt Parrott. He did a fine job last week. We'll see if they put him in at the left tackle or the right tackle. We'll see if he gets an opportunity. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know the news on Sterling Shepard yet either. We're kind of waiting on that till tomorrow. The deadline's by 4 p.m. where he could come off the IR. But even if he comes off the IR, which everybody seems to think is going to happen, that doesn't necessarily mean he's playing. We could definitely use Shepard in this football game, though, no doubt about it. What's going on there? Owen Carling's popping in the stream. What's going on, Nate? When is McKinney coming back? The earliest that McKinney can come back is week 9. 8 weeks on the IR, that's the minimum. I've always said that I think it'll be after the bye, week 11 against the Bengals, and then he plays the last 6 weeks. That's just my guess. I could be completely wrong, but the earliest he could come back is week 9. Duchess, man, thank you very much, Duchess. Chris, stop selling false hope. DJ will fumble 5 times. 5 times. 5 times. You want to make a bet on that, Duchess? 5 times? He ain't fumbling 5 times. And I'm not trying to sell false hope. I'm excited. I get excited. I don't care if we're 0-15. I get excited to play the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think we have an opportunity to win. I'm not picking us to win, but I don't think they're running us over. Why should I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to run us over? I'm not saying that they won't, but why should I think that? Even when they win, they don't most of the time. It's usually very close games. And the Eagles have played horrible. Right now, in my honest opinion, and this isn't really a credit to the Giants, it's kind of a discredit to the entire division. The Giants are playing as good as anybody in this division. The Eagles don't scare me. The Eagles are 1-4-1. Why should I be scared of the Philadelphia Eagles? Why? Because they've beaten us the last 6 or 7 times. We got a brand new head coach. We got a young team. We have a completely new defense. Why am I scared of the Philadelphia Eagles? They don't scare me. The Philadelphia Eagles don't scare anybody. I'm not scared of them. I'm not saying we're going to win, but it's definitely not a sure loss. What's going on, Lax, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. I would love to see Thomas on the left and Parrott on the right at this point. Let Parrott start and bench Fleming, get both rookies reps. Lax, I'm with you, man. I'm completely with you. That's kind of what I want. I don't know if it's going to happen this week. It might happen, week 8, week 9, but I think that's obviously where we're headed. Judge hasn't announced anything. They did ask him about Parrott this week, and it seemed like he's going to get some opportunity in this game. He didn't commit to say that he was starting, but expect to see him out there in some capacity from what I gathered from what Judge had to say. So we'll see. We'll see what the starting lineup is, but I'd be excited. I'd be excited to see it. And Rolly, man, thank you very much, man. Chris, I can tell you're excited for tomorrow's game. By the way, are you going to watch that? Rolly, we don't watch the sweatshirt. We don't watch the sweatshirt. It's got good luck all over. You don't change it, Rolly. You know that. When you got it working, you don't. I will not. If we keep winning, I'm not watching the sweatshirt. Okay. Everywhere I go, I'm going to be wearing the sweatshirt. And let's see what we got here. Thank you guys for being here. Duchess says, I got a box of tissues for you all tomorrow. Go Chiefs. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. And you know what, man? Maybe it'll be for tears of joy. We might need the tissues for tears of joy. Duchess, thank you for being here. Malik says, you think Garrett should implement more of Shurmur's scheme to help Jones? Well, I mean, no, because I think he's trying to teach a scheme. When you're trying to teach a scheme, you have to practice it. You have to continue to do it until such time you get better at it. You don't want to be screwing with the guy's head. Maybe you try to do certain things that you think could help Daniel Jones out. But no, I do think the Giants are going to continue to open up the playbook. I've said that. Last week, I agreed with the conservative approach because you had the great pass rushers from Washington. But I do think when the opportunities are there, I do think the Giants are going to stretch the field more than they have, simply because the offensive line's been playing better. So I expect them to progressively take more shots down the field. May not happen this week. I think it could, though, because the Eagles secondary, to me, they don't scare me. I mean, they got one good cornerback in Slay, but I think you could attack the secondary. So I could see the New York Giants taking more shots this week, but I still think they need to stay committed to that run. However, I think they could struggle against that interior defensive line. It's one of the better interior defensive lines in football. That's why I say they got to do a lot of outside runs with the RPO, maybe some pitches, screen passes, things like that. I think they're going to struggle trying to run up the middle. Let's see what we got here. Al Bats, man. Thank you so much, man. Al's the man. Been with me forever, man. Great supporter of my channel. He says, Big C, So all the DJ haters, which quarterback would you pick over him in the last 3 years? Yes, he needs to do better. But would you rather have Baker, Sam, Rosen, Haskins, Locke? You the best, C. Bats, man, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate all the love. Listen, everybody's going to have their own opinion. I don't think Baker's that good. I personally think Darnold's pretty good. I think he was put in a horrible situation similar to Daniel Jones. Rosen got screwed. He got put in the worst of situations. The same for Haskins. And Drew Lock, everybody jumped on the bandwagon for him. What did he do? He went 4-1 with Denver down the stretch, but since then, what has he done? None of those guys have proven much either. And, that's what you expect from a young quarterback. You're going to go through your ups and downs, and hopefully by year's end, we see some ups from Daniel Jones. Let's see, man. Gideon, man, thank you very much, man. Hit Wentz early and often, rattle him, force turnovers. He's definitely prone to it. I couldn't believe the stat that I saw that he has 17 turnover-worthy plays this year. The next closest was Ryan Fitzpatrick with 11. He's got 9 interceptions on the year. He's definitely struggled. There's no doubt about it. I think a lot of that has to do with the offensive line. The Eagles' offensive line is as bad as it's ever been since he's been the quarterback over there. So he's been prone to turnovers. So I'm with you, man. Get some pressure on him. Teams have been able to do it this year. Try to force some turnovers. I think we're going to have an opportunity to create some turnovers. Head, thank you very much. He says, do you shower in that sweatshirt, Chris? Head, I shower in it. I bathe in it. I go to work in it. I go in the sauna in it. I work out in it. Whatever I do, the sweater's on until such time the Giants lose. Pastor Ray, man, thank you very much, man. Watson, Tua, Mahomes, Herbert, Burrow, Murray. Yeah, well, those guys, yeah. I mean, Tua hasn't played yet, but we all know that Tua's got a ton of talent. Mahomes is ridiculous. Obviously, Watson, same thing. Herbert, Watson was more than 3 years ago, I think, and so was Mahomes at this point because 18, 19, 20. Herbert was not. Burrow obviously was not. Murray was not. And Tua was not. And I agree with most of those guys. Those guys all have higher upside. They all went above him, though. Murray went number 1. Burrow went number 1. Herbert went 6, which is the same spot. Mahomes obviously went a little bit later, but that was 4 years ago. Tua went 5, and Watson went about 10, but again, 4 years ago. So they all went around where he did or a little bit earlier. But yeah, I agree. Those guys have higher upside. You would never hear me argue against that. John, man, thank you very much, man. Danny throws 2 touchdowns. Wentz is going to turn over the ball 3 times tomorrow. Will be a high-scoring game. Honestly, I don't care. I'm always excited on game day. Listen, man, I get super excited whenever we play the Eagles. Like I said, this is the team that has given me the most heartache. This is the team who's double moonwalked my ass if Philly 500 is still in here since I've been watching this football team. So I get more fired up to play them than the Dallas Cowboys. And until such time we beat them, I'm going to get – well, no matter what, I'm always going to be super excited. But it's going to feel so good when we finally beat this team. And I do think we have an opportunity to do it tomorrow. I really do. I think you got momentum. I think they're banged up. I think we have a chance in this football game. I really do. Joseph, man, thank you very much, man. It's Tua time. I'm excited for Tua. I am. I'm actually really excited to see what Tua does opening week against the Rams. I was a bit surprised that Miami named him the starter, to be honest with you, because it seems like Fitzpatrick's doing a pretty good job. I might have waited, kept him on the bench for a few more weeks, but I'm excited. I think most people in the league are excited to see what he's got. Simon, man, thank you very much, man. What's up, Chris? When's the last time we did a pitch run? That's a good question. I'm trying to think about that. Last week they did one play where I was like, they haven't done that in a while. I think they threw a little looper to Lewis out of the backfield. They haven't really utilized the running back that much in the passing game outside of some screen passes. That's a good question. We did a fake pitch and a handoff to the fullback a couple of weeks ago. If we've done pitches, we haven't done many of them. And I think this week we need to try to do it because I think we're going to struggle trying to run up the middle against this football team. Pastor Ray, man, thank you very much, man. Look, guys, the strategy isn't for Jones to go off. We need to try to run and play conservative. The Eagles are 4th in sacks, can't risk Jones fumbling. I completely agree with that, Pastor Ray. It's what I said in my video today. I think the Giants need to basically come out with the same strategy they did last week, only maybe take more shots down the field when they're there. But I don't want to throw the ball more than 20 or 25 times. I want to stay committed to the run, and I don't want to put Daniel Jones in a position to turn the football over. Because if we don't turn the football over, I think we got a great chance to win this football game. I think it's all about ball control. I think you need to try to use his legs because that's where the big plays come from in this offense. But I'm with you. I don't want him going back to throw 35, 40 times. Absolutely not. We won't win if we do that. Joseph, man, thank you very much. Beat those Dirty Birds for once. Joe, it's about time. I'm going to put the link in about 20 minutes, Beam. It's about time that we beat those Dirty Birds, man. John Letourneau, man, stand up to entertain. A big game Thursday. A lot of things going against both of our teams. But is this a must-win game for Danny Dimes? First off, I'm going to say I'm not using that nickname anymore. Everybody uses the nickname Danny Dimes. I've never used it. I've never said it. Maybe I've blurted it out once or twice when I see people in the chat say it. I don't got to go out of my way to say that nickname. I'm all about Daniel Jones. I'm supporting Daniel Jones. He's a giant. I ain't saying that name until he earns it. You've got to earn your nickname. So I'm going to say Daniel Jones. As far as Daniel Jones goes, I don't know if it's a must. No, I'm not going to say it's a must-win game for Daniel Jones. It might be a must-win game for Dave Gettleman, but I'm not going to say a must-win game for Daniel Jones. You're still going to have a half season. I still think Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback next year. I really do. I really believe Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback next year for the New York Giants. I could be wrong, but no, I'm not going to say it's a must-win game for Daniel Jones. He's got to start to play well, but I don't think it's a must-win game. J-Man, thank you very much, man. Giants could win 6 games and make the playoffs. Yuck. But does that actually save Getty's job? I think if they make the playoffs, yes. If they make the playoffs, Dave Gettleman stays as the GM. And I know a lot of people in here don't want to hear that. Yes. I said at the beginning of the year, if they won 6 games, I think that there was an argument that Dave Gettleman gets to keep his job based on everything. I mean, you look at last year. What Merrick came out and said was he wanted to see improvement. Last year, they won 4 games. This year, 6 games would be a dramatic improvement, not to mention the way the defense is played, and you played a tougher schedule. So, and you made the playoffs in that hypothetical scenario. So, yes, I would say that Dave Gettleman will keep his job in that scenario. B-Max, thank you very much, man. Remember, Plax would kill the Eagles. Good times. Plax would kill the Eagles. I'm going to tell you another guy that throughout his career that has killed the Eagles. Sterling Shepard. Hopefully he's playing. We need Sterling Shepard out there. He's killed the Eagles throughout his entire career. That's where his best games come from. Hopefully Sterling Shepard's out there tomorrow because we could certainly use the firepower at the wide receiver position. But yes, Plaxico Burress. The Plaxico Burress Eagles moment that I always think about was 2006. And this is and he had some other great plays early on in his career. Eli Manning obviously had the game winner against the Broncos. He had another really, I can't remember. There was another one in his second year. I think this was his third year, though, against the Eagles, where he orchestrated the 17-point comeback in the fourth quarter. I say that all the time. That was in Philadelphia. They were down 24-7 going into the fourth quarter, and then Eli sent it to overtime. They were on the 35-yard line or thereabouts. First play, I think it was first down. Eli Manning, as he gets hit, throws it up to Plaxico Burress for 35 and a score. Burress used to kill the Eagles. Absolutely. John, man, thank you very much, man. Also, I agree. Love playing the Eagles, but I love seeing Cowboys get blown up versus Arizona. My whole family is Cowboys fans. I'm a Giant fan, so it was a little sweeter after our loss to them. 100%, John. It is always a blast when the when the Dallas Cowboys lose. Always a blast, especially, like you said, after a New York Giants win, and especially after the fact that we probably should have beaten the Cowboys the week before. So that was definitely a fun stream to do, and I'll definitely be streaming that Cowboys game again this week on Sunday since the Giants aren't playing, and I think I'll be rooting for the Washington football team. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Malik, he says, don't forget Slayton killing them this year, last year. Slayton did. Slayton's been playing well this year, too. I don't want to, and the guy played hurt. I'm going to give him credit, man. Slayton went out there. You could tell he wasn't 100%. He was playing hurt last week. He gave it everything that he had, and the guy continues to produce. He had 2 100-yard games so far this year. I love Darius Slayton. I don't know if he's a number 1 threat, but I definitely think he's going to be a core piece of the future for this football team. Zeke, man, thank you very much, man. Player for player trade, B.J. Hill or Golden for Demarcus Robinson on the Chiefs, or Josh Reynolds on the Rams. I wouldn't be against that. I mean, Marcus Golden's not a part of the future. I like B.J. Hill. I wouldn't be against that. Robinson's a decent. I remember doing a video on Demarcus Robinson actually in the offseason. I would not be against that. We got some depth there at that D tackle spot. I don't think it'll happen, but yeah, I wouldn't be against that. I don't think that's a crazy trade. What's going on there, Packing Man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. What's up there, Alex Sports? Chris Gonzalez says, should I start the Giants defense for fantasy? Probably not. And I'm not saying the defense won't do well, but I would think there's probably better options out there on the waiver wire. Who's ever playing the Jets, pick them up every week. I mean, the Jets are a minor league football team. So who's ever playing the Jets, just pick them up. That's my fantasy advice and my knockout pool advice every week. Who's ever playing the Jets, have them on your fantasy team. And whoever is playing them, pick them in your knockout pool. And you're guaranteed to win. They're a disgrace. They're tanking. And I can't stand it. So that's what I would do. What's going on there, Skeptic? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Funk says, I think if we give Gettleman another offseason, he'll have as good of an offseason as he did last year, maybe better. He just can't mess up with the first-round pick. Funk, listen. I'm not going to cry if they bring back Gettleman. I know a lot of people in here will. I'm not going to cry if they bring back Gettleman. But he's got to earn it. If the team wins 2 games, we have to realize they're not bringing him back. If they win 5 or 6, it opens up the discussion. I think they had a good offseason this year. It was a new regime. We'll see what they decide to do. But until such time they win 5 or 6 games, I don't even think it becomes a discussion. What's going on, Jay Krovax, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Terry McLaurin. What about Terry McLaurin? I got Freeman and Ingram starting in fantasy. Hopefully it works. I think they're going to use Freeman a lot in this game. But like I said, I do think that the Eagles are going to do a decent job bottling up the run. I do. I could be wrong on that, but I do. I think they're going to do a good job bottling up the run against the Giants in this football game. Yo, Chris, what time are you going to open the stream yard today? I don't know, Peter. Probably in about 10 minutes. Funk says, I wouldn't mind him back either. Yeah, Darius Slay is a top 5 corner for my Eagles. He's up there. He's played phenomenal so far. Darius Slay's played phenomenal so far for you guys. He was a good trade for you guys. I don't remember what you guys gave up for him, but he was definitely a good acquisition for the Philadelphia Eagles. And Bradbury's been very good for us. We'll see who does a better job shutting down the number 1 option tomorrow. Let's see what we got here. Evan Ingram breakout Thursday, Ryan says. You know, I say that almost every week, and it doesn't happen, so I'm not going to say it anymore. But I hope that they use Evan Ingram more down the field. You know, he's definitely one of our more explosive playmakers, and so far he really hasn't had one of those signature Evan Ingram games, kind of like what he did against the Bucs last year. J-Man, thank you very much, man. What do you think? Skeptic, what's up, buddy? He says, what do you think of all the new guys we keep signing on a daily basis? Here's what I'm going to say about that. I'm going to get to J-Man in a second. I like the aggression that the New York Giants have shown this season. Because in years past, we would always complain, a guy's hurt. Why aren't they signing anybody? And they'd wait like 2, 3, 4 weeks. I remember last year, I was waiting for them to sign Deone Bucannon for 3 weeks, and then they finally did it. This team, this organization, whether it's Judge or whoever, they seem to be more aggressive. When a guy goes down, let's get somebody in here, and they've done that. And yeah, I think the Freeman pickup was really good. He's played well with the Giants. And I like a lot of the guys that they've brought in. I don't know if they're going to have monumental impacts, but I do like that they've been aggressive in trying to bring guys in when guys have gone down. J-Man says, what's so hard about sliding? It's falling on purpose. Yeah, it's kind of like timing your slide, Jay, knowing when to go down, because it could get awkward if the guy's about to hit you. So I think you have to learn how to do that properly. I remember Mark Sanchez always was horrible at that, and that used to be a huge thing with Mark Sanchez. I remember that. But, yeah, I mean, some quarterbacks are good at it, some quarterbacks aren't. Kyler Murray's phenomenal. You watched the game last week. He's really good at it. Malik, man, thank you very much. Jets still selling everything. I still think we push for Mims or even crazy. Let's bring back OBJ. I can dream. You can dream because it ain't happening, Malik. It ain't happening, but you could dream. I don't think it'll happen anyway, but you could dream, my man. And, of course, I'll take Denzel Mims. I don't think the Jets would trade him, but I would take him. Al Batch, man, thank you very much. He says, we're not getting Trevor, or so be realistic. Best case, Fields or Lance. Grass ain't greener. We're not getting Trevor. The Jets are getting Trevor. I've been saying that now for 3 weeks. The Jets are getting Trevor Lawrence. Jets are getting the first pick. We're definitely not getting the first pick. Klein, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, man. Biggest game since the Green Bay Packer playoff loss. Keys are keeping Wentz in the pocket and Jones not fumbling when he's sacked. They'll get a few. If we do that, Giants 23. Oh, Giants 23, scumbag 17. I agree. They're going to get some pressure on the quarterback. And it's sad, but you're probably right that this is probably the biggest game we've had since that playoff loss to the Green Bay Packers in 2016. I'm trying to think about it. 2017, yeah, we won 3 games. 2018, we were 1-7 before we went on a bit of a winning streak, so we were already out of it. 2019, we were 2-2. I don't know if it's bigger than that, game 5, but maybe going into week 7, I'd say that it's probably the biggest week this late, biggest game this late into the season that the New York Giants have had in quite some time. I'll agree with that. I will agree with that. Avery, man, thank you very much, man. Which bets do you like? Over on the line or 43.5 on the line? I think it's going to be right around there, actually, Avery. I picked 23-20 today as my final score for the Giants. So I think it's going to be right around there. I think you're looking at a game in the high 30s to mid 40s range. I could see like a 2017. I could see like a 24-21. I think you're looking between about 35 to 45 points. 35 to 40, 37 to 45 points. I think you're looking in that range. Simon, man, thank you very much. How about BYU quarterback Zach Wilson, number 4 in the Heisman watch? I have a couple of subscribers that are absolutely infatuated with him. They bring them up to me all the time. Big Blue for Life's one of them. I watched a couple of highlight clips. I don't know much about them, but I have a couple of subscribers that absolutely love them. I'm not even thinking about quarterbacks right now. We have a quarterback. I'm going to back my quarterback. I'm going to give him 10 more games to evaluate him and see what he's got at the end of the year. At the end of the year, if it's a major problem, we'll talk about it. But right now, we still got 10 games left to play, and hopefully Daniel Jones progresses. That's my mindset. But I know everybody wants to talk about the quarterback, and I get it. But let's see what happens these next 10 weeks. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we got here. Remember Matt Dodge? Yeah, I remember Matt Dodge. He's a punter. Sup, Entertainment Talking Sports. Saw you at Bobby's stream. Bobby's the man. Bobby's fantastic. If you haven't done so, going over to Talking Giants. Does a great job over there. Great guy. Does the film analysis. Always love being getting in there whenever I can. Authentic. What's going on, man? Yo, we in the house. What's up, Dana? Craving some bird extra crispy. Well, we certainly don't want the original kind. I don't want the original kind, Authentic. Make it crispy. I want to burn that bird up this week. Burn it up, baby. And by the way, if you haven't done so, please go on over to Authentic and check them out. And I see some people asking for the StreamYard. Let me get the headphones on now. And let's put the link in right here. If you guys want to join, I'll pull you guys on one by one. And we'll talk for a little bit. There's the link. I think that's the link. If you have any problems, let me know. And I'll see if the video chat comes on. Who are you going for in the World Series? I think the Dodgers are going to win. And I'm kind of pulling for the Dodgers. I'm a New York Mets fan. I always say they're kind of like the New York Mets cousin. So I'm kind of pulling for the Dodgers against the Rays, and I think they're definitely going to win. But that's the link. That should work. Yes, we got somebody in here already. I'm going to wait till a couple more people come in, and then we'll bring them on one at a time. Hopefully you guys have something to talk about. Let's see what we got here. Good evening. Yeah, what's going on, man? I say my Eagles win 27-14. You know the Giants haven't beat the Eagles at home since 2013. Yes, I do. I also believe in the law of averages. That can't happen forever. That's why, and I got the sweater on. Fly Eagles TV, you know the Giants have never lost when I wore this sweater on stream. We're 1-0. So we got a streak too, man. We got a streak too. But here we go. Let's bring on a couple here. Let's see what we got. We're gonna start with Chris. We'll start with Chris. What's up, Sabrina? Thanks for popping in. What's going on, Chris?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for popping on, buddy.
I was with you when you were on the casting couch and you went to go take a leak, and the Giants kicked that long field goal against Chicago a few years ago. That's how far back. Actually, go back a little bit before then. So
yeah, that was the stream. I got very intoxicated. And that was the game where they came. That was probably the best win they've had since I've been on YouTube.
Probably, yeah. Now, how long were you on before then? Right about that time, wasn't it? Or
yeah, that was the first year I did it. You know, I started a little bit after the draft when we took Barkley. I wasn't around before the draft. I started like a month after that, and yeah, that was the first season I was doing YouTube.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have, I guess, like a whole lot. Obviously, I want to beat the Eagles majorly. We're 4-24 against the Eagles since 2008. Or excuse me, 4-20.
Yeah,
4-20.
It's absolutely pathetic, and we haven't won. Like one of the guys just said in the chat, we haven't won in the Link since 2013. So you're going back now 8 years almost. We haven't been able to win in Philly.
And not only did we win that game, but it was against Matt Barkley, their third-string quarterback. So we haven't beat like an actual starting quarterback there in even longer than that.
And we've never beaten Carson Wentz. That's what that would mean, right? It's since we. I don't think.
Not there. No, not there.
Not there. Yeah, not there. We beat him his rookie year.
We beat him at home.
That's right. We did beat him at home his rookie year. That's right. I don't know, man. I'm excited for the game. And I know some people may say, Chris, calm down, blah, blah, blah. Listen, we don't have a lot to be excited about. We finally won a game, and we're in the thick of it. Like, it's kind of, it's the same thing as if we were 3-4 and the division leader had 4 wins. So it's as sad as it is. The NFC East is horrible, and it is what it is. If we can win the division, we make the playoffs. So I'm excited. We have a meaningful game midway through the season, something we haven't had in forever, and we're going up against our arch rival in the Philadelphia Eagles. So I don't know how you're not up for this game, how you're not excited. I'm super excited for this football game.
Well, for sure. One of the things you're talking about is like how bad the division is, and I don't know why it didn't really occur to me before then, but I'm not sure that any other division has 3 new head coaches and a whole bunch of new coordinators. It's not just the Giants that are going through that. You're dealing with that with the Cowboys and the Redskins as well. So I think it might take a little while for any of these teams to get clicking. And then, of course, they're all banged up. Philly and Dallas are banged up, as bad as or worse than we are. So it is a pretty terrible division. But I like a lot of what I've seen so far. I'm not really on the get rid of Gettleman bandwagon just yet. I don't want to throw that in just yet because bad teams, if we do that, man, we're going to be staggering another GM, a head coach, and a quarterback, assuming that they keep Judge around. Who knows what they do. And this is just what bad organizations do, right? Over and over and over and over again. So hopefully it would be in everybody's best interests if we can kind of get things going in the right direction and say it's at least worth not having a fall guy going into next year, because otherwise, we're getting absolutely nowhere.
I've kind of thrown my hands up in the air because I know like 70% of the fan base wants to blame him for everything, and he definitely deserves some of the blame. And I know that he's going to get fired if we don't win at least 5 or 6 games. I think in an ideal world, and it has nothing to do with Gettleman. To me, it's all about Joe Judge. And I like Gettleman. I like some of the things Gettleman's trying to do. I also don't like a lot of things he's done as well. I think he's 50-50 maybe, but he's missed big in certain areas. But for me, it's all about Joe Judge. And I love Joe Judge. I want Joe Judge to have the best possible situation for him to be able to succeed. And to me, I look at it like in a best case scenario, I want the Giants to finish the year strong, win 6, 7 games, Gettleman stays on for 1 more year, and at the conclusion of that year, you finish your rebuild and you transfer the power over to Joe Judge. You win 10 games, Judge, maybe you bring in a collaborative GM, whatever it is. That is an ideal scenario for me. You win 10 games, he completes his rebuild. I don't know if that's going to happen, though, because if we win 3 games, somebody's taking the fall, and that somebody's Dave Gettleman.
I hadn't really considered that. You're right, though. That would probably be the ideal situation. And I like a lot of what I've seen from Judge. I think that he has gotten more with far less than what McAdoo or Shermer got with more talented rosters, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, we've got against the Rams there, I think we lost both of our starting safeties, plus McKinney never played to begin with. We got one friggin' corner. It's like this no-name defense, and then still held that offense in check. Hopefully the offense kind of gets clicking along too. There's just a couple of things that I'll hop off. I know you got a lot of people, but if I'm early on this, I'm early, but I'd like to see a little bit more aggression from Joe Judge, to be honest with you. I don't like 4th and 2 on the 38, not going for it. And I actually didn't like the call to not go for it when we were 4th and goal from the 2. With the way our defense is playing, to me, we can't get in the end zone. I'd like to see him go for it right there. If we don't get the points, whatever. You're giving Washington, the ball back in their own end zone.
I completely get where you're going with that, because we've been so bad in the red zone. I understood it because it was Washington, and I said to myself, they are so bad offensively. Take the points where you can get it, but by the same token, you say to yourself, if you don't get it, they're on the 2 and their offense sucks anyway. You probably get the ball back at midfield. So I see both sides of it.
Right, and then the only other thing I'll say real quick is like the only concern that I have with Jones, I mean, outside of we talk about the turnovers and all the obvious stuff, but one of the things that I think might be contributing to the red zone struggles is I don't think he's got a fastball. I think they got to scheme everything to get it open because he's got so much touch and so much accuracy. There's a lot of things that I really like about the way that he throws the ball, but I don't know that he can really drive it in there in those tight windows. And so maybe I'm wrong about that, but I haven't seen. I remember back in the day, Eli would fire those balls in there in a tight window.
I even remember. I think it was his first game, the game winner. I think it was against the Broncos his rookie year, where he's backing up around the goal line, and he threw it. Yep. He wasn't even stepping into it, and he threw it like a bullet. So you're right. Eli definitely had more arm strength than Daniel Jones had. There's not even a debate there.
It's showing up in the red zone. It's showing up, I think, in the play calling too. The fact that they're trying these end arounds and they're trying to do all these things tells me that they're trying to take some pressure off of him right now. At least that's what I'm seeing. But I sit on here and ramble all night, man. So it's just thanks for having me on. Enjoy the show. Take it easy, man. Let's get a win and screw the Eagles, man.
I appreciate you for coming on, Chris. Thank you for all your support.
All right.
And man, enjoy the game tomorrow. And let's get a W, buddy.
All right, man. Later.
All right, my man. All right, just going to get to a couple of these super chats, then we'll bring the next guy on. Zach Phillips, man, thank you so much, man. Really do appreciate that. He says, I don't want the Giants in the 5 new quarterbacks in the next 10 years. So, yeah, you're saying you don't want to go through quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. You want to get the right guy. Well, that's what the bad organizations do. They force the quarterback, and they never get it right. And, yeah, as a Giants fan, what I preach is I want to get the situation in the right place so it gives that quarterback the best opportunity to be successful. And that's how you do it. You have to set up a situation where the quarterback could be successful. Otherwise, you're in quarterback hell over and over and over again. And, of course, you got to pick the right guy. But thank you very much, Zach Phillips. Do appreciate it. Let me scroll down here so I can pull up Adams. That's why I don't like pulling these up. But for some reason, his super chat got erased on my phone. So that's the only way I was able to read it. I just want to make sure I read Adams as well. I'll just read it from the phone. Adam, thank you very much, man. He says, given we won last week, if Daniel Jones has two touchdowns, 0 interceptions, division game win, how much slack does he get? Whoever said OBJ was their dream, hate to see their nightmares. Listen, man, he's not going to get slack from he gets slack from this fan base, and I'm not telling you from me, I'm talking about from the overall fan base, is win football games. The reason that Eli Manning got so much slack was because they were winning football games. They won 11 games. If the Giants keep losing, nobody's going to give him slack. People want wins. That's the way New York is. And if he's not performing well, he's going to get the blame. So I'm with you. If he has a 2-touchdown game and we win the game, that's something to build off of. Then you got Tampa Bay up next week, and hopefully you can put together a 3-4 game stretch where you say to yourself, okay, we got something here. We're building. But I don't think off one game, fans are going to give him a lot of slack. That's just my opinion. Okay. Let's bring on the next one. I think we got Nations. What's going on, my man?
What's going on, Chris?
Glad to see you, man. You've been a long-time subscriber of mine. You've always you always supported me, always bring something good to the table, man. How you been?
I've been good, man. And before we get into like what we were gonna be talking about, I just want to quickly say how because I know I always tell you how much you're my favorite Giants YouTuber, and I know you're not the first, and I know you're definitely not the last. But whenever you're looking for a good YouTuber, the two best things, the two best traits are consistency and dedication. And if you look at your channel, you upload almost every single day. You're always positive. And whenever you're talking about like the Giants, and we know we're terrible. We've been terrible for a very long time. Every single stream, you stream for like 35 minutes to 40 minutes extra. You always have a positive outlook on it. And I feel like that's very important, especially when your team is terrible. It's always good to have that positive influence. So I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, man. I really do. And I can't say thank you enough. And that's what I try to bring, man, because I know the team sucks. I say it all the time. And I know fans hear it everywhere. You hear it in the media. You hear it from other fans. And I know the team sucks, but that doesn't mean that you can't look for positives in a really bad situation. You could apply that to anything in your life. Like when you're in a really bad situation, do you look at the negatives or you try to get some positives to try to get out of it? We're a rebuilding football team. We're nowhere near being ready to compete for a Super Bowl. And people, I think, realize that. Or if they don't, well, they're just not being realistic and that they're just setting themselves up for disappointment. You have to take positives in a rebuilding season. That's always been my mindset.
Yeah, of course, 100%. So with the Daniel Jones situation, I kind of thought about it because in the moment, I wanted to replace him. It was the same thing with Eli. When you see him make stupid reads or stupid plays, especially when it could possibly cost you the game, you do definitely feel some type of way about it. And when I actually thought about it a lot, right? Like when I actually had a clear mind about it, when we won that game, I thought to myself, like, what's the number one thing we always have been complaining about as a fan base? Barkley still can't run. Daniel Jones is pressured. I think is he the most pressured quarterback? I saw a stat line, I think that said that last week.
I'm not sure. I know he led the league a couple. So he might have still been. I don't know. I remember seeing the stat like 3 weeks ago, and he was the most pressured.
Yeah, and I remember one of the biggest things, and I know Reese did a lot of really bad things, and that's why he's not here, thank God. But one of the main things was his inability to fix the offensive line, and I feel like we need to fix the offensive line before we think about getting another quarterback, because not only do we not have weapons, we also don't have an offensive line. So if you kind of just keep replacing the same position over and over again, you can't really fix everything else effectively on your team. So it's like you're not really going to make too much progress. So that's why I feel like Daniel Jones needs to stay for at least another year or two, because one thing that I always noticed about Daniel Jones is you look at those runs, man. You look at those plays. He's not afraid of contact. I would prefer for him to slide, but he's able to be explosive, and you could see that in him. And that's why I really wish we could fix the offensive line, because he's very talented and he has high IQ when it comes to running the ball. Obviously he needs to slide, but the way that he evades, the pocket whenever he's about to get sacked is just amazing to me. And he shows those flashes, and that's why I really want to keep him. I really hope he succeeds, man. I'm really rooting for him.
Listen, man, he's got a ways to go, but like you said, he shows flashes. And there's a lot of young quarterbacks who had a ways to go at this point in their career. And I'm not going to come on here and lie and say he's definitely going to be the guy. I'd also be lying if I told you I like the pick. You guys all saw it on draft night. But I get behind him. He's a New York Giant. He's shown flashes, and I want to give him the best opportunity. And I agree with you, and it's what I loved about this draft this offseason. They spent so much attention on the offensive line. It's been 10 years since this offensive line's been good, and that is what I'm so pumped up about so far this year. Even though we're 1-5, what I want to see more so than anything else, obviously Daniel Jones, but is the offensive line mature. And the first 3 weeks, they were lost. They were lost puppy dogs, as I like to say. These last 3 weeks, they've gotten progressively better. And if they continue to do this, I'll be encouraged. And you're right. Even if Daniel Jones fails, and we have to move on in a year or two, you want to make sure you got that offensive line situated for the next guy that comes in. You want to make sure you got the best possible situation that you could possibly have to maximize your quarterback's value. So I'm complete agreement with you. You never give up on the offensive line. You continue to draft it every draft. I talk about it all the time with the Saints. They drafted Ruiz this year in the first round. They're the best offensive line in football. You have to continue to hammer that home. It starts in the trenches. That's how you win football games.
Yeah, and one other thing is, like, if we replace Daniel Jones in this upcoming draft, I know we're probably not getting Trevor Lawrence because the Jets are like really bad. Like, they're the worst team that I've ever seen. I'm only 14, so I haven't seen like bad, but I've seen bad, and they're the worst team that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go 0-16 because they're just that bad.
I think
they don't really
1-15 at best. 1-15 at best.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the absolute ceiling for them. But yeah, I also feel like you look at players like Saquon who are high value assets, right? Like, if I had to grade Saquon, I would feel like he's one of the most talented running backs in the league. I think he is the most talented. But like, you have to think, you pick Saquon 2nd overall, you take Daniel Jones 6th overall. If you replace Daniel Jones, Saquon's still going to struggle. So you need to be able to fix the offensive line and maybe add another weapon at wide receiver. That way, Daniel Jones and Saquon could both do better rather than replacing Daniel Jones just to get a new quarterback, because that's not going to fix much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I've said, I understand the Lawrence thing. If people feel he's the next, Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck or insert name here, I understand it because those guys don't grow on trees. First off, we're not going to have that opportunity. And secondly, if you don't have a prospect like that in this year's draft, you ride out Daniel Jones, in my opinion, and you try to get the most out of him. You continue to build up this team, and you give him another year to improve and get better. And fans may not want to hear that, but in my opinion, that's the proper approach to take. It's always been what I thought, and I couldn't believe that people were talking about it after just 2 weeks. And I get that Trevor Lawrence is an unbelievable prospect. And if Daniel Jones is horrible, we'll talk about it at the end of the year. But we've still got a lot of season to go before we write off Daniel Jones, and I could go over the extra challenges that he's had. He's got to overcome that, and I think he's going to get better over the course of the year. The offensive line is starting to get better. I think that's going to translate to more success for Daniel Jones over these last 10 games.
Yeah, of course. And one of the main things I was surprised with was how well the defense has been playing. Currently, we're ranked 9th in pass rush. Last week, I believe, how many sacks did we get? 2 or 4? One of those.
I think we had 2 or 3. I can't remember. But I know we're ranked 12th in yards against and 16th in points against overall.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have been able to get to the quarterback. We actually also had 8 QB hits on Kyle Allen last week as well. So I feel like with a little bit of more of a little push, we can be really good. And you look at players like James Bradberry, he's been ranked number 2 last game as a corner. I'm sure he's still top 5 because I looked at his PFF grade and it went from, I believe, 85 to 83. So he's still top 5, I believe, when it comes to best corners in the league so far. And I think that the ability to actually have a good corner, especially what happened after DeAndre Baker and all that, definitely helps us out a lot. Because, to be honest, if James Bradberry didn't show up as well as he needed to, and he wasn't good, and let's say he was just average, that wouldn't be good because we don't have a good second string. We don't even have a starting type of caliber second string, I would like to say. I don't know. Our luck is just terrible. It feels like even when we make what's supposed to be the right pick, it just never works out ever.
It's been a lot of bad luck for this football team. There's no doubt about it. Bradberry was a phenomenal signing. One of the best signings overall in free agency as far as I'm concerned, the way that he's played, and you only got him on a 3-year deal. And just imagine, like you said, where a cornerback play would be right now if we didn't sign him. You'd have DeAndre Baker in jail or whatever, awaiting trial, not on the Giants. and you'd have nobody at the cornerback position. So that was a fantastic free agency signing, and he's a major reason why this defense is doing as well as they are. Right now, to me, he's one of the top 5 corners in the sport. Nations, I'm going to let you go just because I got so many people waiting, but you did a fantastic job. Always love talking to you. And thank you so much for the encouraging words. Really do appreciate it, buddy.
Of course, man. Looking forward to this game. Let's beat the Philadelphia Eagles, man. Let's come out, be in second place in the division, and try to win. I know it's going to affect our draft spot, but you look at that season a couple years ago, well, it was more than a couple years ago. But remember when we had that one season where I believe Tom Coughlin decided not to sit all the starters because we already had a playoff spot, so people wanted him to put the backups in, but he used that momentum to further help. And I think that's one of the main reasons they won that Super Bowl was because of that momentum that they had from winning those games near the end. But yeah, man, it's definitely always a pleasure to be on the channel, man. It's amazing to see what you've been able to accomplish in the short time that you've been uploading, just for over 2 years, just over 2 years.
A little bit over 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, you've become my favorite and a lot of other Giants fans' favorite YouTuber. Not even just Giants YouTuber, just favorite YouTuber in general. I know that like whenever, I don't know, you're just very valuable, man. You got like your opinion videos, you got the news videos. It's just very informative. I don't even need to look at ESPN or anything like that. I can just go to your channel. But yeah, man, thank you for having me on, man.
I can't say thank you enough, man, for all the kind words. You've always been a great kid, and thank you so much, man. I look forward to talking to you on these shows in the future, buddy.
All right, man. Peace out.
All right, nations. I'm going to answer a couple of these super chats, and we're going to get a couple more of you guys on here. Thigh Hercules, man, thank you very much, man. Is Garrett's offensive scheme generally a difficult one, or do you think our struggles are due to the switch from Pat's scheme to quick with young players? Here's the thing, man, and I said this as soon as we brought him in, and I like the scheme. I think it could work, but what it is, you need an offensive line. You need a good offensive line for this scheme to be really effective. And you look at the Dallas Cowboys when he was going plays. They had one of the best offensive lines in football, top 5, top 6 offensive line every year for those 6 years in which he was going plays. The reason being, he wants to take shots down the field. Pat Shermer called for more quick passing routes. You don't have that here, with Jason Garrett. He wants to take more shots on the outside and, deeper shots down the middle with the tight end. If you want to do that, you have to be able to block. So far, the New York Giants, they've gotten better. They're probably not there yet to the point where you could get maximum value out of this scheme. And I do think it's also because the players, like I've said all along, it's a shortened offseason. It takes time to get acclimated to a new scheme. There wasn't a preseason. Hopefully they're starting to get it now, and we start to see this offense progress now over the last 10 games of the year. But yeah, I think it's a combination of a bunch of things, but I think the biggest thing is the offensive line. Next up, Brody, man, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I really hope Daniel Jones could be a great quarterback. I think everybody in this chat, well, and if they don't, they just hate Daniel Jones. But I think everybody in this chat should hope that Daniel Jones is going to be a great quarterback, because right now he's the quarterback of your football team, whether you believe it or whether you don't. I hope so too. I can't tell you if he's going to be or if he's not. I'm going to tell you that I, as a guy that talks about the Giants, I'm going to give him every opportunity this year to prove the doubters wrong, and hopefully matures and becomes that guy that we're all hoping that he could be, which is a franchise quarterback for the New York Giants. All right, we're going to bring LeVar on. I don't think I've ever had LeVar on before. Let's add him to the stream. LeVar, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I don't see it. For some reason, I see your video underneath, but whatever. We hear you. What's up, buddy?
Man, I'm excited to be on. Just like what the other kid was saying, I don't even go to ESPN for my news. I wake up and I come to see what Tainer got to say,
I appreciate that, LeVar, man. How long you been a Giants fan?
I've been a Giants fan since, I think, the first Super Bowl, the 07 season. I was a Redskins fan at first. But, man, I seen one game where Dallas just punished them, and I was like, this cannot be the team that represents me. I just started looking at football for myself, and I seen the Giants, and this Eli Manning dude was looking pretty okay for being underdogs, because I think they were the underdogs in that season.
Yeah, they went on the road 3 weeks straight, and then they went on to win the Super Bowl against the undefeated Patriots.
Yeah, and I see something like that coming again. I'm very optimistic about our team. I got a lot of faith in Daniel Jones and our wide receiving group. I just think they need to spread the ball around a little more to me.
Yeah, see, to me, I think they still need one more big-time weapon with this wide receiver group, and I like Slayton. I think Slayton is definitely a weapon in the passing game. Golden Tate, they haven't used that much. I want to see them use him more. Ingram, I just don't think they're using him properly, at least right now. I still think they need another weapon. Jones is tricky because last week, and I say it every week, outside of the one mistake, he looked really good. I mean, the first half he was 8 for 9. I mean, they didn't throw that much. He had the big 50-yard run, and he was 8 for 9. He threw the great touchdown to Slayton. Played probably his best half of football all year. And then the second half, he made that one crucial mistake. And if you want to be a great quarterback, in those spots, you can't make those mistakes. But he's young, and I think he'll get better over the course of time. I'm still going to have confidence in Jones, and let's just build this roster around him.
Right, and I think another good thing we could do is put Wayne Gallman in as a starter, because Devontae Freeman to me is too small height wise, and I see it in almost every game he plays because he can't see over the line. He runs under dudes, and for some parts of it, it works, and he likes to do a lot of cuts that get him jammed up as well. I want to see Wayne Gallman in because he's a more physical runner, and he has a little more height that gives him the upper hand to see where he's going, see different holes where they open instead of going under dudes.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good question you bring up about Gallman. Gallman's a guy that when they first went to the committee approach was getting, he wasn't getting a ton of touches, but he was still getting 7, 8, 9 carries. Last week, I don't think they used him, and if they did, it was very limited. I don't remember him out on the field much at all. I like the way Freeman's played. I like Devontae Freeman. He runs hard, runs up the middle, but I agree with you. I'd like to see Gallman get a few more touches. He played well when given the opportunity there those first few weeks. I think he had like 45 yards on 7 carries the first week after Barkley got injured, and they haven't used him as much as I thought that they would. And that's kind of been the summary of Wayne Gallman really since after his rookie season. Once we drafted Saquon Barkley, we don't really use him at all. And I agree with you. I thought he was running pretty hard. I'd like to see him get 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 carries a game. Maybe get a little bit more than he has over the last couple of weeks. Although I do think Freeman's actually played pretty well. I hope they keep Freeman actually, because I think Freeman is a perfect complement to Saquon Barkley. We always talk about how Barkley's not really an in-between the tackles runner. Freeman's that guy. He wants to go in there. He's gonna put his head down. He's not looking to stay away from contact. He almost tries to create it. I think he's a really good complement to Barkley. And if they could keep Freeman on one deal, I'd be open to it.
Had we had both of them at the same time, that'd have been a tricky running back duo to switch up because you got 2 different style runners. I want to leave you one more thing. I put a comment in one of your videos about our defense possibly being overwhelming for some teams a little while back. And now I'm kind of seeing it. We did really good against the Rams, our defense. I'm very impressed with James Bradbury and even Darnay Holmes, down to Ryan Lewis, in fact. The best we've had was Janoris Jenkins since Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie left us, if you ask me, as far as the cornerback position goes. And when he left, I was thinking, man, we ain't going to have nobody to cover a 300-pound wide receiver if he out there long enough. But then we grabbed Bradbury, Darnay Holmes. Ryan Lewis, he made me real upset with that last play in Dallas. But for the most part, he's been an exceptional 2 cornerback for me, a number 2 cornerback. He's been exceptional to me.
Listen, man, Lewis has been a pleasant surprise, and I don't know if he's the long-term answer. And even on that play in Dallas, you're talking about the throw at the end of the game. I think it was to Gallup. It was actually pretty good coverage. I just thought it was a great catch. I think Ryan Lewis has played as well as you could hope for the New York Giants.
Lost, I got so upset.
Well, of course. We were all upset. I just thought that was a phenomenal catch. I think we were all upset, though, about the mishold call. I mean, my God, but I actually think Lewis has played well for the Giants. Again, I don't know if he's the long-term answer, but I've been really encouraged with him. Bradbury, I mean, we don't need to speak about him. He's been out of this world. The guys
Pro Bowler.
He's a Pro Bowler. And the guys they had in there before weren't doing the job. Yadam wasn't doing that well. Ballantyne wasn't doing that well. But the way Ryan Lewis has played, listen, man, let it rock, man. Let him roll the last 10 games the way he's playing if he keeps this up. I've been impressed with Lewis. A pleasant surprise for him at the second cornerback spot.
Yeah, that's what keeps us from beating the Eagles when you talk about the no calls. Because, man, every game the Eagles beat us, it seemed like when we in the thick of things, the calls don't get called. And I'm like, come on now. We definitely not going to do that. But I hope that doesn't get in the way of this game and we could ride this momentum in. I don't see us losing. If few games, honestly. The Eagles beat up Dallas. I don't think they're going to beat us again. Joe Burrow, they
I'm
don't
with you.
have any fight until the fourth quarter. So, these are winnable games we got coming up.
I'm
And I'm
with you.
excited.
I see some games on the schedule. I'm not all doom and gloom. I'm going to continue to say what I've said: 5 wins, 4, 5, 6 wins. But I see some games on our schedule that we have a chance to win. I agree with you. I'm not going to go into every week. There's certain games I'm going to say we're not winning. We're not winning the Baltimore game more than likely. We're not winning the Seattle game. Probably not going to win the Bucs game. But there's games on our schedule that I look at and I say, yeah, we could fight with this team. We go toe-to-toe with this team. So I agree with you. I don't think we're nearly as bad as some people may think. I think we're rebuilding, and I think people need to realize that, not have their expectations way too high. But I think you can have a team you're proud of by year's end. I think they're going to compete. I think they're going to fight each and every week. But, LeVar, I want to say thank you so much for being a great subscriber. I want to say thank you so much for coming on. We're going to get the next guy on, but it was a great talk, buddy. Thank you for being a great subscriber.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You got it, my man, and enjoy the game tomorrow. All right. Let's read Giant Steps, then we're going to bring Nicholas on next. Giant Steps, thank you so much. Let me get LeVar out of there just because I know some other people. Oh, he left. Okay, good. He says, if Jones has another 2 or 3 red zone picks, we need to consider Fields or Lance. Can't put that on scheme or wide receiver talent. I agree with you that the scheme is not, well, I not that much. It shouldn't have that much to do with the red zone picks. That has to do with the fact that I think he's trying to force the ball, and he's got to get better at that. Giant Steps, no doubt about it. And if he doesn't, we'll talk about it at the end of the year. He's still got 10 games to improve. I'm going to continue to say that each and every week. But yes, he's got to get better. Good quarterbacks do not turn the ball over at the rate that he's been doing it in the red zone, and he didn't do it last year. That's a clear regression. I think he's trying to put the team on his back because he feels like they don't have a lot of weapons, and he's trying to make plays that really aren't there. You got to be smart, kind of like he was at the start of that game when he took the sack. I talked about that in my post-game video. He's got to do a better job at that. You don't try to force the ball too much. I think he will. I think he's a smart guy. I do think he's going to get better. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but that's what I believe. Let's see what we got here next. I want to pull up a couple more of these, and we're going to get the next guy on. Tom Ty, what's going on, my man? He says, fire Gadd as OC, hire Gase as OC, he's better. Tom, here's what I'm going to say about that. And Adam Gase is definitely a thought to be an accomplished offensive coordinator, kind of like Shermer, bad head coach, good offensive coordinator, good quarterback guy, got the recommendation from Peyton Manning. But here's my thoughts on that. If you're going to keep Daniel Jones as the quarterback, I think you're setting him up for failure if you then again change the offensive coordinator. The guy's already been through 2 offensive coordinators in 2 years. Now this would be 3 in 3 years. That is really tough to put on a young quarterback. I know a lot of people have complained about Garrett. They say they want to move on, and I get it. The offense has been stagnant. There's definitely been some questionable play calling, but I do think you're putting your quarterback in an even tougher situation if you then bring in a 3rd offensive coordinator in 3 years. Now, of course, if you move on from Jones, that's a different story. You start from scratch, you're bringing a new OC for the quarterback that you draft. But if you're keeping Jones, I don't necessarily think moving on from Garrett would be the right decision. 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years is a lot. Let's see what we got here. Quinn, man, thank you very much, man. He says, who else is buying a Bradbury jersey? Stand up, Quinn. I think you should buy a hoodie because they have not lost since I've worn it. But no, in all seriousness, I think it would be safe right now to go out and buy a James Bradbury jersey. I think he's done a great job for the New York Giants. I think he's going to be an impact player for the next 3 years while he's under contract. Probably our best player on this football team right now. And I just want to get one more. We'll get Lax, and then we'll bring Nicholas on the channel. Lax says, taking another quarterback in the first round after only 2 years is so dumb. Give Jones his rookie contract at least to develop and build around him. Yeah, I don't know if I would give it, I'm not going to say dumb if you could get an elite talent, but I'm pretty much in agreement with you. I don't want to play quarterback near musical chairs. I want to try to give him the best situation to succeed. I want to build this team around him. I don't know if I would give him the whole rookie contract. If he's not much, he's still bad after year 3. You make a move at that point. If you've improved the team around and you brought in a wide receiver, you improved the offensive line, you make a move at that point. But unless I could get in an elite, and I'm talking Aaron Rodgers level potential, I'm not taking a quarterback this year. Period. End of story. That's my opinion. Everybody has their own. I'm not doing it. But Lax, man, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. And we're going to bring Nicholas on the channel. What's up, Nicholas, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy.
Hey, Chris. Nice seeing you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, man.
I just want to start off by saying Dorman at Hofstra University.
Nice.
The roommate, that's an Eagles fan.
Oh.
So we're really psyched for this game.
That's got to be tough on you, man.
Yeah. But we've been getting along really well, so, I mean, it's fine. He's also pretty heartbroken about his team, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I also want to say how the Giants, I love this defense. It's not amazing. We're top tier, but it's probably the best since 2016.
Yeah, I just want to get to the super chat real quick. I'm going to post a link for you, Zion Zenith. That's the link, Zion Zenith. And thank you so much for the super chat. He says, killing it like always, bro. How do I get on the video chat? Link's right there. I'm going to try to get as many people on as I can. I'm trying to get as many people on as I can. Nicholas, as far as the defense goes, and I've said it time and time and time again, it's been the biggest surprise to me all offseason. There is no way, Nicholas, if we were talking before the season started, if I would have told you we're going to be 12th in yards against in the entire NFL through 6 weeks, you would have said, I'm not watching this guy anymore. This guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And Nicholas, I'm going to tell you, man, this defense is playing well. And I think Patrick Graham is the biggest contributing factor for it. I think he's done a great job with the scheme.
It's true. I mean, I wasn't expecting the defense to play this good, but it is.
Yeah, I think it's been great. And the offensive line's been the other thing I'm very encouraged with. Going into this game, what do you think the New York Giants have to do in order to get a W?
I'm going to say put pressure on Carson Wentz.
No.
As much pressure as possible.
And the Eagles have certainly been giving it up this year. I mean, they've surrendered 25 sacks. I think we're going to have an opportunity to get pressure. I think the New York Giants are going to be ultra aggressive in this football game, being that he's prone to turnovers. And I think we're going to get some opportunities to create some touchdowns with the defense, or at least give us good field position. I think there'll be opportunities, and the Giants have to cash in when they get there. We know they've struggled in the red zone. To me, that's been the most disappointing thing. What do you think is the biggest reason for what Daniel Jones has struggled so far this year through 6 weeks?
Well, I think it's just the main problem is him learning a whole new offensive scheme in the matter of 2 years being in the NFL.
I agree with you. Some people may say that's excuses, and I get it, but I agree with you. I think that's the biggest thing. But I also think he's pressing. He's pressing, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fan base. He knows New York fans, and you know what? You got to be thick-skinned to play in New York. We all know that. And I think he will be. Seems like the type of guy that lets it roll off his shoulders. But I'm still going to express confidence in my quarterback. I still think Daniel Jones can be a good quarterback. Until such time they tell me he's not the guy, I'm supporting him. Period. End of story. I'll give you guys my opinion at the end of the year if I feel like he needs to be replaced. But right now, I'm supporting my quarterback, and I hope he goes out there and he plays well tomorrow. I think he's shown flashes. Last week he played well outside of that one bad decision.
100% agree.
But give me a score prediction, Nicholas, and I'm going to let you go. And then tell me your roommate's score prediction.
I'm going to say maybe 24-21 Giants.
I like it. I said 23-20. So really? we got it by about a field goal. I'm with you. I think we got an opportunity to win. Nicholas, man, I just want to say thank you so much for your continued support on the channel. And Hofstra's not far from where I live. I've been to Hofstra several times, about 25 minutes from where I live. So hopefully you're enjoying the college experience there with your roommate, even though that you guys probably argue all the time about football. But thank you so much for coming on the channel. Thank you for all your support on the channel. I really do appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, my man. Be well.
You too.
All right. We're going to get John Letourneau on next. I just got to read a couple of these super chats. And Jason is next. He says, bring in a left tackle to give a pep talk. Bring in LT to give a pep talk and maybe some coke. Let's energize this team. Week 1, 2, and 3. No spirit. It's getting better. Needs pumped up energy. John, I'm kind of with you. Matter of fact, I thought the first 2 weeks wasn't bad. I mean, we went toe-to-toe with the Steelers. I think they're a really good team. They're 5-0 right now. We had an opportunity to have the lead going into the fourth quarter before Jones threw that interception. The Bears game, we were on the 10-yard line. We had an opportunity to beat a team that's 5-1. The Giants almost handed them their second loss. The third week was a complete embarrassment, and I lit into them that week, and they deserved it against the 49ers. There was no effort in that game whatsoever. Week 4 and 5, there was effort. You know, you went to L.A., you had an opportunity to win the football game. You lost by 8. You had the ball in the waning minutes, and Jones, again, couldn't get the job done, but they were right there toe-to-toe with a very good Rams team who, again, only has one loss. The Cowboys, we all know they should have won that game, and then last week they got a W. They found a way to get a win. The team is getting better, may not result in a ton of wins. We play a challenging schedule. We're young, but I do think this team is going to get better over the course of the year. Jason, man, thank you very much, man. Let's pull up the next one. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Bop, 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 bop. That's what I say when I think, by the way, guys. Bop, 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 bop. Al, man, thank you very much, man. I really do appreciate it. DJ needs and will do better. We are not getting Trevor Fields or Lance, period. But fun to pretend. At 7, no chance. Al, love the optimism. Listen, man, I'm backing my guy, man. till such time I feel like I don't need to back him. I'm not gonna. But right now, I'm backing my guy. He's been in a tough situation. We got to build this team around him. We need to see Daniel Jones progress. Danny Thomas, man, thank you very much, man. Need to run that RPO with Jones, but needs to get better with the awareness and decision-making. Need to cut Fleming and start Barrett and Thomas. I don't think we need to cut Fleming, put him on the bench. Fleming's a valuable swing tackle. He actually has played relatively well the last 2 weeks, Fleming, but I agree. I want to get Barrett in there as soon as possible, start to develop these tackles. Barrett showed he could be a solid tackle last week, actually had the highest offensive grade on the entire offense. So I'm going to agree with you. I want to get Barrett and Thomas in there as soon as possible. I think Fleming's a valuable swing tackle. He's got experience with this coaching staff. I like Fleming. I just don't want him in the starting lineup anymore. Maybe one more week we'll get to see him in there. I think very soon, though, you will see both the rookies in there on both sides of the line. Tom Ty, man, thank you so much, man. Will you put a Jeffrey Toobin on this live stream? If I see him in the chat, I'll try to. I literally already have 10 people here, and it's saying that more people are trying to get in. I'm only able to hold 10 people at a time, so I'm just taking them as they get here, Tom. It's hard for me to even scan through the list, but I'm going to try to get to as many people as I possibly can. Thank you very much, Tom, man. I really appreciate it. But if I see a Tom Toobin on the list, I will try to bring him in. But we got John Letourneau up next. John, my man, how you been, buddy?
What's up, Chris, man? I love your channel, man, and I respect you every day, man. I'm grateful that you have me on. But can I say one thing? Where's Bad Dog at? Where's he hiding at? Is he behind you? Where's he at? It's Eagle talk and Giant talk right now. Where's he at?
We got an Eagles fan here in here, guys. John's been a great supporter of mine forever. Always supports me in the chat. You know, he always a good fun. Big Eagles fan. And John, I'm sorry, man. I know you haven't been upset when you played the Giants in quite some time. Tomorrow, get the tissues ready.
Oh yeah, we'll see. But let me put it to you this way, Chris. This is the best advantage for you guys to win because our offensive line's banged up. I mean, there's no excuses, but we're both tore up. This is your best chances of actually coming in second place or even winning the division because after you and Dallas, our schedule is brutal. Because we got the Steelers, I mean, we got the Bengals, we got the Cardinals, we got the Packers, we got Seattle. So you really have an opportunity to not get Trevor Lawrence. You can probably be in the top 10 of drafting, but you ain't going to be like top 5. Because we have a brutal schedule, and if we can't somehow put it together by beating you guys in Dallas within this 3 weeks time frame, I don't know what to say. We probably would be drafted in the top 5. You never know.
Well, we're kind of the same way as you. I think this is kind of a must-win game for both teams if they have any hope to compete and win this division this year, because our schedule doesn't get much easier after these next 4 or 5 games. So it's kind of the same thing with the Giants. I think both teams are coming into this game banged up, needing a win. I mean, you guys had a nice come from behind effort last week, couldn't quite pull it out against the Ravens. You're coming back home, and as an Eagles fan, I'd probably be optimistic. I mean, you guys have beaten us the last, I think it's like 3,000 times we've played, and you should be optimistic going into this football game if you're an Eagles fan. But I like the way my New York Giants have been playing. I think you guys, like you said, you're a little bit banged up. You really haven't been hitting on all cylinders this year. I think you're vulnerable, and I think if there was a week that the New York Giants were going to go into the link and pull up an upset, I think it would be this week. I think they got momentum. I think Joe Judge is going to have this team fired up. They play hard for him. We're not as talented as you guys. I'm not going to pretend that we are, even though you guys do have a ton of injuries to your skill position players. But I do think we're going to have an opportunity to win this football game. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it'll be 3 or 4 points either way.
Right. There's one thing that will help the Giants. If you look for Nathan Gary, throw to him all day, you're going to score touchdowns. He is god-awful. He is awful. So if any chance for Daniel Jones to have a good day, look for Nathan Gary. Wherever he's at, your guy's going to be wide open in the end zone. Trust me on that.
All right. I'm going to call – I have Judge's number. I'm going to call him right after the stream.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, do whatever you do. You got to target Gary all game. I'm going to tell him.
Yeah.
It works.
And the reason I said in the, earlier that is this specific for Daniel Jones to win because this is the division's a bad division. He's playing against – we're all not good. So if you're really going to see if he's going to be talented to really – in my opinion, I know he still has 10 games left, including us. I think this is really crucial for him because of our divisions are bad, that he really has to show that he can really play. Because if not, then you'll know what you have to do for your draft for next year. Do you agree? Because I know you're standing behind him. I know he's a Giant, and you have to stand behind that pick because he was picked 6th overall. But when you gauge these divisional games, really important for him specifically because if he doesn't pan out, then what are you going to do? You know?
No. If we're picking, he's on pace to throw like 8 touchdowns this year. Okay, if he has 8 touchdowns at the end of the year, which I don't think he will, and we're picking second or third, yeah, you definitely consider it. You definitely consider it. But again, I'm going to stand behind Jones. I'm going to give him every opportunity as a fan. I'm not going to overreact. I'm going to be a man of my word. I came into the year saying I don't expect this offense to click until the second half of the year. I came into this year saying I viewed the first 4 or 5 games almost like a preseason because we didn't have one, and you had a new offense and a defense and a new head coach and everything else. So I'm going to give him every opportunity this year to prove that he's worthy of a third year. If he doesn't do that and he's like horrid like he is now, well, then we'll talk about it. But right now, let's enjoy the season and let's hope that Daniel Jones improves. That's my thoughts on it.
Really quick before I go, I got 2 things for you. Make sure you better have Johnny next year because if you win, you got to have it next year to have a good drink. You can't show up to that game without no Johnny.
I got news for you. By the way, I see Dave Gettleman in the chat. I had to pull him up. Dave, you know I try to support you whenever I can, Dave. Dave, I try to support you. I love the Hogs. I love your mentality, Dave. But right now, you're not getting the job done. This team needs to start winning football games, Dave, or you might be without a job, Dave. So get it together, get this team fired up, and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Today, I knocked down my birdhouse. I said it on Twitter today. It's Eagle Week. I'm doing whatever I can. I don't even want to look up in the sky. I don't want to see a bird.
Let me ask you something. If you lose to us, will you change that Giants shirt to an Eagle shirt?
No.
You know I love you, Chris, man. And Fly Eagles Fly. You know I have to say that to you Giant guys because you and Bad Dog always read my team. But let's go. We're gonna come out here and beat you guys on Thursday. Make Daniel Jones go home and cry, and have Bad Dog and you have another rant. So we'll see what happens, buddy. I love you, brother.
All right, John, man. Thank you so much for being such a great supporter, and we'll talk soon.
All right, buddy.
All right, that was John Letourneau, and we'll talk hopefully after an Eagle loss. What's going on, Josh? What's going on, Sean, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. Sean, just pack your bags, Dave. Dave doesn't know how to use a computer. He doesn't. That's why he got the computer guys, Anthony. You know that. That's why he got the computer guys this offseason. And there's the link, Blake. I want to thank you for popping in the stream, man. What's going on there, Michael? What's going on there, Schlake? John Church says the Giants should be able to hold the Eagles to 16 points at most. Defense is looking good this year. Defense has played well, John. Defense has played well. Hopefully we can. Next up, we got Danny on the show. What's up, Danny? Danny Bobanny. Banana Nana Faux Fanny. He's got the microwave. There he is. I think he just unmuted. What's up, Danny?
Hello. What's up?
What's going on, Danny? Thanks for popping on the show, buddy.
I'm going good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. What do you want to talk about?
You know, the thing I really want to talk about is Daniel Jones and the end of the games, clutch situations. This year it just hasn't looked good.
Okay. What's your question?
Why? Yes.
Why is he struggling?
Yeah, you know. Do you think maybe they should have bought in a coach like an Eric Bieniemy, maybe someone that would help him develop instead of regress?
I don't listen, man. It's why last year I was for keeping Pat Shurmur as much as people thought it was crazy. And I understood why we moved on. But when you screw with a guy's head in his second year and a new scheme and everything else, there's growing pains. And I think that I'm not saying he should be playing this bad, but I think that growing pains should have been expected. I also don't think this scheme fits him nearly as well as Pat Shurmur's scheme fit him. As far as Eric Bieniemy goes, Eric Bieniemy, of course, is a very hot name. He's a guy that a lot of people thought should have gotten a head coaching job, and I hope he does this year. And I think he will. I think he's definitely going to be probably the most prominent name out there based on all the media attention that he got this offseason. Maybe the Jets sign him, whoever, especially if the Jets get the first pick with Lawrence. But Eric Bieniemy, I always said to myself, I understand why teams aren't drooling over this guy because he doesn't even call the plays. Andy Reid calls the plays over there. You know, I like Joe Judge. I think Joe Judge is fine. I think we need to give him a chance to really build this football team. As far as Danny goes, I think he's trying to force it. I think he sees that the offense is struggling and he's trying to make plays, and he needs to learn. You know, sometimes you don't try to force the football. You take the points where you can get them. I think he's trying to do too much.
Yeah, I know. It's got to be tough. Second year, second system. It's just – he just hasn't thrown the ball deep. I see just too much forcing the ball to Evan Ingram, just too much. Last year, I think he threw the ball 6% more time, 20 yards plus down the field. I just haven't seen this offense throw the ball deep at all this year, honestly.
They haven't. I mean, you know, you've seen it here and there. I think was it 2 weeks ago, or I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. We took maybe 3 or 4 shots down the field. Maybe it was the Rams game, but yeah, for the most part, we haven't really chucked it down the field. We chucked it down the field a little bit against the Steelers last week. We didn't really throw it down the field at all. I think some of it has to do with the offensive line, and they're worried that they can't hold their blocks. But yeah, I want to see more of that. We need to try to stretch the field. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I know that they drafted Daniel Jones because he fit Pat Shermer's system, but if you bring a new GM in here, I feel like you got to give him free reign. You got to let him change anything he wants, honestly.
I agree with that. If you bring in a GM, a good GM's not going to take this job. You know, if you tell the GM before he gets the job, you have to keep this quarterback, you have to keep this head coach, he's going to say, well, I'm going to go to a team that doesn't tell me I have to do that.
And that's why I think we got stuck with Shermer. I think Shermer was their 3rd or 4th pick for a head coach. I really don't think that they wanted him.
I kind of agree with you. I think Shermer was the first guy probably that said, yeah, I'll go with Eli. I kind of agree with you. And
if you do bring in a GM who says, and you tell him you could fire the head coach, we got all this money off the books, you can pick your own quarterback. That is what a GM finds attractive. A GM does not want to join a job which basically he's forced into it. He has to keep the quarterback. He has to keep the head coach. GMs want to pick their own quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with you. The GM is gonna want to have full say. There's no doubt about it. He's not gonna want to be told what to say. I completely agree with you. But Dan, anything else, my man?
No, that's it for me.
All right, my man. Thanks for popping on, buddy, and enjoy the game tomorrow.
Later.
All right. Johnny B says, only reason we say give Jones till the end of the season, Chick Man, for real, do you watch the Giants? I don't know who said that. I don't know if he's saying that I said that or if somebody on the phone said that. We got to give Jones till the end of the year, period. We got to give Jones till the end of the year, period. And when I say, I don't know if he's talking to me or if he's talking to somebody that was on the phone. When I say we got to give Jones till the end of the year, I'm not talking about playing time. To me, playing time is obvious. We're not bringing in the backup for Daniel Jones. Okay, Colt McCoy's 34 years old. When I say we got to give him a chance till the end of the year, I mean, as fans, we shouldn't be jumping to say we have to tank for a quarterback 5 weeks into the year. You have to give him the full season to fully evaluate him before you could even start, in my opinion, say conclusively that he's not the guy, especially with all the things that he had to overcome so far this offseason. And that's what I'm doing. I'm giving him the 16 games. Joe Judge is in the chat. What's going on, Joe, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. He says, Chris, go run a lap. Joe, I'm sitting down, and I don't do the standing. The people in the chat do the standing. I'm not running, Joe. Okay? I love you, Joe. Maybe another time. I'm not running a lap right now. But, Joe, thank you so much for being here. Also, we need you to target the other side of the field. Slay's too good on the on that other cornerback spot. What's up there, JD Davis? Thanks for popping in the stream. Next up, we're going to bring in Giants fan again. What's up, Giants fan? Thanks for popping in the stream. Kristaps Porzingis says, but we know he's not the guy. Kristaps Porzingis, first off, you're not a Giant fan. Second off, how could you know that? How could you know that? You could say you know. People said that they knew that Eli Manning was not the guy. I remember. I lived through it. People said that they knew Bill Parcells was not the guy after 1 year when he won 3 games. People said that they knew Phil Simms wasn't the guy. You can't know that yet. I'm sorry. You cannot know that yet. I'm not telling you that it's not leaning one way or the other. He's not playing well. But you can't conclusively know that yet. What's going on, Giants fan? Thanks for popping in.
Not much.
What's up, buddy? What do you want to talk about?
Not much. I just wanted to say a few things because I know you have to go fast. But my first thing is I think the only reason that we're kind of losing games that much is you saw Eli early in his career. He was taking shots. We wouldn't have won. I don't think we wouldn't have won the Super Bowl in 2007 if he didn't throw it to David Tyree. I don't think we would have won that game, and I think many people think that, but he could have thrown it away on that play, but he took a shot to the middle of the field to David Tyree, who ended up coming down with it, and ultimately he met Plexico Burress in the end zone.
Yeah, I can't do Wales. I can't screen callers, but as far as the so what were you saying? What were you saying about Eli Manning? That he took a shot?
Yeah, he took shots. I mean, there's so much throws that we could never know what the outcome could come to with Daniel Jones. Where, yeah, as as Eli got old, he started throwing picks. He got older and he got weaker, so he couldn't ultimately in the end make the throws that he originally could make. But younger, when he was in like the middle of his career, he was making throws, and like you could see them as how the Steelers are right now, as that playoff team that you just always know they're going to make the playoffs, or like just one of those teams that you know is always going to make the playoffs back probably in 2017. In 07 to probably like 2015, where they were making the playoffs on an every year basis.
Well, that's what happens when you have a franchise quarterback. And I think a lot of people took Eli Manning for granted, and he always kept the New York Giants in the race. And when you have a franchise quarterback, that's what you have. And yeah, of course, Eli Manning fell off. He no longer was that quarterback that could put the team on his back. I said that for, in 2017, 2018, 2019, and we didn't have the team to support him. And I think you're starting to see that it wasn't really Eli Manning, that he was the main problem. I'm not saying he wasn't part of the problem, but there was a lot more to do with it than just Eli Manning. The offensive line was a complete joke. The defense was horrible. And now Daniel Jones is having to deal with those same problems, and we're getting very similar results. So, I agree with you. When you have a franchise quarterback, it gives you the best chance to win. The thing that I loved about Eli was that he was willing to take those shots. That he had the ability in his arm to take those shots down the field, and was never scared to throw interceptions when he thought there was a play there to be made. And yeah, when you take those shots, sometimes you lose games, but sometimes you win Super Bowls.
Yeah. And then like I don't know how to put this, but I feel like the Giants are gonna sneak away tomorrow. But because I see I see Jason Garrett telling Daniel Jones, honestly, this is what Daniel Jones needs to think of: is what is the worst that can happen.
So you want to see Daniel Jones take more shots in this football game, and if he throws picks, he throws picks. You want to see him unleash the arm and take more shots.
Yeah, he has an arm for a reason. We didn't take him at 6 for nothing.
Listen, I've been saying it for weeks. I want to see them take more shots down the field and see what happens. I mean, I'm with you. I think they've been way too conservative, and maybe some of that is Jones checking down. Maybe some of it's the play calling. Maybe some of it's the offensive line. But I'm with you. I think he needs to stretch out that arm. We need to take more shots down the field, and I think we'll have an opportunity this week. I don't think the Eagles have a good secondary, so we'll see. We'll see.
And then there's one thing that there's this one thing that I'm really annoyed about, that Jason Garrett is calling PAs play actions on 3rd and 15. He's like, the defense knows you're not going to run. If they see like that, you can't. It's so annoying that they do that. That it's been happening, and I know that might be like your only plays where the running back goes out for a pass, but that's where you have to add on the plays.
Yeah, he's actually played well out of the play action, but yeah, I mean, I get where you're going there. On a 3rd and long, it's kind of pointless to do a play action. I do want to see them use the running back more in the passing game. They did that early on in the game this week. They threw it to Dion Lewis, but outside of that, they haven't really utilized the running back at all in the passing game, and I'm kind of with you on that. I'd like to see them throw it more to the running back.
Yeah, and then we narrowly just won this game. Like, if they, that kick that they missed earlier in the game?
What'd you say?
The against Washington this week, the kick that they missed, they make that, they easily win this game.
You're talking about Washington wins the game?
Yeah, because they missed a kick in the first.
Yeah, but by the same token, if we don't make that silly penalty, they don't win the game either. So the Giants shot themselves in the foot in that game. They were lucky to get the win. I thought they should have won that game by double digits. If they don't have that stupid penalty and Jones doesn't throw that stupid interception in the red zone, Giants probably win that game by double digits. But yeah, you're right. It's a good point. If they make that field goal, we don't win the football game.
Yeah, and then I feel like Daniel Jones, like, he's trying to throw it away most of the time. And you might think, oh, that's kind of like dumb. But what he's trying to do is he knows he doesn't have wide receivers. And when Darius Slayton isn't open and you have your second best wide receiver and Sterling Shepard on IR, and you have Evan Ingram getting covered just like Darius Slayton on the other side of the field, there's nowhere really to throw it to. You got to throw it out of not throw it out of bounds. If someone's wide open, you throw it there, or if Caden Smith is open, because I feel like most defenses aren't looking at him. but
Yeah.
he's not going to get that perfect throw out of balance, and he's not going to get the perfect throw perfectly on target.
Yeah, I like your takes. I like your takes, Giants fan again. So give me your. I'm going to let you go in a second, but give me your score to this game this week. Do you think the New York Giants get their second straight win? Do we get the 2-5 against the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yeah, but my score prediction is I'm going to have to go 31-28.
Wow, you think the Giants post 31 points? I love it. So you got the Giants by a field. There you go. We
Yeah.
won, guys. If Giants fan again said that we won, we won. 31-28 Giants. Book it. I like it. I like it.
Yep, and like I said last time, go subscribe. It's free. Bye.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. We're going to get to Darth Liquor, one of my favorite names on YouTube. Thank you very much, man. He says, what up, chat? We're going to get a win Thursday. Well, Darth, man, thank you very much, man. Hopefully we do. I mean, we need it. We need to get 2 in a row. Hopefully we do. And, inch closer to 500. We get to 2-5. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it, man. Thanks for popping into the stream. Next up, George. You got to unmute that mic. What's up, George? Thanks for popping in. And what's up, John Church, man? Thanks for being here. What's up, Mike? Thank you for being here. Scotty H in the chat. Afghanistan, of course, always in the chat, man. One of my best. Thank you all for being here. I do appreciate it, man. And George, what's up, man?
Hey, Chris. How's it going? How are you?
What's up, George? How you doing?
I'm doing well, It's the day before a Giants game, and you gotta love when the Giants play, even though sometimes they disappoint us. It's always fun to watch the Giants.
I hear you, but it's coming in very low. I'm assuming the chat's hearing it very low as well. I don't know if you could turn it up, get closer to the mic, whatever. You're coming in low.
I'm sorry. Is this better?
So a little bit better. So go ahead. You said you're excited for the game?
Oh, of course. Whenever the Giants play, it's always very exciting, but sometimes they disappoint us. But even then, it's great to support the team, support a team that so many people love, and me and a lot of other people, are very excited for this game, and I hope we go out there and get a win tomorrow.
Listen, man, I went into this year probably like you, limited expectations. We got up to an 0-5 start, and it was nice to get a win. That's the way I look at it. It definitely wasn't a pretty win, but at least it gave us a little bit of relevancy as we approach near midseason, and now we're going up against our arch rivals, and I think it's a game we could win. As crazy as some people may think that sounds, the Eagles have not played well. They're banged up. I think they're vulnerable. I think we could get a win. I really do. We got to go out there. We got to play fundamentally sound football. And if we do, I think we can beat the Philadelphia Eagles at the link for the first time since 1842.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very long time, and it's been a long time coming. I mean, we really need to beat these rival teams. We had a very heartbreaking game last time against Dallas. Just to lose against our rivals in that fashion. Last second field goal after we were debatably the better team for most of the game. I think we played very well. And just to lose just like that to a field goal, it's terrible. But, I mean, hopefully we can right our wrongs and go out there and get a win against our arch rivals and, shut those Eagles fans up, because I know a lot of them, they love to talk, but, talk is nothing if you can't back it up with play.
What's your we got to get rid of this guy in the chat. Yeah, enough with the Jerry Sandusky stuff. You're out of here. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Talk is cheap. Back it up. And we got a game here that we can win. That's really all I can say about it. What's your biggest keys to this football game for a Giants victory? What's your biggest keys?
Well, I'd say there's about 3. First of all, offensive line. Like you said, I think you hit the nail right on the head. They've got a very good defensive line. Is Fletcher Cox going to be available?
Yes.
He's a monster. He's definitely going to be wreaking havoc against Nick Gates. Nick Gates, I think he's been all right for having. He was definitely shaky in the first couple games, but ever since, to consider he's gone up against Aaron Donald, Cameron Hayward, he's been all right for the most part. He's definitely improved, but Fletcher Cox is going to be a huge test. Yeah, offensive line, we got to hold that up. Give Jones a clean pocket throughout the whole game. Second thing, I think we got to get pass rush. This Eagles O-line is definitely depleted. We need to take our opportunity and get in there and force Wentz to make a bad decision under pressure. And I think the third thing, limit stupid mistakes, which really, it sounds a lot easier than, actually doing it. You got to admit, Jones has made bad decisions. I love Daniel Jones, but he's made some bad decisions. He fumbles a lot more often than anyone wants him to. And if we want to win that game, we can't make these stupid mistakes that if we, take our time and actually think through it, we wouldn't make these mistakes. But can I ask you something, Chris?
Go ahead, buddy.
So last year we got Julian Love, who, I think he did pretty decent. I wasn't really expecting much out of him, safety out of Notre Dame. But this year he's kind of slowed down a little bit. I haven't seen him out there that much. And with Xavier McKinney and Jabril Peppers, do you think that Julian Love has a future in this team going forward?
It's tough to say. And yeah, I think a lot of Giants fans were really optimistic about Love this year. And I remember that in the offseason. Everybody was saying, how are we going to find a way to get this guy in the field after you drafted Xavier McKinney? And a lot of people thought maybe he'd be playing some slot. Then you bring in Logan Ryan, but McKinney goes down. And he was playing a bit. And then I think he was a little bit banged up, but he didn't play at all, I think 2 weeks ago. I don't think he had any snaps. I still like Julian Love. I don't know if he's going to be a part of the future of this team. I don't know if Peppers is going to be a part of the future of this team. I'll say that as well. Peppers only has one more year left on his deal. They extended him on the rookie contract. There's no guarantees we're going to keep him after that, of course, and especially if a new GM's coming in. Peppers is going to, if he plays well next year, he's going to want Landon Collins-type money. So I don't know if the New York Giants are going to be willing to pay him that. And I think Love is kind of still a young player that is still evolving and maybe eventually steps into a full-time role for the New York Giants secondary. Maybe he doesn't. I'm kind of up in the air on him right now. I don't know yet. I do think he fits the scheme well, though. He's versatile.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that for his size, I think that he's like what, 5'11". He's kind of in the middle. He's not really that big of a guy, but he's also not on the smaller side. I think that we can keep him in this team and use him almost as like a Swiss Army knife kind of. Throw him in. I don't know if he could play these positions like linebacker. Like you look at Jabril Peppers, he can almost slide in there as a linebacker.
Oh no, definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah.
But I mean, I think if we throw him out maybe in slot corner, maybe experiment with him on the outside, although I'm not too confident about that. I think that he can kind of be in this team a little bit. I don't know if he can start over McKinney and Peppers, but I think that he might have a future in this team and at worst be a depth player.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I still like Love. I still think he'd be a part of this team. Again, like you said, I don't know if he's going to be a high impact player. I can say that about most players on this defense, though. There's a couple of players. Dexter Lawrence, I'm pretty sure is going to be a high impact player. Bradbury already knows a high impact player. Same with Martinez. Peppers, this year is definitely going to be a high impact player. We expect that with McKinney being that he's a second round pick. But there's a number of players. I like Darnay Holmes. We don't know much yet. The same can be said for guys like O'Shane Ximines, Lorenzo Carter, B.J. Hill. I think all these guys are trying to mature and get better and possibly, be a big part of a defense when this team gets good. But, yeah, I'm kind of still wait and see with Julian Love as well with a lot of players on this defense.
I have another question for you, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So, we also got in this past year's draft, we picked up Shane Lemieux out of Oregon. And I think a lot of Giants fans can agree that left guard Will Hernandez has been kind of underwhelming. He has kind of dipped.
I agree with you, but I'm also going to say I think the last couple of weeks, and I see Talking Giants is in here, by the way. He is a phenomenal YouTube channel, and he does a phenomenal job with the film breakdown of the offensive line, and maybe he would disagree with me on this. This is just based on what I've seen when I watched the game in live time. I think the last 2 or 3 weeks, I actually think Will Hernandez has been doing a much better job. I think Will Hernandez has been getting better. He was definitely a little bit sloppy early on. I think I've actually been pretty impressed with him the last 3 weeks, but I agree. Overall, he's been underwhelming. I agree with that point.
And one last thing. Some people may call me crazy about this, and I'm not, a supporter of this decision. I'm just kind of, throwing this out there, kind of get some talk going. We have been lacking a lot of creativity in the wide receiver position. We've been cut thin. Slayton and Tate, maybe Shepard are available, but overall, we've been depleted. There's been no creativity. Antonio Brown is a free agent, and I heavily doubt that the Giants are going to take him just because the guy is a psychopath. But you can't deny that when he's playing good and he's on his game, top 5 receiver. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I highly doubt that we'll pick him up again, but you got to think, if we keep having this lack of creativity that we've been having, we might, I don't think it'll be Brown, but, other free agents we might bring in. John Ross isn't a free agent. Is he a free agent or is he just?
He's a free agent next year. He's got the rookie option, but I don't think anybody's going to sign him to that. So yes, I think he'll be a free agent next year.
But I mean, what are your thoughts on the wide receiver core? Because obviously Sterling Shepard's incredibly talented, but he's only in there for a handful of games a year. Tate's been underwhelming this year, and Slayton has really been our main guy. What do you think we should do with the wide receiving core?
Antonio Brown is the most popular name that I get all the time. You know, there'll always be at least one comment in every video, regardless of what it's about. We got to bring in Antonio Brown. We got to bring. I don't see it. You know, and I know the ties to Joe Judge. The Giants right now, they're preaching culture. They're trying to start this team from scratch. He is literally the complete opposite of what you'd look to bring in. And I know he's very talented, okay? But the guy hasn't played in 2 years. The guy forced his way up not just the Steelers. He forced his way up the Bills. Remember, he was traded there for about 20 minutes. He forced his way up the Raiders. He forced his way up the Patriots. And like you said, he's a lunatic. So I don't see that being the fit. He's very talented. I do think that the New York Giants, if there's somebody out there, as thin as we are right now at that wide receiver position, I do think they should bring somebody in. I've said that now for a couple of weeks. I don't see the harm in it. You know, you bring somebody in off the scrap heap, free agent, veteran. Demaryius Thomas is a name I've thrown out there. Mohamed Sanu. There's a number of people. Antonio Brown's not the route I think the Giants will take. But I could see them bringing in somebody to be a body. Because right now, who do we really have? I mean, we're bringing up guys from the practice squad. These guys have never played.
He's injured too.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I think Shepard is hopefully going to be back this week. If not, he'll be back Monday night. But yeah, I am for bringing in a veteran wide receiver on a free agent contract, if nothing else, to help out Daniel Jones for the remainder of this year. I'm not looking to make any trades, though. We have to keep our trade assets for the future.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you, Chris. Keep up the great work, man. You've been really working hard, especially during the season. You keep a lot of people entertained. That's why they call you the entertainer. You keep people entertained, and I'm one of those, and you've been just cranking out these videos. So thanks for having me on, and hopefully we see Giants win tomorrow.
George, I want to say thank you so much, man. I always see you show me love on Twitter. I know you've been in my Discord before as well. You know, thank you for all the support you always show my channel. It was a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully we get a W, man. Hopefully you enjoy the game tomorrow night.
Of course. See ya. All
right, George. I'm going to answer a couple of super chats, and I'll answer a couple of other questions in the chat, and then we'll get back in about 5 minutes to everybody else. Blake, man, thank you very much. He says, how do you feel about Jabaal Sheard? I like the Jabaal Sheard pickup. I do. I don't think he's going to be a super impact player, but I think it was a good pickup. He's a veteran. He's got experience with Patrick Graham. He's versatile. He's played as both a 4-3 defensive end and as a 3-4 outside linebacker. I like the pickup. I mean, we're very thin there to begin with all the injuries that we've had. I see no harm in bringing him in. As a matter of fact, I talked about him preseason as being a cheap option before we brought in Marcus Golden when we found out that we were able to get him in here for $5 million. So I like the pickup. Now, he's a veteran. Why not? I mean, we're very desperate right now. And that's what I continue to say. The New York Giants have been proactive when players have gone down. I like that pickup, Blake. Again, don't expect him to be a huge impact player. Next up, man, Fix the O-line. What's going on, my man? Did you see Talking Giants film breakdown? I did. I was watching it for about a half hour. And then I had to eat dinner, and then I had to get ready for the live stream. But I did watch a good portion of it. Receivers running into each other, O-line getting beat. DJ has nothing to work with. It's scary. DJ definitely doesn't have the best situation. I'll be the first to say it. I think blame's to go around. You know, I'm not a guy that's going to fully blame the offensive line, fully blame the wide receiver, fully blame Jason Garrett. I think there's blame to go around. I think Daniel Jones is a part of that blame. But I think there is blame to go around. I think you could spread it around. And I think a lot of it, like I always say, has to do with unfamiliarity. And a team that's still learning as they go, learning the new scheme, everything else. But yeah, he doesn't have the most talented wide receivers. As a matter of fact, right now with Shepard out, you could probably argue it's one of the 3 or 4, maybe 5 worst receiving cores the league has to offer, especially with Saquon Barkley out with the injury as well. So we all know he's not in the best situation. Hopefully that offensive line continues to blossom. And like I said, maybe they bring in a veteran. Hopefully Shepard gets back sooner than later. But Fix the O-line, man, thank you very much. He definitely doesn't have a lot to work with. So let's see. I just want to make sure I get everybody here, and then we'll get to some of the questions in the chat as well. I want everybody to feel like they're involved. All right. I missed Simon's on here, so I'll just read it. Giants took out Aaron Donald. I'm not worried about Cox. You know what? Fletcher Cox is a great football player. You're right. Donald had a half a sack, but for the most part, you're right. He was silent. We'll see. You know, they definitely have a very good interior defensive line. That's the strength of this Philadelphia Eagles defensive line. And Cox has been a handful. I mean, and wow. I wish I didn't say that. That's one of those meme sayings. I'm going to pretend I didn't say that. Fletcher Cox has been tough for the New York Giants to block over the last couple of years. Make no mistake about it. And Ian, man, thank you so much, man. Stand up, new member. Welcome to the channel, man. I really do appreciate it. And we're going to get to the next super chat, and then we're going to read a couple of questions from the chat. Hold on one second. What is going on there? Johnny, man, thank you very much. He says, I think if the Giants fire Dave Gettleman, they will give Judge full control, head coach, GM. I do not, personally. I think if they go 3-13, 4-12, I can't see them doing that. I can't see them convincing the fan base. I could see them hiring in-house, though, and him still having a similar role as to what he does now, where I think he definitely has some say with the personnel decisions. So I could see that. Thank you so much, John. I really do appreciate it. And I definitely could see it in the future as well if Gettleman stays on, say, for one more year, like I said earlier at the top of the stream, and then they kind of transfer power over to him if the team is starting to have success. I know I got a couple of more I got to get to. Let me just scroll down. Okay. Let me just, I don't like to miss any of these. I think I got all of them. I got two more coming, but I think I got the rest of them. We'll talk to the chat for a couple minutes. I don't like you guys to feel like you're left out at all. I know during these call-in shows, it's hard for me to keep up with the chat. Thank you so much, man. Stand up, new member. Welcome, Frank Corona, man. Thank you so much for joining the channel. Really appreciate the support. Mohamedou, man, what's going on, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. And pretend I didn't say that thing about Fletcher Cox. Remember that, guys. And Dominic, man, what's going on, my man? He says Freeman runs for 80 to 90 yards on 18 carries. We win. Listen, like I said, I think it's going to be a challenge for Freeman to run between the tackles against this team. But, yeah, if he runs for 80 or 90 yards and you tack on an extra 40 or 50 from Jones, that means we're running the ball pretty effectively. And, yeah, I'd agree with you. I think if this team has 130, 140 yards on the ground, I think we're going to win this football game. I'm with you, as long as Jones doesn't turn the ball over at an alarming rate. But thank you so much, Dominic, man. I really appreciate it. And New York for life. What's going on, my man? Handful, huh? I knew somebody was gonna come at me for that. He says, handful, huh? Are you Rudy Giuliani? Oh, goodness gracious. New York for life. I hope you're doing well, man. Thank you so much for being such a great supporter of the channel, and hopefully we get a win tomorrow for you, my man. And we're going to pull in Nate. I love Nate. Nate's a great real quick before Nate talks, let me just get this one last one. It just popped in. Zion, man, thank you so much. He says, when it shows Cam, do I just wait? Studio is full. Zion, I don't know how it works. I know they're only able to take 10 people. If you don't get on this time, do me a favor. If you have Twitter, if you have Instagram, and I don't go on the Instagram that much, I know I saw Schlick Smith say, I saw it in the chat. I meant to tell him that I saw it, that he messaged me his email because he wanted to fit it out. I will go on there to check that. I got to get more active on Instagram, but if you have either one of those, message me, and I'll make sure I get you on before the show starts next time, Zion. But right now, it's hard to get everybody on because so many people are calling, and there's 10 people already in the waiting room. But Nate, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, Chris?
Good to talk to you, man. How you been?
Pretty good, pretty good. Before we actually get into stuff, how about that young fan?
How about the what?
How about the young fan that was just on?
Oh, he called in last week. He was great.
It's always nice to hear young kids getting into the game.
Yeah, he's passionate. He knows what he's talking about, and I like mixing it up. I like having some adults. I like having some kids. I like having some teenagers. It's fun. What's up, buddy?
Well, I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. You know, I'm always down.
Whatever I want to talk about. I want to talk about kicking the Philadelphia Eagles' ass. That's what I want to talk about, Nate.
Hey, man, if there was ever a time, it's now. This is Christmas Eve for us. Our only chance to beat the Eagles this year.
Well, not the only chance. We play them in 3 weeks.
Yeah, but let's be real. They're going to get probably Ertz back. They're going to get Goddard back. They're going to get Sanders back.
Nate, let's take it 1 week at a time. Let's take it 1 week at a time. Let's beat them this week, and then we'll see what happens the second time around. But we're due to beat them. That's what I'll say, and I hope we get a W this week. But we talk all the time in the Discord and everything else. What do you want to see from this football team, not just this week, but for the rest of the season? What is the most important things for you to see from this point forward?
That's a loaded question. I think the most important thing I'm looking for the rest of the year is I'm going to say two things. I'm going to say I want to see Jones make progress. I want to see him developing the reads. I want to see him learning the offense. I want to see him developing specifically mentally as a quarterback in the pocket. Because he has a habit of running out of clean pockets and running into sacks. Obviously can't have that. And he sometimes misses open targets because he doesn't seem to think that NFL open is the same as college open. And he's looking for guys to have 3 yards of separation. You're not going to get that. Earlier you were talking about how Eli fits balls in and stuff. Jones doesn't have Eli's arm, but if he's going to be a quarterback in the NFL for a franchise, he's got to be able to do that. That's timing stuff. That's learning the offense. That's a lot of stuff that's developmental. And the other thing is people rag on Jones for this stuff constantly. You got to understand when you draft a project like him coming out of college, it's going to take time. I think people are spoiled in the NFL these days after watching Lamar and Mahomes, these guys that come in and after 2 years they're already winning MVPs. That's not a normal track for a good quarterback to develop. That's just these guys landing in perfect situations and already being massive talents. Jones isn't that same kind of talent, and he's also not in anywhere near the same kind of situation. It's just not going to happen. So that's my Jones answer. And then the other thing I definitely want to see is this offensive line developing and gelling together. And I'll tell you what, I'm already starting to see a little bit. So people talk about how badly they want to see Penei Sewell, how badly they want to see a center, and I'd love to see those things too. Definitely be an upgrade. But I think people are looking past the fact that we have talent on this line already. We have some guys that can be NFL linemen, some guys that have upside at their positions. And I think one of the things I love that Colombo's been doing so far is moving them around, getting different guys reps, getting different guys feels at the positions, seeing who fits best where, what skill sets we can utilize. That's something that's going to really help us in the long term. I've been talking to fans. A lot of us want to see Parrott start at left tackle and Thomas start at right tackle. Just see how that works this week. It's just trying to find what the best possible combination is and how these guys are going to work best together. And I am a big Mark Colombo fan. You know that.
Yes.
I have faith that he's going to figure out how to get this done. And we all know we've seen a lot of things from Saquon Barkley. We've never seen him in his entire career run behind a good offensive line. Last year, trash. When he was in Penn State, even, it was garbage. He's never run behind. Like, I'd love to see what Saquon Barkley would do behind the Cowboys.
Even right now.
Yeah.
You know, and before Barkley went down, you even started to see it. You know, he had 29 yards, I think, on 4 carries, and that was what was so unfortunate. He was getting stuffed the first couple of games, and then he looked like he was starting to turn the corner, and then he has the injury. But that is a great point you bring up, that Barkley, since he's been here, has had nothing to run behind. And if this offensive line can morph into any semblance of a good unit, that's potential fireworks for Saquon Barkley.
I want to get your opinion on something. So I'm very much on the train of you can't start talking about a guy after one good play, but I do want your take on Tay Crowder. I want to know what your thoughts are there, because I'll tell you what I think before I ask you that question. I think Crowder has definitely shown some upside. I think my ceiling, and I hate to use that word, but I think my ceiling for him is probably to be a rotational guy in the linebacking core. He can be on certain downs and certain situational stuff. I think he can be a contributor, but I don't think he's ever going to be that solution at middle linebacker that we're looking for. I think we still very much need a guy that can run with tight ends, someone that can take the middle deep zone in Tampa 2, someone that can really fill that gap that we need, someone that can run hash to hash, a guy that has the instincts for coverage. And I just don't think that's Tay Crowder. He doesn't quite have the athletic upside, and he doesn't quite have the instincts. Instincts he can somewhat develop, but he's never going to be able to run with a guy like Ertz, even a guy like what Goddard is developing into. And I think if we're going to try and build a defense that we want to be like the Giants defenses of old, we're going to have to follow the principles of what Patrick Graham's system calls for. And as you know, and as most of the Giants fans in here know, Patrick Graham runs almost entirely man. And if you're going to run a system like that, that's that aggressive, you need 3 things: great corner play, a linebacker that can cover the middle and cover tight ends, and a really premier pass rusher to get some help for your backside guys. And we have 0 of those things. So that's why
we got one great corner.
Yeah, all right. That's the thing, though. You need 2.
Yeah.
The problem there is that fans see all this stuff, and they think we need to revamp the whole thing. We need a bunch of good players. Like you said, we've already got Bradbury. That's half of the corner problem solved. The way I see it, you can make this at bare minimum a passable, serviceable defense with 3 players. You can make this.
I think it's going to be a lot more serviceable with 3 players.
Yeah, I think you need a number 2 corner. You need a linebacker over the middle. You need the pass rusher. I think you and I are both huge Bud Dupree guys.
Love
we can get him in free agency. The Steelers aren't going to pick him up. And then you can take care of the other 2 in the draft. Because I've said this to you many times. I think the best possible thing we can do is trade down this year. There's so much value to be had. There's teams that need quarterbacks desperately. And a guy like Justin Fields is going to come into the draft way overhyped, and we're in a great position to take advantage of that. So I think if we can trade back, and this is just one of many possibilities here, that's the great thing about the draft. There's so much talent this year. It's so deep. You could trade back from the 3 to the 5, and then get a couple of seconds on top of that. And then you can take someone like Jamar Chase to help out the offense at the 5, and then grab Nick Bolton and say J.C. Horn.
Yep, that's the guy you love.
Your linebacker problem, and that solves your corner problem right there. Then you pick up Bud Dupree. He's going to take care of that on that side of the ball. Then the big thing that Giants fans are worried about is the contract for Leo. You can just let him walk and pick up a guy like Aiden Hutchinson in the 3rd round. There's so many deep edges in this draft.
Trade him. Trade him. If there's a deal there, trade him.
If there is, we'll see about that.
If there is, but there might not be. I agree with you on that. You hit on so many good points there. I mean, I could listen to you talk for hours. You're so well spoken. You're definitely a very educated football fan. Always love talking to you about the sport. As far as the Daniel Jones goes, I completely agree with you. He's got to mature. I don't think he has Eli's arm strength, but I do think he can learn to throw guys open, which is basically what you were saying. And he's got to get a little bit better at that. And I hope and think that he could. The offensive line, I agree with you. You look around this offensive line right now, I think Will Hernandez is progressively getting better this year. And I think it's all about sustainability. It's learning how to the one thing that Will Hernandez and everybody else in this line, since he's come to this team, it's just been constant turnover. These guys have not had any continuity. You have to keep this unit intact. You have to bring the majority of these guys back next year. Maybe you change the center, but outside of that, I think you leave the tackles as is. You leave the guards as is. You give them another year to develop with each other and build and get better. Maybe you bring Lemieux in there to replace Zeitler if you trade him or you cut him to save yourself $10 million. But I think Hernandez has improved. I think this offensive line is nearly complete, but you know as well as I do, you never stop with that offensive line. You continue to draft it for depth, whether it's the 3rd round, the 4th round. You need to continue to have strength at that position. And if this offensive line improves, I am completely with you on Saquon Barkley. If Barkley could come back 100%, it would be the best offensive line he's had in his entire career, and that is a scary thought. And I think Freeman, I would like to bring Freeman back. I don't know what your take is on that. If it's a 1-year deal, I think he's a perfect complement to Saquon Barkley.
Well, I agree with just about everything you've said. And I think one of the things people forget here is that this is a young team. On average, this is, I think, top 3 in the league, average age in youth. So this is raw talent. These are guys that are just getting started. We need, I think, one of the reasons I'm so high on Bud Dupree is that I think he brings a veteran presence that we're going to need on defense. I think in terms of free agents, that's going to be something we look for. And if we don't want to pick up a corner in the draft, and to be honest, I kind of get that considering our history with them in the past few years. If we weren't, I've told you before, I'd be big on Patrick Peterson on a couple of years, just maybe 3 years for a deal. I think he's got that many good years of football left in him, and he brings that veteran presence I'm talking about to the secondary. I think the big thing we have to do now is we're on the upswing of this rebuild. We just have to stay the course and not screw it up. There's just these last finishing touches that you need to make. I've said it to you before, and I've said it to a lot of people that are in this stream before. We're 6 players away. It just looks like we're 10 players away because they're at very important positions. You just need possibly the center. Gates has looked pretty good so far, but probably the center. You need the number 1 wide receiver. You need Barkley back, so that's a guy you already have. And then you need the 3 defensive players I've said before. Once you have that, you already have a serviceable offense and a serviceable defense, and then you're at just a position to coast and let everything develop and become better over time.
Yeah, and then it comes down to coaching and putting your players in the best situation to succeed. But I agree with you. I think Bud Dupree, and you brought him up several times, I think he's a perfect fit for this defense, and I think he's going to be a free agent. You watch that guy play, he's like Troy Polamalu, and he's a little bit bigger. The guy you could play him all over the football field. I love Bud Dupree. I would love to bring him in with the New York Giants. I think he's a perfect fit for this scheme. The one thing I worry about is Patrick Graham. Does he get a head coaching opportunity with how good this New York Giants defense has played so far and how much they've exceeded expectations? I hope not. I want Patrick Graham to stay here. I think he's done a phenomenal job.
You're exaggerating just a little bit.
Well, I'm saying, and I'm not saying the Giants are phenomenal, but I'm saying based off what expectations should have been, I think they far exceeded it.
Yeah, maybe. And in terms of the Bud Dupree thing, I know I talked about him a lot, but one of the things that's going to really help us out is the fact that the Steelers have so much invested in that defense. They are not going to have the money to make a competitive offer on him. And the other thing is he's and I know this is a crazy thing to say for a player of his caliber, but he's kind of going a little underappreciated, given the fact that he's on a defense with TJ Watt, and he's on a defense with big names like Minkah Fitzpatrick and all those guys. You kind of get the sense that he's a little bit underrated, just a little. He's still a fantastic player. I'm just saying all that stuff helps us out when we're trying to go and sign him. And obviously, that's not the be-all and end-all of this offseason. There's a lot of great ways to get pressure. You talked about it a lot during the offseason that you thought we'd scheme pressure. And I'm not super into that. I think you need a premier pass rusher at some point. But like I said, there's so much depth in this draft on the edge. There's only the one real premier edge rusher in Rousseau. But once you look past him, you look at the early second round, the late third, the early fourth. There's so much depth here. And more specifically, so many freak athletes in this draft. You look at, like I said, Aiden Hutchinson. You look at Kwity Paye. There's so much athleticism to be had here. Guys that can really dip around the corner on the edge. So if you're trying to get all these different combinations and possibilities for filling these holes on the team, there's a lot of creativity to be had here. And that's what gets into my thing about Dave Gettleman. I think he's done well to get the foundation in place here. I don't know if he's the guy to be creative enough to do this for us, to finish it off. So we'll see. We'll see if he even has his job. But the thing I'm most afraid of more than anything is a new GM coming in and blowing it all up, because there's a lot of progress made here. I
agree with you. I that scares me too, because I don't want to start from scratch, and I've talked about that numerous times. Nate, I'm going to let you go because I got a lot of people waiting.
Yep,
but I had a blast talking to you. Thank you
too
for
much
all the
already.
support on the channel. And real quick, I need your score prediction for tomorrow's game.
Oh, all right. I think it's going to be a low-scoring slugfest. I'm going to say, we'll say 21-17 Giants.
I love it. I got 23-20. Nate, man, thanks so much for coming on, man, and we'll talk soon, buddy.
Thanks for having me. Good night.
All right, my man. And that was Nate. Great job on the line there. I'm going to get to a couple of super chats, and we're going to bring Hunter on. Or actually, Kalen's next, then Hunter. Darth Licker, man, thank you so much. He says, have you noticed the New York Giants haven't blitzed at all? I think the New York Giants have blitzed more in recent weeks. At the beginning, they weren't blitzing at all. I'd have to look at the numbers. They were only blitzing 11% of the time through the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. I think they've started to pick it up some. I was actually watching Bobby do the film breakdown before I did this, and it seemed like they were blitzing fairly regularly, maybe not as often as we would like, but I think they're starting to slowly pick it up. I think the biggest reason why they haven't blitzed as much as we expected them to was because they're so weak at that second cornerback spot. Maybe if Ryan Lewis continues to play better, you'll start to see them be even more aggressive. And Jay, man, thank you very much. He says, this coming from a Steelers fan, Bud Dupree might be a little overrated due to TJ Watt. Before TJ Watt, he was considered a bust, just saying. Well, of course, whenever you have a great pass rusher on the other side, it's definitely going to get more out of him. I like Jay, I don't watch the Steelers every week. I saw the Steelers when you played us. I've seen you when you play, on prime time. Whenever I watch Dupree play, he impresses me. Now, I'm not saying, he may not be, he's not on the level of Watt. Watt's ridiculous. But I do think Bud Dupree would fit this scheme very well. But Jay, man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And we're going to bring Kalen on the show. What's up, Kalen?
Hey, man. What's going on?
What's going on, buddy? What are you drinking?
I'm pouring myself a glass of bleach just in case I need it after tomorrow night. But
what's up, buddy?
Yeah, hopefully. So first of all, how about Nate, man? He knows his defensive schemes.
Yeah, Nate's. I've been talking to Nate on my Discord for a long time. He's a very passionate football fan, great guy, and I was glad he got to talk, man. What do you think about the game tomorrow night?
I mean, the Eagles, this is our Super Bowl, basically. I mean, we haven't beaten the Eagles since 2016, so it's big game. I'm excited. I actually think we have a good chance of winning. I think Joe Judge, especially, he's shown that he can make in-game adjustments, unlike Pat Shurmur. I think if he made any adjustments in particularly the game that Eli started last year, I think there's a very good chance we win that game. And but I think it's going to come down to the play of Daniel Jones. One thing, I'm a more casual fan, but I think that one thing you can observe is when he drops back and he, like, in the NFL, when you hit your back foot on certain throws, you've got to just let it go, because windows are going to be smaller in the NFL. You got to hit them. He'll drop back and he'll either pump it and then sort of either stare down or try to scramble. And then when time runs out, he'll just try to force it into a window anyway. I think he's got to.
He's got to let it rip.
Yeah, he's got to let it rip, and because that'll result in turnovers or bad incompletions that'll leave you with bad situations to try and get yourself out of. So
I mean that kind of goes back to what Nate was saying. Like he's got to throw guys open, and I mean a lot of that has to do with confidence, and I see that sometimes too. The other thing I noticed from Jones sometimes he stares down the receiver. You know, a lot of times he'll look at his first read. You know, great quarterbacks and guys that are experienced, they know obviously you look off your wide receiver. You scan the field. You don't want your DBs to be able to read your eyes. A lot of times Jones will look one way, and that's where he's going, and the DBs see it. So he's got to get better at that as well, and hopefully that comes with time.
Exactly. I actually want to ask you about another team as well. So I'm a freshman in college right now, and I've got a roommate that's a dire Giants fan like myself, but his brothers actually converted to Buffalo Bills fans because of the way the team treated Eli.
Oh, no.
I know. It's sacrilege. I mean, I've been a fan since 2011. My first game was the Super Bowl, and I've had to endure, all of us have had to endure watching defenses with more holes than SpongeBob. We've had to watch bad situations and stuff, and we've been here through all of it, and his brother, he gets on them as well. But I wanted to ask you about Josh Allen because his first 4 games, you know, it looked like he took a major step forward. But then he plays the Titans and then he plays the Chiefs on, you know, nationally televised games, and he looks like the old Josh Allen. So do you think he's actually taken the step forward, or do you think the 4 previous games were anomalies?
Well, so I didn't get to watch the whole Patriots game. I saw bits of it. I don't remember what his final stat lines were in that. I called the Titans game, and he looked really bad in that game. And I'm a fan of Josh Allen. You know, I'm not shy about it. I made a video going into the year that I thought he was going to be the breakout quarterback this year of guys that were not thought to be near the upper echelon. In the first 4 games, I looked like a genius. That game against the Titans, not so much. The Patriots game, I don't remember it being too bad, but he wasn't great. But listen, they added Stephon Diggs. That certainly helped. I thought the Bills built that team beautifully. They spent so much in free agency. They shored up that offensive line. But when I watched Josh Allen play, and from when I've watched him from the start, the biggest question with him was accuracy. Always was. And you're starting to see that improve in a big way. You know, his first year was like 55%. He was 70%. I don't know what his stats are right now. In terms of pure physical, raw tools, God-given ability, very few quarterbacks have what he has. He's tall. He's strong. He throws probably the deepest ball in the entire league. He's athletic. He could run. There's a lot about Josh Allen to like. But he's got to mature a little bit. There's no doubt about it. He's still not. He's still definitely not where you could say he's on the level of some of these elite quarterbacks. But I think he has the potential to be. And I think there's very few quarterbacks that have the potential to be elite quarterbacks. I think he's one of them because of his upside.
Exactly. I felt the same way. And that was kind of one of my problems when we drafted Jones is I didn't have the reaction that you or Bad Dog had. That's how I actually found your channels. And I wanted to see if you were those psycho fans, but you guys are actually pretty sane most of the time. But there was when I watched, like I didn't watch any Duke football, but there was nothing that really like stood out as like I feel like if you're drafted like that high in the draft, there has to be like something that's like transcendent that makes you stand out. And I just didn't think that anything really stood out as opposed to like other things.
I agree with you. I mean, that's why I don't think anybody was in love with the pick when we made it. He didn't have this unbelievable arm. He wasn't this flashy quarterback. He was, so I agree with you. He's a guy he's like Ryan Tannehill, in my opinion. I hope he turns out better than that. But Ryan Tannehill could win. Right now, has 13 touchdowns, 2 picks. He has a 113 QB rating. Ryan Tannehill is not always Ryan Tannehill now. But I do see a lot of similarities, and that was a guy that a lot of people compared him to when he was drafted. And I see it. He's athletic, kind of like Tannehill. He's tall. Doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. I could see similarities, and I think if the Giants build the team the proper way, he can win football games. I'm going to continue to say that. The question is, can they do it?
Exactly. And I'm going to ask one last thing because I know there's other people in here. But that leads me to all right, so the tank for Trevor stuff. I'm not really,
just stop there. I don't want that.
I'm not on that.
Yeah.
But there's been some talks of if the Jets end up with the first pick and it's looking like a very likely scenario, should he pull an Eli and say, I'm not playing with the Jets?
as far as Trevor Lawrence goes, if I was Trevor Lawrence and I was his agent and the Jets had the first pick, I'm being honest with you. I would say one of two things. I would say stay in school another year, or I would say that you're not going to the Jets, because why in the world, let's look at what the Jets did with Sam Darnold. Why in the world, if you have all the power that Trevor Lawrence has, would you want to go to the New York Jets? This is a guy that's supposed to be the best quarterback prospect in a decade, or damn near close. Why would you willingly go to the New York Jets after seeing what they did to Sam Darnold? They quit on this guy after 2 years, and they provided him with absolutely nothing. So what does that say to me if I'm Trevor Lawrence? Well, if they give me the same thing Sam Darnold they gave him, I'm probably not going to be super successful either. And you know what I'm saying? So if I'm him, I'm not going there. I think the Jets handled the Sam Darnold situation horribly. And if I had the power of Trevor Lawrence, I would not willingly go to the New York Jets.
Exactly. I feel the same way. The one thing I would probably worry him on is, making a statement like that. If you don't have success in your career somewhere else, you're going to have a whole city after you. And it's not like San Diego like it was for Eli. This is New York City. So he'll have that pressure. But I think he'll be good enough somewhere else to
I think he's gonna be a Jet. I do think he's gonna be a Jet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna let you go, buddy. I got a lot of people waiting. I'm trying to get as many people as I can because it's getting late. But thank you for calling him, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Everyone, subscribe to him. Legit.
I appreciate that, Kalen. Thank you very much.
Super chat.
And Bleach Clark says this dude needs me. So there you go, Kalen. Hopefully you don't need it. Hopefully we get a win tomorrow and you're drinking beer or whatever. But have a good one, buddy.
You too.
All right, my man. All right, my man. And I see we've got, you know what? I've been waiting for a while to get an opportunity to talk to Roldy. I see he's on the line. Then we're gonna get to Hunter. Roldy, been one of my best subscribers for a long time. He's been saying he wanted to come on the show to talk. Well, now we're talking. What's up, Roldy?
What up, Chris? What's going on? You hear me?
I hear you loud and clear, man. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Long Island, stand up, Suffolk County. I know you in Nassau, right?
Nassau. I've lived in Suffolk too, though. I've been all over the island.
All right, so you know where the real county is at then, that's Suffolk County. So what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Just getting ready for the game tomorrow. Excited to be talking Giants football.
Listen, the thing is, I know a lot of fans are saying, like, including you, saying that we don't have the offensive line, we don't have the weapons. I mean, last year, a lot of fans were saying, like, wow, I think Darius Slayton has a chance to become the number one wide receiver. Even going into the season, a lot of fans weren't saying that we don't have the weapons. So now that Jones is struggling, now that's the new excuse is, all right, you know what? He doesn't really have the weapon. He doesn't really have the offensive line. And again, it's really a lot of teams are going through, issues with offensive line. My situation here right now with Daniel Jones, it's his pocket awareness and his decision making. These are things that are very critical to be a franchise quarterback. And I don't see that. If the hour was going up and Daniel Jones is improving every week, which he's not, and we're losing game, fans like myself would feel a lot better. Right now, you got to understand how fans like myself aren't feeling better. Number one, the team, I don't feel like we have a good roster. Number two, Daniel Jones is just, I don't know, man. I'm at a point where, and again, when he came out of college, I liked the kid. I said, you know what? I'm going to give this kid a chance. But the turnovers started to come up. And I said, all right, you know what? He's still a rookie. Then going into this season, his decision-making, Chris, is bad. And that's very alarming. And that's very concerning if you want this kid to be a franchise quarterback. You understand what I'm saying?
Listen. I understand everything you're saying. And I completely understand where I think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to conclusively say that there's no chance he could be the guy. I think it's fair to have doubts. And
well, that's what I'm saying. I have doubts right now. I have major
I think that's fair.
doubts,
I think it's fair to have doubts because
and like I said, fans like myself, with the losing, had we seen improvement from Daniel Jones, and we on top of us losing, fans like myself would not be like stressed out or and shit like that. We would be like, all right, you know what? At least we got the franchise quarterback. I know this kid is going to be doing good because that's the the most important position on a football team. And right now, I don't see it. Now going into again. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
No, I agree with you. I think right now he doesn't look like a franchise quarterback, and Again, I don't need to go over the reasons that I always talk about as to why he definitely has a lot of challenges. I think he shows spurts, but you're absolutely right about the consistency thing. He hasn't had consistency yet. A lot of young quarterbacks don't show consistency at this point in their careers, though. That's what I'll say, and it's why I'm not going to come on here and say there's no chance he could be the guy there. We have to take a quarterback. I personally need to see more before I can make that decision.
I get that though, Chris, but pocket awareness is very important. I mean, quarterbacks usually have that right off the rip. You know what I mean? Pocket awareness, and Jones does not have that. I mean, you can say what you want with the offensive line here and there. Yes, that it's not a good offensive line. I've seen a lot of tape reviews, post-game tape reviews from Mike, and I'm seeing pockets where Daniel Jones has a pretty decent pocket where he has an opportunity to make a right play, and he doesn't do that. He's either getting sacked or he misses the open wide receiver. Those are the things that's very concerning. Now, going on to the defensive side of the ball, I'm encouraged with this defense. Not saying it's a top 5 defense, but I'm encouraged with this defense. Didn't think this defense, was going to do what it's doing right now, and I'm very impressed with Bradbury. So I'm being positive. For those of you fans think that I'm not positive, I'm being positive right now.
There's not to be positive about the defense.
You know what I'm saying?
I think they're much better than anybody should have thought.
Right. But now here's the thing, though. We got to start fixing that third down defense. We have to do that because we still haven't been able to get off the field on third down.
And you know how we're going to fix that, Roldy?
Problem.
You know we're going to fix that? Pass rusher. We need to get an edge rusher in the offseason.
All right, no doubt. But that's something that's been plaguing us for years, and it seems like it's the same thing that's going on. Yeah. For those of you who feels like we ain't got no weapons in its offensive line, you know who you can blame that to? Dave Gettleman, your boy, Chris. That's your boy.
People say he's my boy. And I guess
you
love
that dude.
Well, I'm the only guy who sticks up for him. It's not like I want to marry the guy. It's not like I think everything the guy does is unbelievable. But I personally feel like I want to give him an opportunity. I feel like he does get picked on a little bit more than he should. But at this point, I'm kind of to the point where I'm like, I get it now. It's been 3 years.
You know why he gets picked on? Number one, the dude is from Boston. We New Yorkers, man. We don't like Boston Cats. That's number one with his talking. That's number one. We don't like that. Number two, his smart remarks during press conferences, making fun of analytics and shit like that when he picked Barkley, doing that stupidness. People look at that. You're like, this guy's a fool. You in a modern day football right now, and you could saying that the computer guys are not that important. Fans they look at that and they're like, yo, this guy's a clown. He's a clown. And when he came in, all the expectation, including yourself, was like saying, all right, he's gonna fix the offensive line. Did he fix the offensive line? The first thing I thought he would have done was fix that offensive line day one. And he hasn't done that. You could say, yeah, he signed Soldier, but he's supposed to be that talent hog molly guy. He should have found that right guy that would be serviceable, that would be good on that offensive line. He didn't do that. And
Really?
most of his drafts
I agree with you.
yet to be determined. His draft picks are not that. I don't see. I mean, BJ Hill. I mean, we haven't heard anything from him. You know what I'm saying? McIntosh. These type of guys. Is yet to be I'm not even going to say yet to be determined. I don't see any improvement in none of those guys at all. So I know you're worried about if Dave Gettleman gets fired because you want continuity and all of that stuff. I understand that point. But at the same time, you can't be doing the same thing over and over just because you feel like it's comfortable to have continuity. If we keep on losing, if the roster's not improving, forget about the losing, because I know we're rebuilding scratch.
Listen.
It's about the player development, and I don't see no player development with none of these guys.
I was for firing Gettleman. Maybe people don't believe that. I was for firing Gettleman when they fired Sherman because I knew if they were bringing a new head coach, I wanted a GM on the same timeline. Once you brought Judge in,
I was with you on that.
Yeah, once they brought Judge in, I said to myself, in an ideal world now, I want Gettleman to stay on for a few more years because I want Judge to get a fair opportunity. But listen, I get your point about the offensive line. When he came in here, that was his mission statement. That's what got me excited because as a fan, I've watched this team for 10 years, the last 10 years rather. I've been watching for more than 10 years, but the last 10 years, and the offensive line has been dreadful. We've been probably over that 10-year span, there has been collectively a worse offensive line in football. And that was his mission statement. Now, the one thing I will say, maybe I'm thinking optimistically. I think this offensive line is starting to show signs of growth. But if this offensive line is not at least league average by season's end, he completely failed there. He had 3 years to improve it. If this offensive line doesn't get much better over the second half of this season, he completely failed there. And at the end of the day, everybody knows when Dave Gettleman drafted Daniel Jones, he put his job on the line. And if Daniel Jones does not work out, everybody knows Dave Gettleman is going to be fired. So if Daniel Jones does not improve dramatically over the next 10 games and the team only wins 3 or 4 contests, more than likely we're going to have a new GM. I've accepted that, and I realize that that's probably what will happen unless we win 6 games, maybe compete for the playoffs, and then maybe he gets another year and we keep it together for one more year. But if we win 4 games, Dave Gettleman's going to be replaced.
Yeah, I got a few more statements, and I'm gonna get off the line real quick because I know you got people. But again, you draft, Andrew Thomas, 4th overall pick, not a guy got benched. And again, I know he has no decision on that, but he's the guy that picked the guy. You know what I mean? And I know offensive tackle, they take a while to develop. I understand that, but it still don't look good for you to be benching a guy that you picked overall. Overall, when you had Wirtz, which is doing good, when you got Mekhi Becton, which, including myself, I was nervous about him, but I know he didn't play last weekend, but he's been doing fairly well. The guy Wills in the Browns organization has been doing well. So again, for you pick the first, you have the first pick of the litter of offensive tackle. He's been struggling, and now he's benched. It doesn't look good on Dave Gettleman at all. And I know you're afraid of the changes and everything like that. If we get a new GM, my main thing is bringing in a new voice into this organization. We've been stuck in the 90s. We've been stuck. Hey, we probably got still scouts that was working for the Giants in the 90s till now. We need new voices. It's the truth.
No. I get your mindset, and I think that's why a lot of fans were excited when we brought in Judge, because it wasn't what we normally do. It wasn't status quo. Look, it showed that they were willing to make changes.
Right. No, I get that, but you know what? It has to start from everything. And I'm not blaming the Gettleman on everything. It starts from John Mara. John Mara has to start to make a decision, and that's why I need somebody new and fresh to come into this organization. If he has to, demote his brother Chris Mara from VP of Personnel, so be it. Because we need some fresh blood in this organization. That's why I'm eager, and I'm looking forward to Steve Titch picking up his balls from the ground and picking them back up and say, I'm 50-50 on this shit, man. You've been doing it, and I haven't said anything. Now it's my turn. You know what I mean? So I need some changes on this organization, from the scouting department, from Chris Mara to Dave Gettleman. And if that GM comes in and says, listen, and I like Judge, we still got to give the guy time. But from what I'm seeing, the players are playing hard for him. I like that. What I'm seeing. But if that new GM comes in, we can't be scared and say, I don't want to get away from Judge. Again, we see a potential of Judge being good, but we don't know if he's going to be good. So you can't be scared to say, okay, if the new GM comes in, I don't want to make a change. You understand what I'm saying? So
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. And if we bring in a new GM, you have to give him full say. You have to. You got to. That's what happens when you bring in a new GM. Otherwise, you're not going to get the guy. I personally don't like the quick coaching change because, like you, I like Joe Judge, but it is what it is. If it happens, it happens. I personally am not in favor of that. I don't want to see constant turnover. This team just got used to this coach. They're fighting for this coach, and that's what I worry about. It's why I think it was a mistake to keep Gettleman in the first place when you kept – and it had nothing to do with Gettleman's performance. I was a guy that was trying to speak up for Gettleman. I thought Gettleman was doing an okay job. I'm not going to say great job, an okay job in a really bad situation. But I was for a complete change because I wanted to start from scratch. Because now, if you do move on from after 1 year, you're in this sticky situation. Because in that situation, Judge only has 3 or 4 wins, albeit with a really bad football team, a rebuilding football team. So it should have been expected. But then you're going to bring in a new GM, and he's going to say, "Well, why do I have to have ties to a guy that's 39 years old that has 3 wins to his name?" So it's a bad situation, in my opinion, but to be in if you're a New York Giants fan. I think they should have started from scratch when they decided to bring in the new head coach, or they should hope, if things work out, Gettleman should get another year, but it may not. If they win 3 or 4 games, I understand why they'd make the move.
Right. No, I hear you. I just want what's best for the Giants, not just for now, but for the future. And I know I'll be in the chat, and I know a lot of people think that I'm negative. I'm looking at things from perspective of the future also. It's not just for now. I know right now we're in a rebuilding mode. I just want the rebuilding mode to be. You could say, yeah, you're in a rebuilding mode, But if it's not the right rebuilding mode, what's the whole point? You're still behind the 8 ball. You know what I mean? You got to rebuild the right way. And in my opinion, like I said, Dave Gettleman is not the guy to rebuild this team. You know what I mean? If it's his last year, and I hope and I pray to God it is his last year, new GM comes in, and whether it be Ed Dobbs, I hope the Giants really do a good search or interview, because when we fired Jerry Reese, John Mara and the Giants organization really didn't do their due diligence and really interview GM candidates. They just went with what they know, what they felt comfortable. Sometimes, in order for you to succeed in life, you gotta go with something that's uncomfortable. That's how you succeed in life. If you keep on going with the things that you're comfortable with, you're gonna stay status quo, and no changes are gonna happen. Appreciate you taking my call, Chris. You're the man. Even though we don't agree. I don't agree with you a lot of times. You know, I told you, you're a fandom fan. You're a fandom fan. You don't like to look at the reality of things. You just go with your heart. It's cool, but sometimes you still got to put your heart aside and say, "Yo, I'm looking at reality right now." Appreciate you.
You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine. I appreciate you calling in, and I look forward to talking to you in the future, buddy.
All right, bro.
All right, my man. Have a good one. That was Roldy. I'm going to get to MYG31. He says, Entertainer, let's get this win tomorrow. I'm hoping, I'm praying we get a W tomorrow. New York Giants certainly need it. We got to get 2 in a row. We got to get to 2-5, and we'll see where we go from there. We'll be right in the division race if we're able to do it. And let me get Tim's real quick. He says, Daniel Jones is our franchise quarterback. Half of these fans saying thank for Trevor are the same fans that wanted Haskins over DJ and Louis Riddick as our GM. Right now, Daniel Jones is our quarterback until proven otherwise. I'm backing him. I'm going to give him every opportunity that I think he deserves. And right now, I don't think he's near the end of his leash. I think we need to give him a lot more time than we have. Let's see him over the next 10 games, and then we'll see where we're at. We're not tanking for Trevor. We're not getting the first pick. We need to forget about that. We're not getting the first pick. I knew we weren't getting the first pick 2 weeks ago. Let's hope that Daniel Jones gets better, and we can start to build this football team. But thank you very much. And we got Hunter on the line. Hunter's been waiting for a while, and I think Hunter's looking. What's going on, Hunter? How you doing, buddy?
Good. Just ready to win Thursday, hopefully.
Yeah, thanks for popping on the chat. What are you, a Cubs fan? I see Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, I live in Chicago, yeah.
Oh, how'd you become a Giants fan in Chicago?
I just always was. I just didn't like the Bears when I was younger. My dad's a big Bears fan, so we have a little clash.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for coming on the channel, man. What do you want to talk about?
The game, and then I was thinking more into like the draft next year, a little of that, because I was watching some film on some guys that we could potentially. Because I think we're going to win some more games than people think we're going to win.
What do you think? How many wins do you think we're going to get?
I say we could get 5 to 6. I really do.
If we get 5 or 6, you think Gettleman stays on?
I do think so.
And so okay. So let's say we get 5 or 6. First off, let's talk about this game. What do you think needs to happen in this game for the New York Giants to win?
We need to win the turnover battle. And then we need to put pressure on him, and then Jones just needs to be smart with the ball. If it's not there, throw it away.
So you think as long as we win the turnover battle, there's no reason we shouldn't win this game? I kind of tend to agree with you. I think right now, New York Giants should be able to beat this team with the way that they're banged up.
I think if either tight ends are gone, I think no way we should lose unless Jones just goes and gives them the ball.
That's the thing. I think if the New York Giants play fundamentally sound, which we don't do a lot with Daniel Jones, if we're being honest, but if we play fundamentally sound, I think the Giants should win this football game with all the injuries to the Eagles. Their offensive line's completely banged up. Question is, can he do it? But I'm with you. I think if we win the turnover battle, we don't beat ourselves, I think we can get out of Philadelphia with a win.
I hope he can do it. I really want him to succeed as our quarterback.
You and me both, man. You and me both. I feel like Daniel Jones at this point in time. Here's my take on Jones, man. If you've been watching my channel, you know I didn't want him when we drafted him. And then I think fans got behind him. He was an underdog story. And I think fans pumped him up more than they should have.
I did that too to people at like my school and stuff and around here because they're all
I tried to stay, reserved. I was like, I think he's pretty good. I'm seeing things because I knew if people started pumping him up to be the next Peyton Manning, this would happen. If he struggled in his second year, which once they changed offensive coordinators, I said to myself, he's probably going to start off slow. And now this is what's happened. People have built up in their head that this guy's going to be this unbelievable quarterback, and now they're seeing inevitable regression when you make this change and you have this shortened off season, and now everybody's jumping off the bandwagon. So I'm still of the mindset of I got to see a lot more from Daniel Jones before I could personally come to a conclusion. And I'm hoping he's the guy. I'm rooting for him because I think fans are giving up on him way too soon.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you guys that are listening that he's the guy. I don't know yet. But I'm telling you right now, there's no way that you can know yet either, at least in my opinion. But let's jump into the draft. You had some questions about the draft. Go ahead.
So, like, along with like what the Nate was saying, the Patrick Graham defense is a lot of man-to-man. And I know a lot about that because I'm a Michigan fan, so I know my dad went there. So, like, their coordinator, Don Brown, runs man-to-man almost every play, and it just shows you need that another cornerback besides Bradbury. So I say if we fall into maybe like later, that's the guy from Alabama, Sutton. He could be very good to help us if we.
I'll tell you what, man. I've said that now for, I don't know, about a month, that I could see the New York Giants drafting a first-round corner. We're picking in the right spot because what you just said, this defense desperately needs strong corner play. You have to be able to blitz, and I think it all depends on where we're picking in the draft.
Yeah.
Like if we're picking 9, 10, 11, maybe you start thinking about taking a corner there. Giants fans don't want to hear that because we always struggle when we take a corner. We've never drafted a good first-round corner in forever. But I agree with you. I think it's a primary need for this team right now. Right now, outside of Bradbury, we really have nobody that we could rely on at that position. I think a corner, an edge, and a coverage linebacker. I think those are the three positions you're looking at if you're drafting defense in the first round. And I think they need to try to fill in one of those three needs probably in free agency.
Yeah, that's why. Well, I wish DeAndre Baker didn't get arrested because he loves the man-to-man, and the old coordinator Betcher just didn't really do that. He put him in a lot of zone coverage.
He would have fit this scheme so much better. And it really is a shame because I talked about Baker the entire offseason. I thought he'd be the X factor to this defense. I thought he would improve if he kept his head on straight, and obviously he didn't. So, now we move on, and I agree with you. Either we have to sign a corner, or I think we're going to have to draft one, if not in the first, relatively early in this year's draft.
And I'm kind of glad we didn't pay Marcus Golden that much money. He really is not doing much this year.
He's not really getting much of an opportunity, but I never was a fan of bringing Golden back for what the projected price would have been because I thought he was more of a guy that fit Betcher's scheme. I don't really feel like he's a guy that fits this scheme very well. To me, he's not really good against the run. He's not very versatile. He's pretty much strictly a 3-4 edge rusher. I think he's a decent player, but I just don't think he really fits the scheme that well.
If we're around that like 7 to 15 range in picks, I know Jalen Mayfield could be a good tackle because we're not obviously if we're that late, we're probably not going to get the Oregon guy.
We could take a lot of that's going to depend on Parrott and Tom. Yeah. Well, we're obviously not giving up on Thomas yet, but a lot of that's going to depend on Parrott and seeing if he's the real deal. So far, so good. Looks good. But yeah, it's going to come down to if they have like a lot of confidence in Parrott. If they don't, there's a chance they could take a tackle early in this year's draft again. They have to fix that offensive line.
Did you see what I don't know if you caught what Skip Bayless said about his tweet during the Cowboys game?
He said the Giants are going to win the East.
Yeah,
I don't buy into that. I mean, no. I hope we do, but Skip Bayless is always wrong, so I'm not going to get excited about that. As a matter of fact, I got pissed when he tweeted it.
Yeah. Well, at least it's like nice that it's on TV, so I don't got to go out to watch it because we don't have it here. Obviously, we don't have the games.
Oh, you don't have? Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, because you're not. Tomorrow it's on NFL Network. So yeah. So you don't. That's true. You don't get to watch the Giants that often. So you have to watch the
every game. I go out to like a restaurant that has like the TVs, so we just watch it there.
Oh, okay. My
dad will watch the Bears on one TV, and then I'll watch them on the other. I'll have him put it on.
I'll tell you what. You probably wish that you were a Bears fan this year. They're playing really well.
Yeah, I know. Their fans are just a little. I don't know. I don't like their fans are delusional.
Yeah. Well, what are they saying?
They all thought before, obviously, Foles went in that Trubisky was going to have an MVP season, and I was just like, oh, boy.
Well, I think it's time to move on from Trubisky. Foles is playing pretty well. They made the change real quick. But anything else, man, before I let you go?
I was actually a cool story real quick. Go
ahead.
I was at the game last year. And let me see. Hold on. Let me pull it up on my phone, the picture that I have. I actually got to meet Barkley.
Really?
And he signed my jersey, and then I was on their Instagram when he was signing it. So that was my first Giants game, so that was pretty cool.
That's pretty sick. You got to meet Barkley?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man. Well, you're looking at that. I'm just going to read Anthony's super chat. He says, Tana, the key to this game is that – there you go. You got it right there.
See if it –
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah. You got Barkley there signing your jersey. Oh, so you were sitting front row, or was that before the game?
That was before the game.
That's pretty sick, man. That's awesome. Hopefully Barkley comes back. I know everybody loves Saquon.
Yeah,
Hopefully he comes back and he's 100%.
And I gotta get one more jersey I need because I got Sladen, Jones, and I had to buy another Barkley one because that one got signed. So put that one on.
That's awesome, man.
I might get a Peppers one, but I don't know if he'll be on the team that much longer.
I'd hold off on the Peppers.
Yeah, because I'm a Michigan fan. So.
I know you're. I was gonna say you said you're a Michigan guy, so that makes sense. But I'd wait to see if they extend Peppers, especially.
One more. They should bring Peppers more into the role of like coming down like he did at Michigan at the linebacker so often.
Yeah, they've done that a bit, but I agree that I actually thought they would do it more this year. I agree with you on that. I'd like to see it a little bit more.
And the last thing I have is I was not happy with the Martinez sign, but he's been great.
Martinez has been phenomenal, and I'm with you. I was not ecstatic when we signed him. He's been ridiculous so far this year. It's been one of the most underrated signings in football.
I wanted Corey Littleton.
You and me both. I was knocking down the door to get Corey Littleton, and he's got like a 25 PFF grade or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Martinez has been playing out of his mind. So what do we know as fans? Sometimes we're wrong, sometimes we're right.
Yeah.
But man, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
Hopefully you enjoy the game tomorrow, and hopefully I get to talk to you maybe next week when I do the show again.
27-24 Giants. That's what I'm going to leave it at.
Love it. Love it. Let's get a W tomorrow, Hunter.
Have a good one.
You too, buddy. Great job. Great job. Anthony, man, thank you very much. He says, Tana, the key to the game is the D. They have to harass Wentz, can't let him escape, and make plays with his legs. That's definitely one of the keys. And I think the other key is what Hunter kind of hit on. We can't turn the football over. But, yes, I agree. I think we're going to do a good job bottling up the run. I really don't have many doubts with that. I think we're going to do a good job bottling up the run with their banged-up O-line, with Boston Scott out there. I think we'll be able to bottle up the run. We have to limit the big plays from Carson Wentz, though, no doubt about it. Yeah, it's a good point. The defense, of course. We can't be giving up 30 points because we ain't putting up 30 points in Philadelphia. And I think we need to control the clock. Pastor Ray, man, thank you so much, man. He says, extra time, not fair. Most Giants fans wanted Josh Allen. But when I say extra time, I just mean the rest of the year. I'm not even saying the third year. I think we need to give him at least the next 10 games. I wanted Josh Allen. I'll be the first to say it. And I get why people are upset. But I think we got to at least give him the last 10 games. I mean, why not? I mean, what do we have to lose at this point? And what if he goes out there and looks great over these next 10 games? So let's see for the rest of the year, and then we'll discuss it in the offseason, Pastor, right? We'll discuss it in the offseason. But I get why people are starting to get nervous, at least. I could understand that. But let's see. I think am I starting to lag? Maybe I'm not. I just want to make sure I get all these guys. Thank you guys so much, by the way, for being here, guys. Thank you for all the support, man. And Blue Collar, man, thank you. Oh, wow, LaShawn, man. Thank you so much, LaShawn, man. Blue Collar, man, thank you so much for being such a great supporter. He says the D is a bit overrated. Steelers marched and scored before the half. Trubisky beat us, then got benched. 49ers destroyed us, played the Rams well. Dallas put up 37 and Dalton drove on us. Washington marched and scored at the end. I'm not telling you defense is great, Blue Collar. It's definitely not. It's not close to being great. Defense is a lot better than I thought it would be, in my opinion at least. I thought they did a great job against the Rams, held them to 17 points. Pittsburgh, we did a pretty good job as well, at least in my opinion. The offense couldn't sustain any drives at all in that game. They really only had one good drive throughout that entire game. That was the 90-yard drive, and, of course, they hit the big play for 50 yards. But outside of that, the offense couldn't sustain the ball at all. I think we lost the time of possession by about 10 minutes in that game. So I thought that the defense actually played relatively well against Pittsburgh. The 49er game was an embarrassment in all facets of the game. I'm not telling you the defense is phenomenal. I think it's close to league average, which is much better than I thought it would be before the year started. And, man, thank you so much, man, LaShawn, man, for all the generosity that you always show me, man. I can't say thank you enough. And he pulls an Andrew Christopher there, and he says, hi. Hi there, LaShawn, man. Thank you so much, man, for all the love, man, that you always show the channel. And thank you for being a great supporter. I really do appreciate that. And let's hope that we get a win tomorrow. And finally, Lucas, man, thank you guys so much, man. He says, seeing what Colombo has done with Collins, I have faith in Thomas. Also seeing the Dolphins defense over the second half of last season with no names, expect even better things to come with Patrick. I love Patrick Graham. Now, the thing is, Patrick Graham did get relieved of play calling duties well at Miami, and a lot of people were skeptical of the hire because of that. But I'll tell you what, man, Patrick Graham to me has been one of the most pleasant surprises on this coaching staff so far this year, Lucas. I think he has been the most pleasant surprise. Colombo was a guy I was really excited about, and so far this offensive line is getting better each and every week, and that's all you could ask for. You know, at the end of the year, I hope that they're a finished product, and we could say this is an offensive line we're comfortable with going forward to, you know, to be a league average offensive line. I think that's where we want to get to. So I like what I've seen so far from the coaching staff, Lucas, and I think that's what we were most excited about coming into the offseason, the changes to the coaching staff, all the really good coaches that we brought in, and some of them we're happy about, some of them we're not. A lot of Giants fans are down on Jason Garrett. And then finally, Jay, man, thank you very much. What team do you see winning the Titans and Steelers game? That's right. You said you were a Steelers fan before. That's the game of the week. The two lone unbeaten teams in the AFC. I think it's going to be a hell of a ball game. I'm going to go with the Steelers. The Titans have been playing great, and I like both those teams a lot. I've been pumping up the Steelers since I did my preview video week 1 against the Giants. I think they have the best defense in the league. They've been a little disappointing for me in some games. I think the defense hasn't played as good as I thought they would. I still have a ton of respect for that team. You saw them come around. You beat up on the Browns. I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think they're a little bit better than Tennessee, but it can go either way. Both really good football teams. And we're going to get to Jay, who's on the channel next. Then we got Authentic. Then we're going to get Matthew. Jay, what's going on, my man? Thanks for popping on, my man.
Hey, what's going on, Chris? You maniac. How's it going?
What's going on, brother? How you been?
All good in the hood, man. And listen, I want everybody to see this hoodie I'm wearing. Sorry, my beard's in the way. This is how I live my life, baby. Come on. Let's go. Let's get this W tomorrow. We have to.
So that's your good luck hoodie for tomorrow's game?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to pull up this Pastor Ray. I'll
Yeah,
read
go
that
ahead.
in he was responding to the super chat that he sent me before. No, Chris, I was responding to the guy called XXX Time who sent the super chat before me. That was the name of the super chat. He said Giants fans wanted Haskins. Oh, okay, right, Pastor Ray. Okay, so there you go. Okay. Yeah, yes, I completely agree with that. Well, here's what I'll say, Pastor Ray. I think the majority of Giants fans, and maybe you'll speak to this as well, if we were going quarterback, wanted Haskins. But I think most Giant fans did want Josh Allen.
No, not really.
Yeah,
I
who
wasn't
did you
high on
want?
any of the quarterbacks last year, especially Haskins. So
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you
hard to take.
individually. Yeah, I'm not saying you individually. I'm saying the pulse of the fans.
Yeah.
At least from what I gathered, the majority of fans, if we were going quarterback, wanted Haskins. But I think the majority of fans wanted Josh Allen at that pick.
Yeah.
So what do you want to talk about, my man?
Okay, so we spoke last week. I kind of got my wish. I said, let's get Matt Pert in there. And we did.
You did.
And we saw
And you
results.
called it, man. You called it. Matt Pert looked really good.
And that's what I want to get to. So, Giants fans, go ahead and get your pitchforks out because you ain't going to like what I'm going to say. Matt Pert at left tackle and Andrew Thomas at right tackle. Chris, what do you think?
A lot of Giants fans have been saying that. I don't think you're going to get the pitchforks. There's been a lot of Giants fans that think that might be the better option. There was a number of articles written before the season started.
Yep.
I did a video on it that they said that long term, they didn't think this year, but they thought long term that Matt Pert may be the better option as the long term left tackle with Thomas on the right. And obviously, a lot of Giants fans are going to be upset about that because you drafted a tackle 4th overall. Now you're going to play him on the right side. To which I say, if the offensive line is better that way, I don't really care. I mean,
Yeah,
at the end of the
exactly.
day, I just want to have productive tackle play. And the right tackle is nearly just as important as the left tackle. I know it's the blindside protection, but in today's
Amen.
NFL, defenses scheme to attack your weakness, and you need a good right and left tackle. So at the end of the day, if the Giants right now feel that Parrott is better situated to play on the left side, go ahead and do it. And, it's what Joe Judge has said. He's going to put the players in the positions that give him the best chance to win football games. He has said verbatim, I don't care where you were drafted. I don't care how much you're getting paid. We're going to put you in the best spot for us to win football games. And if he comes to the final conclusion, based off the way that Parrott's played in practice, based off the way he's played in these games, that he's the guy that should be the left tackle this week, and you put Thomas to the right, I'm not going to complain about it.
Let's talk about Judge. Okay.
Love him.
I love the fact that all the players on the team, they are fighting for him. You don't hear any gossip. You don't hear anyone complaining to the press about Judge. Meanwhile, in Hillbilly Dallas, we're seeing them implode right in front of our very eyes. All the players coming out saying, hey, we're not getting coached well. We don't like their schemes. They're not teaching us anything. And I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing so hard watching just Dallas implode the way they are, especially after they robbed us. So it's just nice to see that the coaching situation with us has been working out so far, but not so much in Dallas.
You notice the permanent smile on my face while you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys misery, because I absolutely love Dallas Cowboy tears. Matter of fact, let me freeze my smile for about 5 seconds. There is nothing better than seeing the Dallas Cowboys crumble. It is a beautiful thing. Mike McCarthy was a guy that I never, ever wanted with the New York Giants. You go back, look at my videos. I thought he would have been a horrible fit here. I thought he would have been a better fit with Dallas, and still didn't like him. But I thought it would have been a better fit because they had a more veteran roster, more of a win-now team. I thought Judge fit the scheme the age of this team and the rebuilding phase more of this team. I wanted a younger coach, unless it was Ron Rivera, who I had a lot of respect for. But Matt Rule, I was completely for him. When they hired Judge, I was excited. I thought that he fit the timeline of this football team. I am not a fan of McCarthy. I think that McCarthy had the greatest quarterback in terms of talent in my lifetime I've ever seen. And I think it's a crime that Aaron Rodgers only has one Super Bowl. So to me, I looked at McCarthy when everybody's saying he's got a Super Bowl ring, and I said, the guy had freaking Aaron Rodgers. Like, you should crap Super Bowl rings. Like, he is that good, and it's a shame that he didn't get more than one. I was not a fan of the McCarthy hire. Rodgers wanted him out of there for a reason. So I'm with you.
He interviewed with the Jets too, and even the Jets didn't want to hire him.
The Jets didn't want to hire him. And now the players on Dallas, like you said, are saying that they're not prepared, they're not ready for the games. And all you heard from Dallas fans, all you heard from the media for years, Jason Garrett's the problem.
Jason Garrett.
We got to get rid of Jason Garrett. Meanwhile, they're always 500 or better. You're up to a 2-4 start. You should be 0-6. And there's trouble in Jerry World.
Yeah, I love every bit of it. So, okay, so listen, I am absolutely pumped for Thursday. And when I go into work Friday morning, at work, I'm rocking this tie. Okay?
Love it. Love it.
So I have no doubts. The new era starts now. The past is in the past, but it's going to be an ugly win. I'm going to say 19-17 Giants win. Jones 1 touchdown, 1 turnover, and then we're just going to win off the leg of Graham Gano.
You know what? Ugly win, pretty win, win. Don't care.
Exactly.
I'm with you. We haven't beaten this team in 7 games, and we've
enough is enough.
Enough is enough. And
Yeah.
I don't care if we win 2-0. I don't care if we win 41. Of course, I want to blow them out. That would feel a lot better. Pour it on. How about we get OC in this game and he gives us 6 sacks like he did back in 08 or whatever year that was. That would be phenomenal. But no, in all seriousness, I just want to win this game. I don't care if they win ugly. I don't care if they win pretty. A lot of times I like the ugly wins. I like the old school football. I'm all for it. If you win 19-17, you grind out the clock, you find a way to win the football game, I'm in. So, you know what? Let's just get a W, man. Let's get a freaking W. I agree with you. I think if we win, I think it will be ugly. I don't think we're going to be able to move the ball at will. They have a strong interior defensive line. I think they're going to force Jones to throw. With that may come a turnover. But I think we're going to have opportunities to create turnovers of our own.
Yes, and then I know there's other people who want to get on the show, so I just want to show this to you real quick. As I mentioned, I have the Lawrence Taylor signed helmet. Here's the picture with me with the GOAT, man, LT.
That's friggin' awesome.
Yeah, sorry,
that's
the
friggin'
reflection
awesome.
there.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
sorry, my studio light's really bright, but yep.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's great. That's great
Hey,
stuff.
listen, thank you so much for having me on again. I look forward to coming back on, and let's get this W, Giants Nation. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Love the optimism, man. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for showing so much love to the channel, buddy.
Of course. Thank you.
Have a good one, my man. All right, we're going to get authentic in a second. Just got to – Sugar Tits popped in. Love that name. Darth Liquor says, as long as you got the hoodie on, we for sure winning. You guys put too much pressure on the hoodie. I love the hoodie. I said I go to bed in the hoodie. I shower in the hoodie. Everything I do in my everyday life, the hoodie stays on. Too much pressure on the hoodie. You got to ease up on the hoodie. You guys are treating the hoodie like Daniel Jones. But no, let's go get a win tomorrow. Next up, my man. And if you guys have not done so, subscribe to this guy's channel. Authentic's always been a great supporter of my channel. He has such a professional podcast. He's got the voice of an angel. Does a great job over there. Has a great take there with the New York Giants. Want to hear what you got to say? What's going on, man?
Tana, what's good, man? I've been waiting backstage like I was at the club one time, man, and my name wasn't on the guest list, man.
I just saw you pop up, and I was like, oh, I got to get Authentic on. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, I want to talk about 3 things real quickly, man, and it's not going to be an argument with the chat or nothing, but first I just want to talk about Gettleman. I think Gettleman has done a pretty decent job, and it's shown up on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, our defense is playing pretty good. Somebody ahead of me said that we've been struggling on 3rd down, and I do agree with that. Teams were converting over 50% going into last week. That's pretty crazy for me. But you can't forget they brought in Jason Garrett. So Jason Garrett, all the players that came through the Cowboys in this past decade, they got the most Pro Bowlers over there. So I think that he can help bring in players on the offensive side of the ball. But it's going to take, we got to get a couple of wins here and there in the next season or 2 to just keep this kind of team alive, if you know what I'm saying. Like Daniel Jones, I think it's 4 wins or something like that, close to 15 losses or something. Like, if he starts spiraling out of control with those losses, the Giants fans are going to, clamor down on him. They're going to want to see another quarterback. They already are. And I think they jump in the gun a little bit. I think you got to get a kid time. A lot of young quarterbacks in the league are struggling right now, and I think it has to do with pass protection. And with Daniel Jones becoming comfortable in the pocket, that's going to come with consistently blocking properly for him so that he can feel confident in himself, drop back to pass, and know he's not going to get hit. So I think that comes with time. Shout out to Roldy. It was good to see him on, man. I really wanted to hear his voice because I always see him in the chat, and that was real dope. And I know he was talking about Daniel Jones and the protection issues, but I think that's one of the major things for Daniel Jones. And lastly, man, I think we can get a win, man. I really think that we can get a win against the Eagles here. If you look at Carson Wentz, who I've been kind of backing him up a little bit this year, saying, he's a capable quarterback, and he's just not playing well. But Carson leads the league for quarterbacks in fumbles. He's second in interceptions, and he leads the league in sacks. I think the Giants defense can get after him. I'm sick of these close games that I feel like we're dominating in the first half, especially the last 2 weeks. Against Washington, to go in there only up by 3 at the half was just completely ridiculous to me after dominating that first half. And same thing with Dallas when Andrew Thomas gives up the pressure on Daniel Jones and he fumbles. It's like that game completely does a 180. So I think this defense can come out, get after the Eagles, and finally I think we can get a convincing win. Not just one of these little squeaky wins where we get out. I think we can get a convincing win.
I would like nothing more than to get it. I'm talking about I want to win by a little, any amount. I want to get a convincing win as well, because then that speaks to the fan base. It's not even, they can't even say, well, you got lucky. You won by 1 point. If we could beat this team by 21 points, and I'm not saying we're going to, 10, 20, double digits, then I think people will ease off Jones a bit. They'll say, okay.
And people were looking for that last week. I went into last week thinking can Daniel Jones put this team on his back, ball out, get the fans off his back, right? But I think Jason Garrett did a good job in this game plan. They went into Washington, and just ran the ball. Even though Devonta Freeman, his average yards per carry is not crazy high, I like what the Giants are doing with the run, because we're getting good situational second and third downs for Daniel Jones, where instead of second and 14, now he's looking at the second and 8s, the second and 7s. And Daniel Jones is solid, man. I think when you give him that kind of, yard and distance to get first downs, he can do it. He's very capable. And he's really our only offensive threat, man. I mean, he leads the team in rushing. I'm sure all these stats have been talked about all night. Daniel Jones is putting this team on his back, but we got to understand that this offensively, especially, this is not a good team,
It's not. And I think he's pressing a bit. I think he's pressing because he knows that.
Yeah, I do think he's pressing a little bit. I've been telling people to check out a video I saw from a real young YouTuber. His name is Pip Sports on YouTube, PIP Sports, and he did a breakdown of Daniel Jones and showed you some things about his regression in the second year. And a lot of it is coming from the hesitation. I think Daniel Jones is a little bit scared back there. He's looking at the line and seeing what's happening. And as a young quarterback, you can't expect it to just turn over from one year to the next. Like he's just automatically going to be this franchise guy. People saw good things in his skill set in the first year. The turnovers was a thing, obviously. He had a turnover in damn near every game, I want to say, only getting wins against Washington. But I think you got to sit back and just give him a chance to actually put this team on his back, let the team develop the players. And we know we don't got the wide receiver core. And these injuries, that's not helping Daniel Jones. He's only had one game with all the threats, and that was the game that Saquon Barkley gets knocked out early in. And it's like, we kind of got to give him a pass, just a little bit. And I want to see this regime go on for a couple more years. Getting rid of the GMs and getting rid of the coaches quickly like that's not the formula.
I'm with you. If it was up to me, if somebody said, Chris, give me your wish list. My wish list is the Giants win enough games. And I know people don't want to hear this because, like Roldy was saying, people hate Dave Gettleman. It's like, I would say 65% of the Giants fans just want to cut Gettleman's head off. They want to blame him for everything that ever happened with this football team. But if it was me in a perfect world, because we kept on Gettleman, to me, when they did that, and I'm fair, I said I would have fired Gettleman when they fired Shermer, and it had very little to do with Gettleman's performance. I wanted a fresh start then. If you're going to fire the coach, bring in a new GM, because now you have this sticky situation. If the team wins 4 or 5 games, you bring in a GM he's not on the same timeline as a coach. So in a perfect situation, I'm with you. We win 6 games. Gettleman keeps his job. He stays on for another year. They continue to draft well. Even the biggest Gettleman hater can't say that they had a bad offseason. The only thing you could point to is Andrew Thomas, but Andrew Thomas is a rookie, and he was forced into that left tackle role probably before the New York Giants intended him to do it. Outside of that, Bradbury's been great. Martinez has been great. Logan Ryan was a good pickup. Marcus Golden was a good cheap pickup. What can you really complain about? I mean, McKinney, you're going to get on them for that. He got hurt. So this offseason, when you had Judge and Gettleman, Fackrell was a great pickup. And with them together this offseason, I don't think anybody could debate it. they were pretty strong together. So if
Yeah.
this team won 6 games, to me, that's ideal. He stays on for one more year. You complete this rebuild. The team wins 9 or 10 games, and then maybe Gettleman says, "All right, I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to drink I completed the rebuild. Now I'm going to give Judge the say." And then there's a lot more stability with this football team. And
Yeah,
that's what I'm
think
hoping
that's
for.
I think that's the right route they should take. Joe Judge is the guy. I don't care what any Giants fans say. Joe Judge is my guy. I think the culture that he's brought over there is the perfect kind of thing that you need for a young quarterback like that, bringing in discipline like that. And I honestly want to see him bring in some players that like maybe have a bad rep and see what he could kind of do with them. I mean, kind of like a la AB, but I know that a lot of Giants fans don't want to see AB come in. But I do think that Joe Judge is the kind of coach that can prove that he could bring in these kind of players that you used to getting a little bit of nonsense from, and he could bring them in and maybe mold them into better players coming from that Patriots kind of regime, which for me, I'm old enough to know that that's really the Giants regime because Bill Belichick, defensive coordinator, we knew in the 80s, that's really our style of play that they use over there.
Man, you speak so much. I got to have you back on the channel. I got to have you on for a full show.
Yeah, man. I don't want to take up too much time tonight. I know you got a bunch of people in line, man. I appreciate you having me on.
You know what? Next time I do one of these shows, if you're free, I'd like to have you on the whole time if you can come on and we'll talk to the guests.
I got you. I'm totally for it, man. And when you was on with Kyle Pizzle, I just want to say this last thing, and y'all was going at it. People in the chat were like, "Yo, bring on Authentic, man. He could be the moderator with the smooth voice, and keep y'all calm."
If I would have told that, I would have brought you on.
Favorites, bro. That was one of my favorites. I was so glad to see y'all two click up like that and really give some of the energy that the fan base has been feeling live from people who actually create the content. I think that was awesome. So I got to applaud you for that.
Listen, man, some people didn't like it. Some people did. I would work with Cop. I always say, man, I try to work with everybody. Cop Pizzle said during the show, I know he's your boy, but I don't have boys. I try to work with every Giants content creator. I don't look at this ever as a competition. I look at this as, if you guys grow, I'm growing. We want to build this community. You want to get more eyes on YouTube for people to come here for Giants information. You're a great content creator. I think you might be the most underrated guy on the entire platform. I think you have a very professional setup. I don't just say that. That's my honest opinion. I think you have a great show. I think you're very knowledgeable. I think you're a great guy. And I hope your channel continues to grow, and I know it will. And I'll continue to promote it.
We're going to continue to keep it popping, man. And we can't forget as fans, man, we all rooting for the same team, man. You know what I'm saying? So we got to go for the Giants all day long.
I am completely with you. I kind of, attribute it to politics. I say this country is very divided. The Giants fan base is very divided. People have their own opinions, and I think people need to listen to everybody's side with the Giants. You have to say, well, this person views it this way, this person views it that way. At the end, we all want the best thing. We just have different ideas. And I think we think alike. I'm not a tank guy, and I want stability with this football team. So
yeah, that's why I'm clinged on to your streams, man, and play-by-plays, because you give me them vibes, man. I definitely appreciate it.
You got it, my man. Thank you so much for coming on, man. We're going to get a couple more guys on before we close it out. But if you guys haven't done so, please subscribe to Authentic and the Beard. I'll definitely have him on again, and keep doing what you do.
Appreciate you, bro. Go Giants, man.
All right, my man. That was Authentic, man. Authentic's feeling a win tomorrow. There's another content creator, Big Blue Jabroni. What's going on? It smells of cooked bird in the air. I haven't given up on this team yet. 2020 NFC East champs. It's a lock. Big Blue Jabroni. I think it's a possibility. I'm not going to say it's a lock. I hope you're not driving right now, Big Blue, because you might be a little tipsy saying something like that. But I do think if we win this game, we're well within the divisional race. And you always bring the optimism. Love you, Big Blue. Keep doing what you do on your channel. Next up, JDJ. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Don't like to miss super chats. I did not. He says that's definitely a franchise hoodie. Listen, JDJ, this hoodie does not come off under any circumstances. Doesn't come off. Doesn't come off when I'm in the shower, when I go to work, whenever. I keep it on, when I exercise, everything else, until such time they lose a football game. And then finally, I think I got one more, and then we'll bring the next guest on. Lucas, man, thank you very much. He says 50% of Gettleman's blame needs to go to Reese. We were top 3 dead cap several years in a row. Lucas, I say it all the time. If you watch my channel, I don't know if you're new. I've been saying that forever. And then people say I'm too hard on Jerry Reese. Listen, at the end of the day, Dave Gettleman inherited about as bad of a situation as you could have inherited. And that's why I try to give him as much of an opportunity as I can. I'm not saying he's been good. I think he inherited a really bad situation. I agree with that. No debt, no cap space, inherited a 37-year-old quarterback. And he had a lot of veterans that he had to get rid of. So I agree with you. I think he inherited a really bad spot. No doubt about it. But thank you guys for being here. Really do appreciate it. We're going to bring on Matthew S. He's been in the background for a while. Matt, thank you for coming on, my man.
Hey, how are you, Chris?
I'm pretty good, man. What's up?
Nothing. I just wanted to go over what you think a few keys are for the game tomorrow. And one that I kind of thought of was I think that Jones needs to start making the right checks on the line. I mean, I think this was a huge gap that when Eli retired that and Jones comes in that we need to fill. Like you kind of saw it with Saquon in his year too, that his rushing was really affected by the checks being made at the line by Daniel Jones compared to Eli. Like he wasn't reading the same defenses just like Eli was. And I think that will come with time, but I think I'm the biggest Jones fan in the world, but I think that's partly on Nick Gates, and even though he's only played, what, 6 games as a center, but I think we need to put some blame on Jones because it's been 18 games. I think you need to get it under control a little bit there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've said that numerous times. You go back, you look at last year, and it's to be expected. He's a rookie quarterback. The offensive line actually played really well. I remember doing a video on it. The first 2 games last year when Eli Manning was in at quarterback, when they played what was supposed to be 2 very good defenses, one was the Bills and the Cowboys, and the offensive line was actually playing very well. And then when Jones came in, they regressed. And I agree that some of that definitely has to do with his ability to read defenses and make adjustments at the line of scrimmage. But I do think that, one, I think he went in too early. I always said that. And a lot of people disagree with me. And when he went in there and had that great first game against Tampa, I looked like a fool. But then you saw how he played the rest of the year. And maybe I didn't look like so much of a fool. I didn't think he was ready. And I thought they had the situation where they didn't have to rush him in. They weren't a team that was a win-now team. They had a veteran quarterback. And I think he would have gotten better at that aspect in his game had he sat and learned for 8, 10, 12 weeks. There was no need to rush him in. And I think that the New York Giants kind of blew that. But it is what it is. And you hope he gets better over the course of time. But I agree. I think that is a weakness of his. I think he has to get better at the pre-snap reads. But I think that's a lot of young quarterbacks. So I'm not going to go crazy with that. But he needs to get better. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And I kind of feel like Jones might be taking a little too much heat because, I mean, when you look at, I think there was a stat that ESPN ran and like on how open wide receivers are. And it said like after 5 seconds or something, wide receivers weren't getting open for the Giants. And it's kind of like, I know we had some injuries and stuff, but it's like kind of sad to see how I know it's all going to fall on the quarterback because that's the main position on the team. But I think that when you're playing with a young offensive line, a new scheme, and which I think Pat Shermer's scheme fit him a little better than what's going on with Garrett now, but I think he's taken way too much of the blame.
Yeah, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. But that, unfortunately, that's the way the league goes. And, I've seen that, throughout my entire life. The quarterback always gets more credit than he deserves, and he always gets more blame than he deserves. And I agree with you. I think there's a lot more factors than just Daniel Jones, why Daniel Jones is struggling. And I think a lot of quarterbacks that would be put in this situation would not be doing much better. I'm not saying all of them, of course. You put Russell Wilson here, he's going to find ways to make it work. But you're talking about one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league. Daniel Jones is not that. But I agree with you. I think he's put in a really tough spot, man, similar to a lot of quarterbacks in this league. And I think that's why a lot of quarterbacks fail.
Yeah, I completely agree. And one last point for tomorrow's game, I think, like a few callers have mentioned, the time of possession and the defense. I honestly think our defense gets way too much credit for what they're doing because sometimes they're holding teams to 0 points, but they're giving up 5-6 minute drives because they just keep going first, second, third down and then give up a 1-yard play. And so you're still right there. You don't give up points, but that 6 minutes is almost like giving up 3 or 4 or 7 points for your offense because you're not allowing your offense to get the ball back. I'd almost rather see the defense give up a 2-minute drive that gives up a field goal than a 6-minute drive that almost ends in no points.
I get what you're saying there, and we've been horrible on third down. There's no denying it. And when I give them credit, I don't think they're a great defense yet. I don't even think they're close to a great defense. I just think they're much better than I thought they would be. But they definitely have some things to work on. And the way that will improve, we need to get a pass rusher. And that's not going to happen this year. We don't have a great pass rusher right now, but the defense has played well. But at the end of the day, I'm going to disagree with you. I'd rather give up no points than 3. But I get what you're saying because if the offense extends drives, it chews up the clock, it wears down your defense over the course of time. So I get what you're saying there, and we've been bad on third down. We've been a bend but don't break defense in a lot of cases, and it's got to improve. But, may not improve this year because, quite frankly, we don't have the personnel, I think, to do it much better, and I think a lot of that's to do with Patrick Graham than what the talent dictates. But we're definitely not a great defense yet. I'd say we're close to league average right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love Patrick Graham. With the talent that we have, I think we probably have 1 or 2 great, pretty good players, and probably weren't recognized as that before the season.
Yeah, we got Bradbury, we got Martinez.
Exactly. So one or two.
We got a couple of nice players, but we don't have a great edge rusher. We got good guys up at the line, but we definitely need another good corner. We need a coverage linebacker. We need 3 pieces, like Nate said earlier. That's what we need. We need a coverage linebacker. We need an edge, and we need a corner.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I just hope that I think with the Eagles' injuries that we'll be able to do some things on defense. Hopefully, just win the turnover battle a little bit. And I'm just a little scared on Boston Scott because of what he did to us in Week 17 last year when he went for more than 100 yards on our defense. But obviously, that's a different year.
I'm going to give you optimism there. 1, our defense is much better than it was last year.
Exactly.
2, the Eagles' offensive line is much worse than it was last year. So I think both those factors, I'm not really that worried about Boston Scott. He may beat us in the passing game because we've definitely struggled in that area. Last week, you saw them check it down to the running back a lot. They got a lot of yards that way. So I could see him beating us in the passing game. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball that well against us. In all honesty, I'd be surprised if they do.
Yeah, I would be really surprised with Dexter Lawrence and Leo up in front, locking them down. I think would be surprising. And I want to thank you for your time. I don't want to take up too much time, but I want to thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
You got it, my man. We're going to go for about another 20 minutes or so because it's getting late. But I want to say thank you for being such a great supporter. Thank you for coming on the channel. And, thank you for talking Giants football. Give me your score tomorrow. What's the score?
I'm thinking 24-21 Giants. I think it's always going to come down to the wire with the Giants. It's never easy. But
24-21 Giants. I like it. I'll take it. I got 23-20, so we're about the same. So let's get a win tomorrow. Let's win by a field goal. I'll take it. All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot.
You got it, my man. We are going to get to a Blue Collar Super Chat, and then we're going to get to the next guest. So I'm going to try to get at least 2 or 3 more people on. Blue Collar, man, thank you very much. It says, last year, he held the ball longer in the pocket. The receiver had time to open or DJ fumbled. This year, he's making quicker decisions, and some no bueno. Yes, I agree. The other thing I'll say about it, Blue Collar, last year, I just think the scheme fit him so much better. Last year, it was a scheme that they called to get the ball out quicker with shorter pass plays, but they've had to kind of change things up with this scheme because they feel like they don't have the time to block. But you're right. He's getting the ball out quicker. There's been less fumbling. And I think one thing I'll say about him, I think he's scared. You could see that he's thinking too much, that he's scared to make mistakes. I saw that really in the Rams game, more so than any other. And he's got to get better. And I'm going to be confident and at least optimistic that I think he could. Next up, we got Zion Zenith. We're going to try to get the bigger mic. I know Kenny's been in here for a while. I'm going to make these quicker because I got to get to as many people as I can, and it's already 11:46. Zion Zenith, man, thanks for popping on the channel, buddy.
Hey, yo, what's up, bro? Can you hear me?
I hear you, man. What's going on?
All right, man. I just wanted to talk to you for a while, just a little bit. I know we got a lot of people waiting. I just want to say first off, man, thank you for having this show tonight, man. We've seen a lot of great things. We've seen show and tells. We've seen a lot of facts. We've seen just great knowledge, great input. I love the Giants community. I love the Giants nation, man. Giants for life. And I just wanted to talk about a few things, man. Like, I'm the one who remember that comment I sent. Like, you look at all these great quarterbacks around the league, and all we see is, everybody talking so good about them. But if you look at the first couple of seasons in the league, they're not, outside of some, they're not the best. You know what I'm saying? There's going to struggle. Everybody who understands football understands that there is going to struggle. There is going to be struggling at the beginning of any quarterback, whether you draft first overall or whether you draft 31st overall, 32nd overall. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, too, is like everybody wants the next Lamar Jackson. Everybody wants the next, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, like, those guys are special. Everybody can't be Hopkins. Everybody can't be OBJ. I loved OBJ. I'm not trying to get into that shit right now. My bad for swearing. But, hey, they're special for some reason. And how do you know if Trevor Lawrence, a system quarterback, is going to come in and just and take over? What if you have a new general manager? It's just going to be a cluster. Am I allowed to swear? Because it's going to be a cluster. Fuck if that happens, okay? Let's stick with DJ and let's ride this shit out. Look, our defense surprised a lot of people. Our defense up front surprised me. I'm so mad at Gettleman in so much ways, but it's a love-hate relationship because I'm like, damn, okay, he did get us Barkley. I was like so happy when Baker got taken and we got Barkley. I know a lot of great quarterbacks came out of that draft, but at the end of the day, I love 26.
I really did many. Jackson was never on anybody's radar, so I'm not going to count him. He was never going at the top of the draft. Josh Rosen's been a bust. Sam Darnold is about to get kicked off the New York Jets. And Baker
My bad, I
Mayfield.
was kind of thinking the year before.
The only one that did, you could argue, was Josh Allen, the quarterback on the Bills.
Yeah, no, never mind. So Berkeley was the take there. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, like I was so for Isaiah Simmons. Like I was one of those fans. Like we need Isaiah Simmons because I didn't really, you know, I don't want always the big names, but I didn't really watch much of. I watched some Packers game, but I didn't really know who Blake Martinez was. I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? But then I love how it turned out. Blake Martinez been holding it down, and you know, we got our left tackle, right tackle. We fixed that line, and then I'm just mad at him. Not to vent about Dave Gettleman, but then I'm just mad at him because it's so heavy at wide receiver. Like how, like honestly, I'm not trying to diss on anybody who plays this game because I myself didn't play this game. I grew up a basketball fan. My first love, you know. I grew up in Hawaii. Aloha may never die. You know what I'm saying? I live in Cali now. I hardly watch football, but the year I became a Giants fan, and this is facts, I grew up a Michael Vick fan, even with Jeff dogfighting, okay? I was at Foot Locker. I'm a hat fanatic. I bought an NY hat. I buy any NFL team hat before then. Now I'm only rocking Giants hats, but before then I was so young. I bought an NY hat, and I put it on. I'm like, fuck it, I'm buying this. That year, we won the fucking Super Bowl, and that's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? And I went back, and obviously I watched tape of all the Super Bowls, and I watched the Super Bowls before that. I did my long story short. I mean, like, we don't have no receivers, man. You don't have anybody to trust. I'm sorry. Golden Tate hasn't been good since he left Detroit. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, not to diss on him. Concussion Simpson, where is he? Where is Shepard? Where's Oklahoma right now? Where's Oklahoma? You know, then there's Lamar Chase coming out. There's all these top receivers coming out. But I kind of feel like OBJ messed us up in that situation. Now we're going to be scared to take a receiver. Like, nah, let's just – what's Des Bryant at? Why can't we bring in Des Bryant? You know anything on Des Bryant? What's the deal with Des Bryant?
We'll see about Des Bryant. Everybody always brings him up.
It's something. We have nothing right now. CJ Boyd just – you have to, okay, of course, we're going to promote people from the practice squad, but why didn't we, like, there's so much draft picks to take a receiver. There's so much receivers in the offseason. Like,
I get it. I get it. There's been some receivers over the last two drafts that you could definitely argue that the New York Giants should have taken. There's no doubt about it.
For the last 8 years.
There's no doubt about it. But I will say, here's what I'll say about it. I think that this is my personal take on it. I think the New York Giants had so many holes on this football team. And I think they looked at it like, we're going to fix what we feel are the most important holes this offseason. And we're going to go from there. We know we can't fix all of them in 1 year. We look at this defense, we're the league's worst defense. Well, what did they do? This defense got a lot better. This defense is close to the league average. They're respectable. They're not embarrassing us every week. So that's what they did. They drafted defense. They went defense round 2. They went defense round 4. Their biggest free agent acquisitions were on the defense. And I think they looked at the offensive line and they said, we got a quarterback who's going to get killed. We have to be able to support him for the future. And at the end of the day, if these receivers can't run their routes, if we can't block, they're not going to do anything. So I think they said, we got to fix the O-line, we got to fix the defense, and then we'll start to bring in wide receivers. So I do think next year you will see them draft a guy like Jamar Chase, or you will see them bring in a premier wide receiver. I think it's a multi-year process. I don't think it was going to happen in one offseason, but I get the frustration. You see DK Metcalf out there making big plays. DeAndre Baker's not on the football team. So I get it, and you're never going to be 100% on any draft pick. And, it is what it is. He's definitely made some mistakes, and we definitely got some more holes to fill. And I think next year you're looking at a receiver. I think you're looking at an edge rusher as two of our 4 or 5 most pressing needs. But I'm with you. I think that was the mindset, though, this offseason. I think they made the right decision. I think they needed to fix the O-line, and I think they needed to attack the defense. And I think next year you'll get your wide receiver.
And I feel you 100%, and I'm just going to leave it at this. Like, you don't know it when it comes to receivers. Like, I know this is just – you don't know. I mean, like, we took Sterling Shepard, and then Tyreek Hill was taken in the 5th round, and Michael Thomas was taken right after we took Sterling Shepard. Nobody was going to know that, right? But all I'm saying is I agree with you 100%, and it's just sad right now. It's just a sad situation again with our receivers because it's like we're dependent on the 5th round pick. And thank God Darius Slayton. I draft him every week in DraftKings just because, like, everybody in fantasy, I have Darius Slayton because everybody's thinking Sterling Shepard's our best receiver and Golden Tate is our best receiver. Nah, our best receiver is a 5th round pick, and just another year of improvement. Become that number 1 for us. Help the rookie, whoever else we bring in, and just we're growing. And I'm gonna leave it at this. This division is so messed up right now that we just need to take this. Joe Judge just needs to take this. The Giants, we just need to take this. We need to go in tomorrow. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I give it 10-17. I'm going to just say Giants. I think it's going to be ugly like previous callers said, but anyhow, like we just need to take this division because it's a clusterfuck right now and we need to own it. You know what I'm saying? I want to let you get other people in, you know? I don't want to keep you too long.
No, I appreciate you for calling in, man. Thank you for all the passion about the Giants, and let's get a win tomorrow. I think we can.
Hey, let's get it. Thank you so much, man.
You got it, man. Thank you for being a great supporter, and thank you for coming on the channel. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, let's get it. Giants for life.
All right, my man. All right, that was Zion Zenith. I'm going to pop him out here so we could we're going to make these quicker now because it's getting late. I know that Kenny's been waiting for a while. Nikki Sav's here. We got a lot of guys on the line here. We got we'll get Kenny first. I saw a lot of people say bring on Kenny. What's up, Kenny? Kenny? Kenny?
Hello?
What's up, Kenny? What's going on? What do you want to talk about?
You hear me clear?
I hear you loud and clear. Well, not loud, but I hear you clear.
All right. So here's what I gotta say. The people who want to receivers are flashy. Flashy, flashy, flashy. Lawrence is flashy. The receivers are flashy. Odell is flashy. He's toxic. We don't need him. Daniel Jones is 100% the franchise quarterback. We don't need any of those players. Lawrence, we don't need Lawrence. Give Daniel Jones time. Give the offense time to gel. Give the defense time to gel. And get them a chance to gel. Solder is out. McKinney's out. Baker is out. Who else? Pert. All right, no, not Pert. What's his name? Barkley's out. Shepard's out. Gettleman hasn't had the time to assess his team properly. Give him time to rebuild. Give him time, and things will happen. So that's my take. So, and
hey, I think we're gonna need receivers, but I agree. My take is, I think we needed to fix more important things before we brought in the receiver.
Defense wins champion. Defense won yesterday. Defense. I know you made that video that defense, that offense wins championships, but defense won Sunday.
No, you need both. Balance wins championships. Balance wins championships.
I'm gonna keep this quick. 2 minutes. Give me 2 more minutes. Lawrence. The people who wanted Lawrence, so they're so impatient. How can Bad Dog? I don't want to hate on Bad Dog. He said Daniel Jones will be a top 10 quarterback this year. 5 games in the season. I want Lawrence. Take for Lawrence. You can't do that. You can't have such big expectations on him and then give up on 5 games into the season. You just can't do that. So
listen, man. I'm not.
Bad Dog, you can't.
That's all fans. I'm not talking about anybody, but anybody that pumped up Daniel Jones that much, you were setting him up for failure. So
I got 1 minute left.
Yeah.
1 minute. Last minute. All right. The last minute. All right. Let's see. All right. Give Daniel Jones time. If Daniel Jones throws 3 touchdowns, I don't want to hear no Lawrence talk. Daniel Jones throws 3 touchdowns, no picks, no turnovers, and wins the game. No Lawrence talk until Monday. No Lawrence talk. Give him time.
I'm done. There's no Lawrence. Period. There's no Lawrence now. There's no Lawrence now. The Jets are getting Lawrence. Stop. No. Lawrence is not gonna be a Giant. Enough. No Lawrence. Dan Jones, our quarterback. Kenny just showed his face. Kenny, thank you for coming on the channel. I got to get to a couple more people.
Thank you, Chris. All right. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for thanking me. We'll talk in the Discord, buddy. Kenny's the man. And I want to say thank you to Hunter. Thank you so much for the $2 donation. I appreciate it. And once again, thank you to everybody for being here. I really do appreciate it. And we're going to get to Sam. He's been on the line for a bit. Sam, what's up, my man? Sam,
what's up, Chris?
What's up, buddy?
Can you hear me?
I hear you. I kind of hear you.
2 quick things to say. What do you think? There's been speculation going around that the Giants want to trade Evan Ingram to the Panthers for forgot his name. It was not Curtis Samuel. That's who it was. Do you think that's another Dave Gettleman just trying to go for a Panthers player, or do you think that he honestly thinks that another slot receiver could help us?
I'll talk about that in 1 second. I see somebody in the chat saying they'd like to see the Discord. I might just post it. Okay, thank you. As far as the Samuel goes, I didn't read too much into it. I saw it was like on Instagram. Was that from a credible source that the New York Giants are actually thinking about doing that, or was that just like an Instagram thing?
I've seen a few pretty big Instagram pages post some tweet about it. Pretty big Giants pages that have like 50,000 followers or something post some tweet by some verified account.
Me personally, I don't want that. I get the out of the box thinking because you don't think Ingram's a part of the future. You want to try to bring in a wide receiver that could help the team. I don't think Samuel's the guy. He's a decent receiver, but not the guy that I would want. I would not be a big fan. I wouldn't go crazy, but I would not be very happy with that trade.
Me, I was thinking the same thing because he plays a lot in the slot for Carolina. We already have too many slot receivers as is right now, unless they plan on trading both Shepard and Tate, or if they think Shepard could play the outside. But I don't get the thought process of going for another small gadget guy.
Yeah,
if I go for a receiver. I
don't think that'll happen.
What?
I could be wrong, but I don't think that'll happen.
All right, and last thing before I go, I hope we kick the Eagles' asses tomorrow. I know a lot of Eagles fans that live nearby because I live close to like Delaware and stuff. So most people down there are Eagles fans, and I just hate them. Like a lot of them are really bad people. At least the people I know. Like when Dak got hurt against us, I'm in a group chat and the Eagles fan goes, "Thank you, Giants. Now you just punched in our one-way ticket to the playoffs." And it would just feel so good just to kick their asses tomorrow.
You're telling me, man, they've had our number really for like 15 years, and even more so in the last 5 or 6 years. And nothing would feel better than if we beat them by 50 points. I would literally like to beat the crap out of them from start to finish. I would like to get off to a start like we did 2 years ago with Shermer, where we had a 2-score lead and just double it up in the second half. But you know what? At the end of the day, a win's a win. And my guess is if we do beat the Eagles, it's going to be stressful. It's going to come down to the wire. But I just want to get a W, man. Let's just get a W. Let's beat this team. Let's get over the hump.
I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I don't think neither offense is that good. I'm going to say it's 17-14 Giants.
I could see that. I had a 23-20, but I could see it being a bit of a low-scoring game. I could see the Giants trying to control the clock, trying to keep that Eagles offense off the field, utilizing the running game. I could see that. I wouldn't be shocked if it's 17-14. But I do think it's going to be a field goal game. If the Giants lose, I think it'll be close. If the Giants win, I think it'll be close.
It just stinks because every other year, it's either 1 year our offense is really good and our defense stinks, and the next year our defense is good and our offense stinks. We can never have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, you're right. 2015, we had a great offense. We had a horrible defense. 2016, we had a great defense. We had a horrible offense. It never seems to gel. 2017 was just bad. 18 bad. 19 bad. So, you know what? I do think this team, though, sooner than later, we're going to have a well-rounded football team. It might be next year, it might be the year after that, but I do think we're headed down the right path.
You could tell that the players want to fight for Judge. They'd never play that hard. I honestly feel if Shermer was the coach against the Redskins, we lose that football game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm gonna let you go though because I got to get going. I want to try to get a couple more people. All right, Sam.
Have a good rest of your night, Chris.
You too, buddy. Let me just read Timmy Times, man. Thank you so much, man, for being such a great supporter of the channel. I always love talking to you in the Discord. He says, "How do you feel about Jason Garrett using Ingram like Caden Smith?" I'm trying to be as fair as I can with Jason Garrett. I do think a lot of people are jumping down Jason Garrett's throat. I do think he was presented much like Jones, a tough situation, a team that really wasn't built, kind of like he said after week 2 or 3, to run his offense yet. They're a rebuilding team. They need to get better in certain areas, but I do think they have not utilized Evan Ingram the proper way. I need to see Evan Ingram use more down the field. That's not what he is. He's been a check down guy. That's not what you want from Evan Ingram. You want a guy that can make big plays, kind of like he did in that Tampa game. We all remember the 70-yard catch. Need to see more big plays from Evan Ingram. Got to get him out in space. I do like that they've tried to be creative with the end around stuff like that, but need to see more throws down the field. They tried that week 1 against the Steelers. Didn't really work out with the offensive pass interference, but we got to see more shots up the seam. Me Master, what's going on, buddy?
Hello.
What's going on, man?
Hold on, I need 1 second. Okay. I have been waiting a very, very long time.
I apologize. I apologize because I just realized
almost 3 hours.
I had it down a row. I didn't have it on the top row. I thought I had it on the top row. That's why I scanned up to the top, and then I saw
I
it.
gotta tell every viewer in the stream something. One, subscribe to me, and then BS223, just search it up. The Eagles will lose. They're simps. Every Eagle fan, simp. They no good. No improvement. Carson Wentz. EDP 445 get karma because he said stuff about Dak, which actually kind of got me mad because that was actually pretty sad about that. I don't know, but anyways,
So the Giants. So basically, from what I got from your breakdown, was that the Giants are going to win because the Eagles are simps.
Yeah.
Good breakdown. I like it. So we're gonna out simp the Philadelphia Eagles. I agree. I think they are a bunch of simps, and I think
every Eagles fan always Eagles fans are underestimating us. You know.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, I don't blame them for underestimating us because we haven't been
I
able
was here the whole time. You were talking about the defense was pretty amazing and everything. I was surprised of our defense for the past, was that 6 weeks? Yes. The Rams game. If you people don't know, I'm actually kind of a Rams fan too. I actually like the Giants and the Rams.
No. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Why?
You can't have two teams.
Why?
You can't do that. That's rule number 101. Can't have two teams.
What is that?
I don't approve of that.
So I did something
I'm not
wrong?
a two-team guy.
I like the Giants more. Though.
There's one team. There's one team. You love your team. You root for your team, and that's it. That's me. Everybody's
Alright.
different. I'm not a two-team guy. But it is what it is. You're allowed to do what you want. It's fun.
All right. Anyways, I don't know. I think we could win this game.
I think we're
But
gonna win this
expect it to be close. 22,
I think we're gonna win this game.
24. Yeah. I think we could get it. It's been, what's that? How many games did they win?
How many games did who win?
The Eagles win. Against
Eagles are
us.
1-4 and 1. We're 1-5.
Okay.
So you got
Yeah, I
a
think
Giants
we can
win.
get
You
it.
got a Giants win, and you think the Eagles are a bunch of simps.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm sorry I kept you on so long because the first row was it was down a row, so I thought it was on the top row the whole time, and then I saw, oh God, there I am. They were next to me. So I apologize for keeping you on so long. I didn't mean to do that. But Meme Master, thank you for waiting.
Yeah.
And best of luck to your Rams and Giants the rest of the way.
3 hours waiting. Everybody subscribe to Entertainer. I've watched him for over a year now. He agrees with our Giants. Everybody subscribe to me too. I like this guy. I think we're actually friends now. I don't know. Anyways.
All right,
It's
Meme Master.
It's been a long 3 hours. I was not expecting this.
All right, Meme Master. Be well, my man.
Yeah.
Get some
See
sleep.
you later.
Get some sleep.
Yeah.
Meme Master. Meme Master's a simp guy. He's a simp. Saquon Barkley was also waiting because he was also on the top row, so I apologize for that.
Yeah.
And then we got two more, and then we're going to call it a night. What's up, buddy?
Hey, I have a couple of questions, but I'll keep it short because I know you gotta go soon.
Yeah.
How many points do you think we need to score on offense to win this game?
Low 20s. I'll go 20 to 24 points. I think could win the game.
Okay. Do you think Jones gaining the extra muscle in the offseason is really helping with his fumbling, or it's that he's just getting it out quicker?
His fumbling is a little bit better. It's still not great.
No, it's not great.
I don't think it's helped much. I think personally, I think the Giants haven't been throwing as much. If you go back and you look last year, the Giants threw 60, I think it was almost 70% of the time. Like, it was absurd. I think it was 67% of the time because they couldn't establish the ground game at all. I think they put more focus on the ground game, and they're kind of protected Jones from fumbling the football by not giving him so many passing attempts. So I think that's the biggest contributing factor. I don't think the muscle mass has much to do with it. Maybe he developed a bit more of arm strength. I did notice that in the Steelers game from the lower body, but we haven't really seen much of it outside of that. But in terms of the fumbling woes, no, not at all.
And out of 10, how would you rate Logan Ryan this year?
8, 7.5, 8. I think he's been good. He's been good. I'm not gonna say he's been phenomenal. He's been good. He's covered the opposing tight ends pretty well. Did a good job last week. He was our leading tackler. He was all over the field. I like Logan Ryan. Very good player. Very good pickup.
And last one. If we go 3 wins out of our next 5 games, do you think we have a chance at the playoffs?
3 out of 5. I think it's 4 out of 5 to have a very good chance. 3 out of 5 gives us a prayer. If we go 3 and 5, you're 3 out of 5, you're 4 and 7 with 5 to play off the bye. You got the Bengals. That's a winnable game. And then the Cowboys last week. So, yeah, I'll say we have a chance. If we go 3 out of 5, we got a chance because I think 6 wins has a chance. 7 wins, I think, will probably get you in. So, yeah, 3 and 5, we have a chance. 4 and 5, we have a really good chance.
Okay. Thank you for having me on. It's been a long night.
I appreciate you for coming on. I'm sorry you had to wait so
your
long.
channel.
That was my mistake because like I said, I had it a roll lower. It just so happens you two were at the top and I didn't see it. So
Everybody subscribe to him.
I apologize and thank you, man. Thank you for being a great supporter. I'm glad I got to have you on.
Thank you.
You got it, my man. And we got 2 left, and that's it. We're gonna go with Bigger Mike and Nikki Sav. We're gonna start with Nikki Sav, and then we're gonna close it out with Mike. Nikki Sav, what's going on? I love Nikki. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Chris?
Glad to have you on, man. What's up, man?
All right, so something that I haven't heard anyone really talk about first is, so everyone's talking about the possibility of trading Evan Ingram, but Jabril is on the same term deal as him. So do you think he's a dealable piece, especially because we got McKinney coming back? You think that's possible?
Do I think? I'm sorry. Was it Peppers? Did you say is a dealable piece?
Yeah. Do you think he would be, because they're both, on going on the 5th-year option, the same kind of contract?
I think he is. I don't know what you would get for him, but I do think he is. I do think he's a guy that you could potentially look to trade if he's not in the long-term plans, and he could be attractive for another team because you get him in 1 more year on a pretty cost-effective rate.
Okay. Also, I know that I was DMing you about this. Sorry, all the DMs. I just thought they were all.
Not at all, man. Not at all. I try to get to all of them. I tried.
All right. So Daniel Jones has a 71.7 passing grade, and it goes up a little bit each and every week, even though he has the turnovers and whatnot. Personally, I thought I was screaming at the TV that his elbow, Kendall Fuller's elbow, was out of bounds. I thought that was a horrible call. I don't think that
He was definitely Listen, the way I summed that play up, it was a horrible decision, but it shouldn't have been a pick.
If he's throwing it out of bounds, is it really a bad decision if he's throwing it out of bounds though? Because that's what
I mean, to me, I get what you're saying, and I guess that is what he was doing. I think he's got to take the sack there.
All right.
But he was getting hit as he threw it. It is what it is. It was bad luck, but there's been a lot of instances where we say it was bad luck. Eventually, you got to give him a little bit of criticism. I'm not trying to say the guy sucks. I'm trying to be fair. I don't want to be a guy that just says, you have to show some criticism. And I thought it was a bad decision, but whatever. It is what it is. He moves on. He learns from it.
And I know everyone doesn't love PFF. I'm a pretty big PFF guy, but there's some things that I look at and I'm like, that's that kind of doesn't make much sense to me. But especially when you look at something like how PFF has Lamar Jackson and Daniel Jones both tied at 14th at quarterback, and you look at the turnover-worthy plays as opposed to the actual turnovers, because teams are going to be different levels of opportunistic when a ball is thrown their way, and just so happens that more often than not, the team's capitalizing the Giants than they would at a team like the Ravens. It's just our luck as Giants fans. But on a per-throw basis, he's throwing it with zip and it's accurate, and he's grading out a lot better than he did last year. It's just his receivers aren't getting separation. I know I mentioned this to you. That's why if we're picking that high, it's only the Giants that can be talking about the top 5 pick and the playoffs at the same time. It just makes absolutely no sense. But that's why, you know what's crazy, Nikki, about this division? If the team that wins the division is going to get the 21st pick, and the team that gets second place is going to get the 8th pick. Yep.
It's going to be, because everybody in the division is going to win 6 games, or less, maybe 7.
If that,
it's crazy.
And I think that would screw a potential team over the Cowboys if they need a really high pick to grab some top tier talent on defense where they don't have. If they make the playoffs, they're screwed because they need a top tier defensive talent playmaker. And the difference is, I think the Giants' biggest need is a wide receiver. I mean, can you just believe how much Golden Tate's regressed? Like he went from having no separation last year to literally the corners in his back pocket the whole time. He can't get any separation whatsoever. I think receiver is the biggest need, and the difference from a guy like Jamar Chase, who at the top 5, to someone like Rashad Bateman from Minnesota, who's my third receiver on my draft board. I'm a huge draft guy. I don't know if I've told you.
I could tell. I could tell. It's great. It's good.
I'm a huge draft guy. Like it really doesn't make that much of a difference to me. They're both number 1 receivers in the NFL in my eyes. I think we need a receiver, and I don't think we need a pass rusher. I think Joe Judge has come out and said, and Patrick Graham, that they want sack by committee. We're tied for 9th in sacks. And this is a horrible, horrible edge class. I know everyone wants Rousseau.
Oh no, I don't want to force it. I personally think we do need an edge rusher, but I don't want to force one. The reason I say I think
in this draft, it would be forced.
Yeah, I don't want to force
an edge rusher in this class. There just simply is not. And
I'd rather sign one.
Absolutely. Like signing a quarter like Bradbury. And we need a linebacker. This is a great linebacker class. It's so deep at linebacker. I think we attack receiver and linebacker in the early rounds. And I think that's the way to go, honestly.
Yeah, the reason I think we do need an edge rusher, and I completely agree. They're taking the Patriots approach. They're taking the Bills approach. They're taking the sack by committee approach. But we can't get off the field on 3rd down. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we aren't getting pressure on the quarterback. But you could certainly argue that maybe we're not great in coverage either with the second cornerback, and maybe that has something to do with it.
I would argue this is a second cornerback. You see how well Bradbury's playing. You'd think that coverage is our best. I just bought a Color Rush James Bradbury jersey. I've loved him ever since.
You're bought in. You're bought into Bradbury.
I'm bought in James, but he's not going to be Janoris Jenkins. But you see how bad we are statistically in coverage, and then you see James Bradbury. It's everyone else but Bradbury. Even though Ryan Lewis had a 72 grade this past week in coverage, which is a nice surprise, but he wasn't really going up against anybody that great. But and then there was one other thing that I wanted to mention. And it was that our run defense the first few weeks was really bad, and it's gotten progressively better and better and better. And it's 8th right now. And I know everyone's like, oh, Leonard Williams is like getting all these sacks or whatever. But to be honest, like to me, he's the 3rd best defensive lineman on the team right now. I'd rather re-sign someone like Dalvin Tomlinson as opposed to breaking the bank on someone like Leonard Williams. And I think BJ Hill is really underrated. I think he's really good. And I would be comfortable with him assuming the Leonard Williams role and rolling out Tomlinson and Lawrence and BJ Hill. And I think that's the way to go. And I think we need to add a corner, a linebacker, and receiver in the first 3 rounds next year. And I think that pretty much fills up all the holes. Matt Pert did great this last week. I was saying to you earlier that I was a huge Penei Sewell guy. I think, and everyone's like, oh, you take the generational talent. If we had a generational talent at quarterback, you wouldn't be taking Trevor Lawrence. And if we're set at tackle, I don't care. I don't think you take him. I don't think you take Sewell. If it's set, it's set. I don't think there's any reason to just add another one. I think it's a waste of a pick.
If it's set, it's set. I agree with you. Yeah. You don't force it. You don't. If anything, you trade. I listen, from everything I've seen up and everything I've read, that guy's supposed to be unbelievable.
He is. I've been watching him in high school. He's ridiculous. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, but if
he's
you
the best player in college football his freshman year.
He's the best player in this draft. Him or Lawrence, the best non-quarterback.
Sewell's better than Lawrence at a tackle, and people are going to hate me for that. But he's just better. He just is.
Yeah, he's that good. But I agree with you. If Parrott proves that he is worthy of being a franchise tackle, I would rather trade down. I don't know if I'd want to pick anybody but Sewell at that 2 pick. I'd rather trade down. Yeah. Because it's hard to pass up on a transformational player at any position that's as important as the tackle or the quarterback. But I'd rather trade down out of it. I'm not taking a wide receiver at 2.
You trade down, and that works for me because there was a loaded receiver class like last year. You still get your receiver, and that's still my first pick right now as a receiver. So that'd be great. Trading down and grabbing Rashad Bateman or Jalen Waddle from Roll Tide, that'd be great.
Listen, man, we got a lot of holes we got to fill. There's no doubt about it. I agree with you, though. I don't think we're nearly as far away as people think. I really don't. I really, really, really don't. And I think this could be a good team by next year. I'm still in a wait-and-see approach with Daniel Jones, but that's the way I've been from the start. I've never been a guy that's been a cheerleader. I've been a guy that I get excited sometimes when he plays a really good game like against Washington last year. I said, okay, I'm bought in. This could be the guy. But I've always – what did you say?
I still got faith in him. I really do. I know I came on early when the bit right before the Bears game, and Saquon, oh, my God. But I actually, because I told you I'm neighbors with Saquon. My mom and I baked some cookies, and we walked them over to him and gave.
Get the hell out of here!
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wait! You made Saquon Barkley cookies?
Yeah.
What did you make them?
I made him chocolate chip cookies.
What else would you make?
I don't know if he's
Chocolate
doing
chip
fair or not,
cookies,
but they're just
phenomenal.
as good as regular. Huh?
And did he take a bite of it when in front of
Oh,
you?
absolutely, yeah.
And what'd he say?
He's like, thanks, bro. And I just said, I said, I know you probably like. I don't want to like make you feel any worse about your injury. I just said, I you're such. I just told him he's an inspiration to me, and I said to him that I know you'll come back stronger than ever. And I didn't want to, be a fanboy and just keep stay there and overstay my welcome.
You had to get an autograph for the cookies.
Oh yeah, I brought my Giants autograph. One of those. I know Mike Tonice has one of those white ones that you can autograph. It shows up, the Sharpie shows up real well. I brought that over, and he signed it for me. Yeah,
that is friggin' awesome. How does he look?
He's good. He's walking. He's good. It's really an AC. My best friend had an ACL injury. It's really you're in crutches for a couple of weeks, but once you got it, you can walk. Like it's really it's the strength of it breaking again. That's why it takes so long to fully heal, because it's not a muscle or a bone. It takes even longer. So that's really the problem.
He's not lying, guys. He told me this last time he came on. He is Saquon Barkley's neighbor. I believe him. I talk to Nicky all the time. Why would he lie? He's telling the truth. He's not trolling. That's awesome, man. So you could say that you made Saquon Barkley cookies.
And I hope he pulls an Adrian Peterson. I really hope he does. He is such a talented kid, and I really look up to him. And I just know that no one works harder than him. And I just really hope he comes back strong with a Jamar Chase and Saquon back, and the line gelling and getting better. Like it already is rapidly getting better every week. Like I really have high hopes for the offense next year.
I need you to do me a favor. Next time you come on, I need you to bring your phone. I need you to knock on Saquon's door so I could say hello to him. I'm kidding. You don't need to do that.
Oh my God. It was my mom's idea to go over there. I'm like, Mom, I can't do that. It's rude. She's like, no, go with you. The only reason it went is my mom went with me.
You got to make sure, by the way, that you don't feed him too many cookies, because we need him in the best shape possible.
He's good. I'm sure he's fine.
Nicky, man, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, man. And, give me a final score in tomorrow's game.
All right. I'm going to say the Eagles win. I'm going to say 24-17 is the final score, Eagles. Because I know it's a new regime, and I know, and I want to believe that, Joe Judge is the guy who's going to change it. But for some reason, I have an instinctual feeling that the Eagles are gonna come out with it. I don't want them to. I'm hopeful for still winning the division as anyone is, but I still have this feeling. Did you see it came out today? There was I know there was a documentary last year that came out, and it was Belichick and Saban. They had a Joe Judge one with Belichick and Saban that came out like today. It was like 15
Oh,
minutes.
no, I didn't.
It was really cool.
What is that on?
It was Joe Judge was interviewed in it at times, and it was his journey from Bama to the Patriots, and he was talking about the things that Belichick and Saban would do. Like one time, Saban had Judge portray a meeting for some play or whatever, just like draw it out on the board, and Saban walks in with the guy that's like just shouting random crap at him and trying to throw him off his game. He walked into the room for Belichick. Belichick takes off his shirt during the interview and is trying to throw him off his game and talking. Like it was like really like interesting to listen. And he's the guy. He's just the guy.
What is this on HBO?
It was on YouTube. It was just on YouTube. It was like a 15-minute thing that I found today.
What channel is it on?
I don't know. I'll send you the link on Twitter.
Awesome. I'll definitely check it out. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, I know. It was really cool. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Nicky, man, I want to say thank you so much for coming on. You got to work on getting Saquon on the channel. I'm kidding. You don't need to do that. But thank you so much for coming on, man. Enjoy the game.
Better shot at getting DRC on the channel. He actually responded to my DM on Snapchat a couple of times. We were texting back and forth. That was the same weekend that I met Saquon for the first time when I worked at my restaurant in my town. I talked to DRC on Snapchat and I met Saquon the same day. I was freaking out, bro.
That's
crazy.
awesome, man. That's awesome, man. Nicky, man, thank you so much for coming on, man. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Hopefully next time we talk, Giants got a W.
I hope I'm wrong. Chris. I hope I'm wrong.
All right, buddy. Get some sleep, man.
All right, well,
but first send me the link to that video because I do want to see it.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Have a good one, buddy.
All right, you too. Talk to you later.
All right. And that was Nicky. Nicky's awesome. Great guy. I always talk to him on Twitter, and I think Bigger Mike left. So that's it. We're going to wrap it up. I'll talk to you guys for about 5 more minutes. We were on for a long time tonight, but I tried to get everybody on, and we were able to do it. I got everybody on that was waiting. It went almost 4 hours. These shows take a while, but I try to give everybody an opportunity. I want to say thank you to everybody that came on. Everybody, what's my Twitter handle? I'll type it in right now. Matter of fact, if somebody could drop my Twitter link, that might make it easier. But I think it's this. I think that's it. I'm not 100% sure. I think that's my Twitter handle. But I want to say thank you to everybody who was here, everybody that was here the whole time. We had over 400 people the entire show. You guys are freaking amazing. I am so excited for tomorrow's game. I cannot wait. I just want to get a W, guys. I can't say thank you enough for all the generosity as well. Anybody who may have subscribed, anybody with the thumbs up. I love all you guys. You guys mean so much for my channel. You make me proud to be a Giants fan. Love talking to you guys, no matter what your viewpoints are. Everybody thinks differently. You know, me and Nikki, we think completely opposite with the draft, but he's a great guy. We have completely different mindsets with certain things, but we all want the same thing for the Giants. Mike said he can go on. If he wants to pop on for a minute, go ahead. Tana, thanks for having me on. But of course, man, I am too. I want to win so badly. We need it is right, man. I'll wait a couple of minutes for Mike if he wants to come on. Chris, did you see Bad Dog and Pizzle's YouTube video today? I did not, Carlos, but I will have to check that out. I did not get a chance to see that. And I see that Nikki's in the chat. I want to shout her out. And Ryan, look at that face. Ryan Clay, love you, Chris. Good luck tomorrow. Well, Ryan Clay, I'm trying to replicate that face. Ryan Clay, man, thank you so much, man, for all the love and that you always show my channel, man. And hopefully you guys win on Sunday because you helped the Giants out. He's a big Washington fan. Thank you very much, man. I really do appreciate that. And let's stand up, Big Blue Nation. That's what Ace Man says. Send the link. Oh, the link. There you go, Mike. There's the link. Ryan Clay, that's classic. Oh, Rolly, man, thank you very much, man. He says, thank you, Chris, for taking my call. Look forward to doing more of that. I appreciate you. Suffolk County, Long Island, stand up. Rolly, man, thank you so much. I had a blast talking to you. Looking forward to talking to you in the future. What's up, Authentic? What do you do for a living, Max? I am a mail stripper. Mail stripper. That's how I make a little side income there. What's up, me? What's up, Michael? My girl came over, lost focus. I don't blame you, Michael. Later, bye, Tana. Word. Have a good one. Mike, I'm going to wait one more minute because I gave you the link. Louis, thank you very much. He says 21-14 Giants. I sure hope so, my man. Louis, thank you so much for the love. I think it's going to be between 3, 4, maybe 7 points. I'll take 21-14. 3 touchdowns. We don't get that often. I'll take that. That means we don't settle for many field goals. I'll take that. No doubt about it. Tana, I wish we could smoke hookah together. Maybe one day, Carlos. Maybe one day. Chris, you're a male stripper. What? I'm kidding. I'm not a male stripper. I'm joking. Okay, we got Bigger Mike. He's an Eagles fan. We'll wrap it up with him. Oh, God. You didn't tell me that was going to be your profile picture.
How you doing, Chris?
Oh, my God. I got to look at this. Sean Jackson returning a punt.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Mike, what's up? What's up, Mike?
I have a question for you. See, you've been very provocative this entire week, ever since Sunday. I just want to go over some of the stuff you said. I just need you to give me like a brief, like an exclamation or something about how much of it is a troll and how much of it is actually like how you genuinely think the thing's gonna go.
We're gonna
win.
win. We're gonna win.
All right. Here. Ooh, man, we gotta clip some wings.
We're gonna clip your wings.
Travis Fulgham, LOL, I'm shaking in my hoodie. Give me a break.
I'm not worried about Travis Fulgham. Not even a little bit. James Bradbury's going to lock him down.
Let's get a W tomorrow. End this streak of misery and torture.
That's what's going to happen.
Okay. I think Eagles fans are not taking 2 things into account with Boston explicit.
Okay.
There's so much you've tweeted and so much you've talked in the Discord this entire week. How much of it do you actually think? How much of it do you actually genuinely think is the case, and how much of it is you trying to promote the entire thing? I'm just curious.
I think we're gonna win this football game.
All right, but there's more than that. There's more than that. All right, so you've been saying this. When I hear "clip your wings," I think domination. I think manslaughter on the field.
No. I think win. I don't care. I could clip your wings with a 1-point win or a 1,000-point win. By the way, I just want to shout out Andrew Allen. Thank you very much. Mike Tunice has a fantastic channel, by the way. Love working with Mike. If you haven't done so, please go over there. He'll be on my channel this week. Andrew, thank you very much. Found your channel through Mike Tunice and love the content. Thank you so much. And Ryan Clay says, LMAO, Mike took notes. He took snapshots. He had like a laundry. By the way, guys, if anybody wants to join the Discord, we have a lot of fun in there. He took snapshots of things I said over the last 2 days, and he's got them all saved for after the game.
You're dadgum right, I did. Now, here's why the Giants are not going to win, and here's why this entire fan base is going to eat their words as they do every single year, where they do this exact thing and set themselves up for disappointment. In the 2010s, in 20 matchups, the New York Football Knicks beat the Philadelphia Eagles 4 times in 20 matchups. We were 16-4 versus the Giants in the 2010s, and now the point is we own you guys. We live in your head rent free. You haven't beaten us in 3 years since 2016. You turn to complete incompetence when you play us. Not that you weren't that already, but when you step into Lincoln Financial, the whole thing is just enhanced. All right, now. What I hear from Giants fans is, this team is banged up like they've never been banged up before. This is the perfect chance. Well, first of all, you got banged. You guys got obliterated by the 49ers 9th string guys. I don't want to hear that. And we've been top 3. We've been top 3 in players on IR since 2017, and we've beaten you in every matchup since 2017. Nothing has changed.
Mike, I'm gonna stop you there. We'll talk after the game. After we annihilate you, we're due. I'm a guy who believes in the law of averages. And like you said, you've won 16 out of the last 20. But right now, your team's banged up. Right now,
We've always been banged up.
Carson Wentz has never looked like this. Carson Wentz last year threw 7
Carson Wentz just put up 60 points versus some of the best defenses.
Carson Wentz has thrown 9 picks through 6 weeks. Last year, he threw 7 through 6 weeks.
Listen. I know the Giants fan base is gonna say this is blasphemy and whatnot, and they're gonna say this, and they're gonna watch the interceptions I'm talking about and realize that they clearly have not done the research necessary to realize how Carson Wentz has done this season. Half of his interceptions are illegitimate.
Mike, we'll talk after the game. We'll talk after the game.
Okay.
I'll have you on. We'll talk after the game.
Is that it?
And if the Giants knock off the Eagles, you got to come on here and tell me that you were dead wrong.
One more thing. I'll do that. One more thing. Chris, I propose a bet. Yes.
Okay.
If the Eagles beat the Giants tomorrow night, I will send the profile picture in the Discord that I want you to have as your icon until the Giants' next win. And that includes, if you lose out, I want you to keep it until the draft.
And just in the Discord?
Yeah.
Okay, and what do I get if the Giants win?
That's up to you.
All right, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, Mike, but we're getting a W tomorrow. I got no doubt in my mind, and I'm looking forward to talking to you about it after the fact.
All right. Well,
all right, Mike, get some sleep because I got to call tonight.
I don't sleep. Champs don't sleep. Giants sleep. Eagles don't. Goodbye.
Oh, God, he had to rub it in one more time. Simon, thank you very much. He says, Tanny, you have to hang up button, pull the trigger. Simon, he's a great subscriber of mine. He's just having fun. I am going to call tonight, though. I see New York Giants 26 is waiting. I've got to call tonight. If I keep bringing somebody on, somebody else is going to come on. It's been a long night. I want to say thank you for everybody for coming on. I appreciate it. Let's not go off the Eagles tomorrow night. Let's get a W. Please, can we beat this football team? It's been forever, and I think we can do it. I'm confident in saying that. I think the Giants are going to win by a field goal. I want to say thank you to everybody that was here, everybody that popped on. Thank you guys so much. Bigger Mike, have a great one. Samuel, have a great one. Draymond, have a great one. If somebody could post the Discord link, I'd appreciate it. Somebody just asked for it there. You have a great night for us, God. You have a great night, JJ. Nate, have a great night. Draymond, have a great night. Michael says I was getting some ass. I wanted to call in. Next time, Michael, I'll have you on for sure. And I'm glad that you got some ass. Hope it was well. I hope it went well for you, buddy. Crazy guy, have a great night, man. Elazoric, man, have a great night. Have a good night, guys. See you tomorrow. Hopefully you're on the channels. The New York Giants take on the Philadelphia Eagles Thursday Night Football. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Talk to you guys soon.